And it's a ding-ding round 4. Happy Gold Cup Day. Everyone out there, wherever you're watching, welcome back to RP Live, Day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival 2021. We made it. Doesn't it seem like a long time ago that Appreciated smashed all sorts of records in the opener in the Supreme? Absolutely superb. Perhaps the best named horse running anywhere this week. We appreciate that the festival has just been on. Bigger things are, of course, at play all over the globe, but we concentrate. The gaze goes back to Prestbury Park, of course, drying up all the time. Is it there? Let us know what you think's going to win the Gold Cup. You can do so, of course, on YouTube. Like and subscribe if you're watching there. If you're watching on Facebook Live, welcome along to the party. A party atmosphere here, definitely on RP Live in the Racing Post Towers, that's for sure. And of course, anything Twitter, it's hashtag RP Live. What an afternoon we have. 6 beauties coming your way. We kick off, of course, in the opening Triumph Hurdle. My goodness gracious me, will that be another one for the Irish dominance? 17-4. Of course, it is at the minute to the 2 teams. Perhaps a bit much being made of that. This isn't the Ryder Cup, is it? We love horses. Oh, you can hear him laughing as well. Do you know what? Let's go straight across the Irish Sea. He's back for Day 4, Barry Orr.
You wouldn't be saying that if you were leading 17-4. I know that. It's a shame. Rachel Blackmore has ridden more winners than the English have had at the whole meeting. There's a statistic for you. Oh. And it could be, she could increase that today, obviously.
Well done, Barry. Thank you. Well done. We'll let him have the floor. I suppose we'll let him have his moment. So, Barry, come on. Let's talk about it. It's the Gold Cup Day. Have you got any juicy ones out for us there? You're showcasing the functionality of the exchange. We say that every day for anyone that's new to the show.
Yeah, we certainly are, and we're having a few charity bets along the way as well. We're winning a few quid for Well Child, the nominated charity for the month of March, thankfully. And yeah, I think I'm going to take on, I think today's a day for laying some of the short ones, and I don't mind laying the top of the market in the Gold Cup and the same in the opening Triumph Hurdle. So I'm sure we'll get to that in good time, but yeah, I'd rather be a layer than a backer today. There
you go. Safe gambling. You have to bet in every race. Remember, you have the fun. We will bring it into your living rooms. We appreciate you're in lockdown. Of course, Well Child is indeed our charity. It's a national charity for sick children. If you're having a great week, don't forget those guys. Let them know. Really, really good cause. Okay. Who's on the panel? As you may have seen previewed, he's back for his debut this week. Top course commentator Tony Ennis going to be shouting home the Gold Cup winner.
Yes, hopefully. Royal Pagaille is going to do it. I'm staying with him despite the drop. Look at the going stick reading is driving me mad this morning. Every time I look, it's getting drier and drier, that ground. But probably not going to be ideal ground for him. I'm sticking with him, drifting like the Contiki, isn't he, this morning? 16s, 20s he's out to now. He was down to, I think, 8-1 at one point, wasn't he? But when we thought it might be a bit of soft in the description, but it's not going to be any soft ground. But I still think he's going to win.
You're used to Enzo by now, of course, on this show. The first WhatsApp I got this morning, 6:30 a.m. What's going on? He should be 11-8. Your saying was, if you or regular viewers will know, won't come off the bridle in the Gold Cup. Royal Pagaille.
Yeah, that's correct. He'll sit second, I think, early on, take it up with the circuit to go, and I just don't think anything can get him off the bridle. I think he wins.
There goes the social comments flying in already. You can throw some tomatoes at him, of course. And back, Quizmaster Melrose, Keith, betting editor Racing Post. Back for another day, my man. Really looking forward to it. We agree on the Gold Cup, don't we?
We do indeed. We're both for A Plus Tard. I've deliberated so much about the Gold Cup that I feel there should be a plume of white smoke when I've finally come down on this horse. But I've finally decided it's A Plus Tard because I can see the way, with the ground quick as it is, I see it very differently to Enzo, surprisingly enough. I can see there still being 5 or 6 or more in it, 2 out. And if there's 5 or 6 there and A Plus Tard's one of them, he's the fastest horse.
Well, exactly. We've got 17-4 as well has been bandied about by Barry at the start. Are you one of these pundits who has changed their mind the way it's going because of the way it's going? Like, for example, where you were Tritonic in the first and now you've gone on to Zanna here.
I wouldn't say it would massively change my view, but, you know, the evidence is so powerful. You know, the hill's not there to these de Bromhead horses this week. It's really quite something to behold. And yeah, it does affect my thinking a little bit, but it doesn't dominate it by any means.
That's interesting, isn't it? Mount Ida, of course, in the race after we went off air.
Extraordinary. I thought it was going to be pulled up. How's it? And Barry telling me it's been matched at 1,000 in running.
Yeah.
But it did look like it was out of the race.
How much, Barry, at 1,000 yesterday? 999, of course, the maximum.
Yeah, 103 quid traded at the maximum price on the Betfair Exchange. Yeah, like Enzo said, it looked like he was going to be pulled up, and I'm sure he would have. You know, if it was anywhere other than Cheltenham and he was so far out in the country, he probably just wanted to hack back to the yard, save a walk.
The weight of the shamrock was on that one, wasn't it? Absolutely. I'd torn up my slip and then all of a sudden went, aye, with 7 to jump. I mean, she could have started that now.
Which on the bridle, that isn't extraordinary. How it comes back, it doesn't just get back and scramble home. It wins.
It wasn't, exactly. It wasn't Wichita lineman.
Yeah. Jack Kennedy, in his quote in your post, which I'm sure you've read from last night on your members section in your Racing Post, he really put the boot in by saying, I got there too soon. That's when you know they really had loads in hand. OK, party atmosphere starts here. Let's get the new graphics that we premiered for you this week. We know you've been loving that. Keep your feedback coming. This is the party day. Come on, let's get these selections in. How's your week been going? We'll go down the panel, find out about some near misses, perhaps. I know Enzo's had a few. And here we go. So, Triumph time, 120. Wow, the weight of money for Zanahiyr, Barry. Something else.
Yeah, Zanahiyr's been pretty strong, Dave. At 2.40 he is now. The Denise Foster horse has been as low as 216, a couple of £100 traded, or 216, 87 quid traded at that price. But it's Quilixios really that's grabbing my eye in the market. Has been as big as 6.0, which is 5 to 1, 220 quid match at that. He's 355 now. So he's more than half in price. He's into 5 to 2. Tritonic going the other way. Absolutely friendless in the market. The English runner Tritonic has been matched at a low of 3.7, which is around the 11 to 4 mark, and is out to 4 to 1 now. So, and it's 19 to 1 bar, or it's 18 to 1 bar. Adagio 18 to 1. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm a big Quilixios fan, but there's a couple of lurkers in there. I thought Adagio could run well. Pax for Max is not out of it either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay 2 horses at the head in the 2 of the first 3 in the betting. I'm going to have Quilixios and the rest of the field running for me as well. So I'm going to be a price taker on both of these, please, Keith. We're going to take 100 quid out of Zanahiyr at 2.44. Happy to do that. And we're going to take 50 quid out of Tritonic at 5.1. We're going to lay both of them. So should be a liability of around a little over 100 quid for each of them. So basically what we're doing there, Dave, is we're laying them at 6 to 4 on couple. It's working out a little over 60%. So we're getting them at 4 to 6 to 2 of them, and we're back in the field then at 6 to 4 again. So I'm happy to do that, take them on, and I cheer home Quilixios because I've him in an anti-post bet.
Magnificent start then from Barry Orr. We know you like to react to what Barry does. You've got plenty of time to do so. What we're around about 12 minutes, all being well, from the opener. We'll be giving you a Gold Cup roar when the flag goes up. Okay, this is Barry's horse, isn't it? You know this. The moment
Quilixios, loves it.
He put him up, didn't he? When he won up at the Dublin.
He looked good, didn't he, Leopardstown? It's interesting. There's one at a price. This Ho on Couleur I was looking at. Drifted a bit this morning. Back into that third.
You're not tipping it.
I'm not tipping it. I just think it's interesting. Into 30 now, I think, Barry, isn't it? It did go out a bit earlier on. No, it's not my tip at that price. But interesting that Willie Mullins has pitched this horse in for his debut for him in this race, isn't it? I mean, I think he's obviously got ability, but whether he can beat these other 3 at the top, I don't know. Any
love for the Mullins horse, Barry? 22 times he tried to win, of course, the Triumph since his winner about 20 years ago. And, of course, Bernie Victory. Yeah. I mean, that was...
Everyone forgets Bernie Victory because of that.
Everyone forgets Bernie Victory because of Goshen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fortunate winner, has to be said. Yeah, it's been matched at 48. The Joe Donnelly runner. I'm sure Joe just wants to have runners at the meeting as well. But yeah, there has been a few quid for one. I thought interesting, Zanahiyr, first time tongue tie. I don't know what the lads make of that. Is that something would put you off?
Keith, back that one to you, my man.
Yeah, it's not. You wouldn't be encouraged by it, would you?
And the break.
Yeah, and the break, and he's been very, very impressive. And but yes, it can't be. I can't think you can view it as a positive.
I think if you're looking at the break, it is a bit of a toss of the coin. You remember he made his debut, goodness me, it seems like a long time ago now, 17th of October, back at Ballon Robe. Who knew what we were watching that day when he just beat Dark Voyager by 2 and a bit lengths? But it's the Fairy House performance in November, which had everyone purring. And then, of course, he went on St Stephen's Day, Boxing Day, as we know, here in Britain. Of course, he saw off Bustleton, didn't he, by a handy 3 and a bit lengths. He had to work slightly that day. He cruised into the home straight. But it's St Sam, I guess, who's just touched off in the Boodles that gives it a bit of weight of form, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And he made St Sam look very ordinary, didn't he?
You imagine this is going to be the multiple buster for a lot of people out there. We've got some short ones today, but this is the one. And especially when Mount Ida, Keith, went over the line, everyone was like, what price Zanahiyr? Even if you fancy Tritonic, it's probably just going to win. But we do fancy Tritonic, and we've got to stick with this, haven't we? Yeah,
I looked into Zanahiyr again last night, watched the replays, and yeah, he was very, very impressive. I will concede the ground that he probably is the likeliest winner. But now, the way the market's gone, from a price perspective, the market's telling me he's got twice the chance of Tritonic, and I can't believe that's true, basically.
Yeah.
Tritonic was a very good flat horse, 100 plus on the flat. A lot's been made of how there's not many hurdles in the late stages on the new course, especially at Cheltenham. His flat speed will come into it. As I say, Zanny here might be a slightly likelier winner, but he's not twice as likely as Tritonic. Tritonic is a very good horse.
Are we expecting Clixios to lead?
Possibly. I don't. It's not something I'm massively ginned up on in the Triumph Hurdle.
He's the national hunt bred, isn't he? He's the type that's come over from. He's probably the chaser in the pack, as we said to each other this morning, didn't we?
Yes. He is probably the one that will come and develop in time.
Let's ask Mr. Clixios himself, shall we?
Yeah, well, he took a lead, obviously, from St. Sam in Leopardstown that day, and it really suited him because he picked him up in a heartbeat, just turning into the straight. A matter of strides, he had picked him up and gone past him. But talk about
Sean Curran's for the lead, isn't she? Yeah.
That's one that'll set at decent fractions. And yeah, you'd expect Clixios to be up with it all right, and the rest are all seem to be, would be weighted with, I would imagine.
Yeah, Tax for Max, another Willie Mullins horse, of course. Daryl Jacob on. So unlucky, weren't they? Simon Munir, Isaac Daryl Jacob with so royal.
Pinned against the rails, wasn't he, down the hill? Tritonic, just that form, that Casalupi, got beat, didn't he, in an egg and spoon race.
You could knock it. You could knock that.
Is that worrying?
Yeah.
Casalupi's not the most straightforward, though,
Tritonic's not about the depth of his hurdles form, is he? He's about his flat form. He's literally been second at Royal Ascot, and how he's taken to it, because that's the case for Tritonic, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the horse that you could counter that, of course, the horse that beat Casalupi. This is the runner-up last twice to, of course, Tritonic, was beaten by Stepney Causeway, who was way down the pack when Tritonic made his hurdling debut. Vulcan was well beaten as well, wasn't it? But look, Keith's right. This is all about third time peak form, peak exactly where Alan King wants him to be. Any worry about it coming a bit too soon? We saw what happened to Solo, of course, last year. It's wildly impressive in an Adonis.
Yeah, it's often a bit of a red herring, isn't it? A lot of horses have gone off too short for the Triumph Hurdle, it's turned out, because of impressive Adonis wins. The reason you think this lad's different is because of his background on the flat. That's it. It's all it is. He's got so much ability. He's almost, with sublimity, a little bit better on the flat. That's the level of flat horse going jumping. We don't get many.
Touched off at Royal Ascot by one only.
Yep, a horse that ended up running in group races.
He's a lot better than Catch It, isn't he? Who obviously won this and the champion.
Highland
Chief,
who, of course, Ollie Cole, who's been on this show before, tells us he thinks will be, King Georgie type at 4. So
stable form, a little concern. Alan King, bad day yesterday. He's had one winner, I think, out of his last 16.
You were at Doncaster and you came up and said
he always has a winner at Doncaster.
Exactly what he said, but you thought he would have a winner there. And
normally has a winner at Doncaster whenever I go up there, and he didn't have one. He didn't even have one close yesterday.
On to victory, hosed up at Warwick last week.
That's it.
He's had Fraternal before that. He's had Gavi to Gavi. He's had
one out of 14.
Flat winners. What more do you want, man?
One winner out of 15 jumps.
You'll get to know that Tony is he's a very, what you might call a fickle punter. If there's a bandwagon to be jumped on, ends will be on it.
Jumped off bandwagon Tritonic. I'm off it. I'm off that bus.
I've never seen a man jump so quick as when something changes. You definitely have just gone, I'm backing everything Irish, no doubt.
I have changed, rather. I'm just a bit of ashamed to admit it, but yeah, I've jumped off Tritonic.
You want to give us some stats then?
I've got a few things Irish. Some of the Irish performances this week have been astonishing. I mean, I remember the days, I'm sure Barry might remember Galmoy when he was the only winner on the Stayers Hurdle about going back a good 30 years or so.
John Mulhern.
Yeah, and Barry, 5 or 6 used to be a good Cheltenham, wouldn't it, years ago for the Irish? Now
that'd be a great Cheltenham.
Yeah.
That would have been a great Cheltenham back in the 80s. Like you say, the year Galmoy was the only winner one year, John Mulhern's horse with the big question mark on the colours. But yeah, I suppose it's just a shift in dynamic in terms of the Irish economy as well, that the horses were being kept at home, and you have the buying power of JP McManus and Jigginstown into the game as well. Then that obviously, and now you've the likes of Joe Donnelly as well, who a big purchasing power, and the Morans and Gordon Elliott.
It would be nice to have some more Shively Parked horses in Britain.
It's self-perpetuating.
That's a strange one.
It's a self-perpetuating thing, this, because as soon as the Irish get the reputation of all the big yards are in Ireland, the best tuners are in Ireland, Chively Park, Tony Bloom, they're all British based, but they're sending their horses.
They don't just buy
Irish
pointers,
money, though, Keith. Is that prize money?
I think it's the trainers myself. I think people are going, oh, you want to be with Elliott and Mullins, and people are just sending their horses to
Why are Chiefly Park not having horses with Philip Hobbs?
They've got a couple with Hendon, haven't they?
Because they know what the success tells you that Mullins is doing better with the ammunition he gets.
And even A Plus Tard, there was a great story, wasn't there, about Gina Bryce and her partner who sourced the horse. No one was going to buy him. Henry de Barmet, whoever the original, that would have been great to know who the original client was, by the way, who pulled out of it. And then Cheveley Park, the Thompsons were like, we're looking to get into the market. That's how it happened. So Henry was the guy who said, yep, lovely, we'll have the horse. I guess it's maybe started that way. I don't really know.
But we got some good. I mean, David Pipe's not even been close as he's got Adagio, hasn't he, in the first race?
Do we give it? Is Adagio overpriced? Few people are saying to me this possibly, is that right? I'd love to see Dave.
Yeah, money
Pipe
for it into 16 now. Haven't been 20 just a couple of minutes ago.
I mean, he is a good horse, Adagio, isn't he? The Chepstow win was very likeable. It's just such a hot Triumph Hurdle that he's 14-1. It's a reflection. The price is a bit insulting, but it's a reflection of the strength at the top of the betting. And
Pipey has said that the ground won't be an issue, but he has been ploughing, hasn't he?
Yes, that's right. He's. If the finale winner is, it's always really deep ground in the finale, isn't it? Well, it's literally on the Welsh national card, so that gives you a big clue. And it's for that reason, the Adonis is always a little bit more sexy in terms of the Triumph.
Best horse not to win a Triumph. Come on, Quizmaster.
The best horse not to win a Triumph.
I know. I've given you the link. It's a Pipe horse. It was Tony McCoy rode it with one arm bandaged up. Can you remember? 2003.
It's a long time. That's the early days for me. What was that horse again?
It was World Chief.
Did that run the
Got beaten ahead by Spectroscope.
Yes.
John Joan Hill, yes. Tony McCoy. I'll never forget being at that meeting, and at some of the boxes I was in, and you could tell, his firm were around. If like Chantal was there, and they were like, he shouldn't be riding, just shouldn't be riding, and that was the ride that. Yeah. It might, yeah.
Who? Spectroscope?
No, World Chief. He would not miss the World Chief ride.
Garrity rode Spectroscope, didn't he?
Yeah, that's where. There you go. Barry brings it back in. That was a great. Was that the year that Best Mate won his second Gold Cup? I think it was, and Barracuda won.
It would have been 2003. That was the year he won by half the track.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course, this race last year was the biggest gub, wasn't it, with Goshen? Did he go 101?
101 for.
Did he go 101?
How much, Barry? Yeah.
No, I don't think he went 101.
He wasn't the last.
You don't go 101 until you jump.
Yeah. Last year.
Is that right?
He was Was he 103, Barry? I can't remember.
103, I think.
It was a lot of money, wasn't it?
We've already had a 101 landed today.
It wasn't 101.
The 101 landed today was you were in early because there was a team lunch.
Yeah, that's
it. It's a certainty.
Rob knows how to get me in early. Order the food.
That was never going to be gubbed, let me tell you. Absolutely. He was quiet for the first 20 minutes. And funnily enough, he arrived just as the food did as well. OK, then. They are down at the start for the Triumph Hurdle 2021. Happy days. Where are you going? Keep the socials coming in. We'll give you a word in the corner down there. Look, Zanna here, your Spotlight verdict. Let me just remind myself. Spotlight's having a great time with things. Emily Webber, the queen of the Spotlights. Usually sprinters, but she gets her jumpers right as well. And very strong they are on Zanna here. They've not napped it, by the way.
They tend to nap in the big race Spotlights.
A Plus Tard is the nap.
And A Plus Tard is the nap. Yeah, Spotlights. I mean, it's maybe giving away the secrets of the magic circle, but it's often the nap.
Richard Austin will be after you.
The nap's not always a reflection of the strength. It's often just a big race on days like this, not on midweek stuff, but on days like this, often the nap just goes in a big race.
There you are. Okay, so A Plus Tard.
Taking a big walk.
Was he drifting in? Is
he?
Here? Yeah.
Is he?
2.6 now, yeah.
Does that mean
2.38? He's out to 2.6.
What's coming in then, Barry?
Quilixios.
Under 9-4 Quilixios, and Adagio is 12.5 now. He's been a big steamer.
You can buy Tritonic at 9-2. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Still not
5-1 now.
5-1 Tritonic.
I'd be asking if Galileo Chrome had gone hurdling if you told me Tritonic would be 9-2. It's ridiculous.
Can I just give you something, Barry? You know Ross Briley, our friend of the show. You'll have seen Ross probably plenty in the week. He's had such busy days. He's not been on the show. We'll be back in a couple of Saturdays' time. He's got a multiple going on to this, Barry. 35k.
Onto what?
Zanna here. Not quite Paul Dean-like, but let me tell you, he's excited.
Tell you what, Ross Briley
he's very exchange savvy, so I'm sure he'll have. He might be laying a bit off on the exchange at the moment. I'm sure.
Did you see
he
that
knows
smile?
what the time of day is.
That smile from Barry said he's looked at all our Betfair accounts. Every last one.
Is that right? Is anyone looking at his?
The only Betfair account I've ever looked at is my own, and it's always true. Like that.
Great to have Barry Orr back with us this weekend. You're not here tomorrow, Barry. We must remind everyone we will be back deciphering everything Cheltenham-wise. Midlands National, can't wait for that. There's a hot pot in it. But you're having a day off finally.
I certainly am, yeah. I haven't imbibed any alcohol for the year so far. I've had a completely dry 2021, but I'm going to put that all to right this evening. I'm going to have I've 6 bottles of Desperado chilling down in the fridge, and I'm going to enjoy them with some chicken wings this evening, and I'm going to have a day off tomorrow. Yep.
There are other beers available, of course, and other food as well. No, but yeah, I thought you'd have gone on St Patrick's Day. I thought you were certain seat. I wasn't sure about you on Stayers Day. I wasn't sure, but
they're about to head off, and Tritonic is 11-2.
That's
unbelievable.
That's crazy, isn't it?
I backed him at 5, thinking he's not going to get any bigger than this, and he's 6.2 now.
Wow. Okay.
6.
There you go. Can't give away Tritonic. I still think we'll see something special. But off they go. Tony Ennis, please call home the Triumph Hurdle.
Racing 8 runners for the JCB Triumph Hurdle. A small field for the race. They're going 2 miles 1 on the new course. 8 flights to take at the first. As expected, the filly, talking about you, leads to Quilixios, who's going a little bit keenly in second place. Adagio's in third. Zana here sits fourth, ahead of How En Couleur for Willie Mullins, is alongside Tritonic, who's towards the inside running rail. And then the back pair, Historic Heart, and finally, very keen, Tax for Max.
The head is everywhere on with Tax for Max. That is a very, very keen horse.
Certainly is. But a solid start for the big players, I think.
Zanahir's pulling as well.
He's a little bit, isn't he, on the inside?
Not
going very quick, are they? I don't think.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Sectionals. Talking about using front as we thought. Quilixios is right alongside the shadow. Zanahir in third.
Harry Bannister, of course, for pleasure. Do you remember in the Supreme got on to third? He's giving a similar spin, isn't he?
Well, he's getting to dictate a little bit more here in the Supreme. I mean, that for pleasure can barely help itself. So he couldn't really go steadily in a way he can here. He's got everything else pulling in behind him.
Now he's got a bit of company as Quilixios goes up. So, okay, we're going out onto the far side. Time to get excited. If you're on the Fav. Tritonic, I'm happy with that, Ennis.
Yeah, go to right, Tritonic, isn't he? Back in about 5th place. They're turning now, and they'll climb towards the back straight. The leader is still talking about you on the inside. Quilixios is about a half length away. Zanahir, the favourite, sits third. Adagio, who was well back beforehand, is 4th. 5th for Tritonic for Alan King. How En Couleur is 6th. The gap to Historic Heart, and the back marker Tax for Max, who's not really gone with any fluency over that flight. Jumps a bit out to his right as well. Quilixios joined, talking about you over that hurdle. They head quickly towards the next, over on the far side, flight 5. Just in behind them is Adagio, who's on the outside of Zana here. They're racing in pairs at the moment, aren't they?
Jumping well, Tritonic.
Tritonic has jumped up very nicely, hasn't he?
Yeah. 4 pairs of 2 at the moment, and the front pair are talking about you and Quilixios from Zana here with Adagio, then Haute En Couleur, whose partner is Tritonic, and then Tax for Max and Historic Heart at the back.
Light the way, Keith, that Tritonic has just got one target, and that is the Fav.
Yes, he's right behind him, and to be honest, Adrian Heskin's having to sort of hold him from going past him. Now, Tom Skew's sitting behind Quilixios. Is he going to commit at some point on Adagio?
He only knows one thing.
Well, he does. He's cooler headed than he used to be, Tom Skew. But
Spy Pirate, I suppose, in December.
Yeah, he still likes to attack. He is a Scudamore after all. We all remember most of us remember his dad doing it.
Okay.
That was a good job there by Quilixios, wasn't it? Took him
Where on your map are we?
That was the 6th, I believe, which tells me they're going to turn in a minute and go downhill towards the 7th. The leader is talking about you. Quilixios is 2nd. Adagio's 3rd. Zanahir, is he in a little pocket on the inside there? I think
he is going strongly, isn't he?
He's going well, though, Zanahir.
Will he fan out down the hill here, or is it a small enough field that they won't need to?
Let's get to Barry as we approach the 3rd last then, Barry. What's the market saying now?
Yeah, Zanahir into 238, 7-2 Quilixios. The market's not liking him. 9-2 Tritonic and 14 Adagio. Haute Couture is 14 now, the Joe Donnelly horse.
Here we go, Enzo. Start to ramp it up, my man.
Everything travels by the one out the back.
Yeah, this is the 7th. Oh, where's talking about you going on the run down? Almost.
Yeah, Tritonic want to be behind her, which Tritonic was.
Zanahir's just caught in a pocket. Haute En Couleur's alongside him.
Adrian Heskin's had to switch.
Tritonic's going to get outpaced, I think, but he's going to try and come back into it. Zanahir's going well. Just needs an out, doesn't he, Zanahir? And now he's got one.
Oh,
you don't there strongly to come and tackle on the outside Quilixios. Adagio's right there too. He's not found, has he, Zanahir, so far?
Tritonix desperately disappointed.
Adagio on the outside of Quilixios. Quilixios, it's Rachel Blackmore again. She still leads to Adagio, who's coming under pressure.
Coming up to the last.
Run from Haute En Couleur.
Zanahir sunk.
Haute En Couleur's coming for this. This is going to... Oh, the two hot pots have gone.
This is Blackmore again, isn't it?
Hot pots have gone.
Anything wrong? Barry Orr! Absolutely going berserk. Adagio diving. Ennis, come on, what's going on?
Quilixios is holding on.
This is one.
This is going to win for Henry de Bromhead, Rachel Blackmore and Cheveley Park. What a week they've had. She is the darling of Cheltenham.
Daisy.
Rachel Blackmore, Calixios wins. Tight second, maybe Adagio. Houghton Couleur ran a cracker. And Zanahiyr stayed on again up the hill to be fourth.
Thank you, Tony Ennis. We are off and running here on RP Live. Shock horror. Guess who's won? Rachel de Blackmore. I was calling her yesterday. Absolutely amazing. Is that now top rider in the bag, Keith?
Oh yeah, it must be. But it's not just about the numbers. She is riding Cheltenham better than anyone.
Yep. Brilliant.
Fact. It's just is. You know, everybody used to say it about Walsh. Who's the successor to Walsh? Turns out it's Rachel Blackmore because she rides Cheltenham brilliantly.
Let's get the story of the race then from Barry. The market knew about Tritonic, Barry.
Yeah, he was really well punted, Dave. Obviously in the market. Had a Betfair SP at the finish of 3.20. Zanahiyr 2.6. In running, 216 Zanahiyr hit a low of, would you believe, in running. We'd also had Adagio hit a low of 3, which is 2-1. And how do you pronounce that, number 2? Houghton Couleur.
Oh, it's because it's up,
hit a
isn't
low
it?
of 7-2.
Aye.
Another winner for Rachel. She was 6-1 to be champion jockey coming into the meeting.
I'd say she's
Looks
60s on now.
It's paying out.
Adagio's run a blinder, isn't he? And obviously...
he's run a smashing race. It's been a very tactical race. Tom Skoo has committed for home at the bottom of the hill, you know, and it's become very tactical. It was a good ride on Adagio. He's got the best out of him. He's run a smashing race. It looks like he'll take the fences, actually.
That's what I was just about to say, that he looks like a bit of a chaser, doesn't he?
I'm always watching, I've said it about 3 times this week, you know, always these hurdles, I'm looking for chasers next year, and I think Adagio is one.
Yeah, lovely. All that.
The winner's a chaser, isn't he? What happened to Tritonic?
Well, look, we'll talk about the fallout of the race in a minute. The last hurdling debutant to run in a big race at Cheltenham, I can remember, I think it was Concertista, wasn't it?
Yeah, she finished second.
And she got beaten, you know, just by, she was nutted, wasn't she?
Was it Eglantine Desoy?
It was Eglantine Desoy, who runs later on, of course.
Keeley fancies her, doesn't he?
Yeah, Kills does fancy that one. There's been lots of money there, back on good ground. But it was all about Calixios. Barry knew. Did you follow him in? A great start for Barry Orr. More money in the bank for Wellchild as well. That's what we like.
150, yeah.
150
Superb. Well done, Barry. Great stuff. And look, we've got to talk about the disappointments of the race. Let's deal with Tritonic, shall we? He got caught behind the leader, talking about you when that one.
I thought he was going to come up. He
found nothing though.
No, that's something's amiss there, because it's not just that he came off the bridle and got outpaced. You thought that at first, and then he's just not sure.
I'd be very tempted, Keith. I'd be very tempted to write that it came a tad too soon for him. After a monster performance.
It's too bad to be true, almost.
The Adonis
is too bad to be true.
That's what I mean.
It could be
just run flat, hasn't he?
It could have been. I mean, King's
Zanahiyr's got away from him up the hill again. Which
he's finished 20.
Let's talk about Zanahiyr. If you watch him on the run in here, we're watching. He's coming back.
I thought he was going to fade.
He is coming back. Which are we looking? I mean, he came off the flat, of course. What did he win on the flat? Was it mile 2, mile 4, something like that? Yeah. Right. This is awesome. Definitely.
You would not have the horse that you watch through the season, through the winter. That's not a horse that gets outpaced.
But it is on softer ground, isn't it?
It could have been. I mean, it was a very, as I say, tactical race again. So maybe you need to bear that in mind. But he's been done by jump types.
If you come there on the bridle at Leopardstown at Christmas, you should be there.
Yeah, it's still flat types getting seemingly outpaced by jumps types, which
weird.
It doesn't smell right to me. So I don't think either of those horses have really turned up.
Yeah. Okay. Zanahiyr sunk then. Oh, Ross Briley, let's hope you laid off, my man. I was expecting that door to come pulling down. Bottles be popped everywhere. Unbelievable scenes. The first unbelievable scene here on RP Live for you. The Triumph has been done. Wow. Okay, come on. Let's have some viewer interaction. You know you make the show. Let's get you in. It's Gold Cup Day. Would you have any rituals on Gold Cup Day? I don't know about you guys. Before I first went to Cheltenham, I used to,
Were you in a box when you went to Cheltenham, by any chance?
I got lucky. Unlike at Watford, which is my football ground, where I did everything, terraces right to the start. I earned my stripes at Watford. I have to admit, with the box, I got a little bit lucky. I knew some people that owned some boxes, and that's kind of the way it went. However, before I went there, I was far too young to smoke cigars, but I fancied a cigar, and I'd always get a bottle of something quite nice. And it was always Gold Cup down. I'd wake up, for the morning line, that sort of thing, and then you pace around the house, don't you, until the first. Yeah. Any rituals?
I was going to race your post very early at Gold Cup Day. I was up bright and early this morning, as you know, because I was
annoying you. Tony Ennis.
I was annoying you.
Yeah, you were.
Yep. So I had a bit of a long stroll to go and get the racing post school run. I did the school run this morning as well, so it's kind of things have changed, haven't they?
Out the car.
Yeah, as you grow up, things change. But no, I used to, as you say, it used to be massive breakfast for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Morning line in the old days, Frankham and...
Don't skimp on the black pudding, I can imagine.
Black pudding, the lot, 3 eggs, everything. Yeah,
Yes.
8 slices of toast. Yeah, it was always Gold Cup Day, was that?
You are known a little bit for that. What about you, Keith?
I don't really have. I mean, it's the end of the Cheltenham week, isn't it? Cheltenham rituals I have, but not a particular Gold Cup one. With the Gold Cup, it was a race I used to run home from school to watch many years ago. When it was a Thursday, it was a Thursday when I was at school. I'm not that old, but it was still a Thursday in those days.
Sure.
I used to rush back.
Gold Cup on a Thursday. Do you remember that? And the Friday was always such a weird day, wasn't it?
Did they try having Cheltenham on the Friday, but it wasn't festival? Didn't they have that one year? I'm sure they did.
Like
an Ascot Heath
like a
almost.
Heath day.
Yeah, it just didn't
I don't
work.
remember that.
Did that happen?
It did 1 year. It did. I remember a horse, Jamie Osborne, rode a winner on the Friday.
Such a flop it was that it
flop. It happened 1 year, honestly. I think it might even be Master.
Sam Vesti
Could even be Master Oates' Gold Cup year, possibly.
Right.
Amazing memory.
Have a look. They had a Friday at Cheltenham.
I'm going to look this up. So you talk among yourselves.
We shall talk amongst
1995.
ourselves. Have we got any socials coming in? That's what I would like to know. Oh, I believe we're going to call down to Lee Mottershead at some point as well, who can give us a lovely, colourful wrap of the week. You've been reading great stuff from Lee in the paper, no doubt. A reminder that around about 40 minutes after race, you can go into the analysis section. You can see them there. The RPRs are usually on by the end of the day. Of course, you get all the quotes coming your way. The members section will be alive. Of course, the tips for this weekend. There is more racing. What's going to win the Midlands National? Tom Segal will be giving his prize wise, of course, for
Time
tomorrow.
to Get Up's going to win the
6
Welsh
PM.
National.
We know Time to Get Up's going to win the National, don't we?
Midlands National, yeah.
Time to Get Up's
And the National, probably. He's in the new synchronised.
Well, he's got more enthusiasm than synchronised.
This was the horse that should have been running in the Kim Muir, we thought. A couple of weeks ago, we flagged it up for this.
He was one of my naps of the week, and then, of course, because he was second to Monkfish, wasn't he, in his hurdle?
When he was with Joseph, of course.
Joseph had him, and then he got
we said, why is he not running in the Kim Muir? Could he have Mount Ida events?
He was favourite for the Kim Muir, wasn't he? And then the other horse got pulled out that was fancied. The ex-Gordon Elliott, or the Jigginstown horse got taken out, and then he was favourite, and then he's not declared.
Wow, unbelievable scene. So look, there's a big race tomorrow. We'll be covering it here, and anything debrief Cheltenham. Send us your bets. Let us know how you've got on with your punting this week. We'll be giving you a great shout out. Right. Has that happened? Is he?
It did happen.
Thank you.
So annoying.
St. Patrick's Day 1995. St. Patrick's Day 1995, yeah.
Trying to
Class
keep
B, Class E.
trying to keep half of Ireland over in our bars.
They put the EBF final on.
Oh, okay, I remember
the
it.
card.
Is that right?
Yeah, they put the EBF final on the card.
Wow.
I went to the Gold Cup Day that year. Went to the Gold Cup in '95, and then I just remember that there was a race the next day, and it was just bizarre. I watched it on television, just like it just didn't feel right though.
It was very much before my time, but yes.
You thought I was crazy. Everyone thought I was crazy.
I tell you what,
I was right.
Before we move on to the count, well, I always think you're crazy, and so do all the viewers. So I'm sort of on their side a little bit with that. Calixios is coming back into the winners' enclosure, Barry. Rachel once again, she's waving. She's getting used to this, isn't she? Have we got any quotes coming forward? I wonder, for champion hurdles and the like.
12-1 champion hurdle, 2022 on the Betfair Sports.
What price for the Arkle, Barry?
No quote for the Arkle.
See if we can nudge one out of him before the end of the show, can we? You're pretty sure that's where he's going to go.
I think he looks like a chaser, doesn't he? But
the problem is, you've got with these 4-year-olds that might go chasing is some of them might go marsh, mightn't they? Monmiral, I remember saying to Paul Nichols.
Well, Bob Ollinger's a marsh horse, isn't he?
Is he, or does it go? I mean, we had
He could be Arkle.
Bruce Millington and G-Rod in the studio. They were like, must be champion hurdle, you know.
I got Bruce and G-Rod backing one for a novice chase next year at Cheltenham on the postcast. We talked about it. Brave Man's Games, 25s for the RSA.
Did you hear Paul Nichols after? I know he was a bit down, but he said what he'll do is he'll win 4 novice chases,
but he's not going to
come back here and get beaten again.
Tell you what price? It's 25s that Bob Ollinger runs in the RSA next year because he's far too fast. He doesn't meet fast horses.
We have rated him slightly lower than I thought we would. He's around about what was it, 159?
Yeah, and we've rated Aloho a little bit lower than I thought as well. Actually, 176.
That is so far the RPR of the festival, right? We've got
the
Gold
RPR
Cup
of the festival, but it is not the RPR of the season. That's still Native River.
Native River in the Cotswold, who goes, of course, in the Gold Cup. Amazing scenes. Okay, what have we got going on? Yeah, Calixios, I'm seeing that coming forward. We'll try and get Limos said on the line for you, but now let's have a market coming up. If you don't mind for the 155, it is the county. Unbelievable. Is this going to go to Ireland again, Barry Orr?
At the head of the market, Ganapati for Willie Mullins. Yeah, that's putting the Gillard Dimensil form to the test again. 7.6 at the moment. You raised me up. That's been the Springer. Was 15.0 a high into 8.4 now. Third time Lukey is 12. 9.2 Champagne Gold. A little bit of a drift on that. Good money for Eclair de Beaufort, who's 14.5. Gowl Road 15. That's what I'm backing in the race. Winning place. I just thought that we were on the day that won last time in Newbury. He's won twice in Newbury now with He just looked he looked a third stayer that day to me when he gave he beat Good Ball that day. I think he gave him £9 and a 5.5 length beating. I thought they might have gone Coral Cup with him and Guard Your Dreams for the County Hurl, but Twiston Davis has gone the other way around. And Guard Your Dreams is really bet off the boards for the for the Coral Cup. And I just think this horse, I think he's first time cheek pieces. I liked his 2 wins in Newbury. The horse that he beat first time in Newbury, Gunsight Ridge, was made favourite for that decent novice hurl over 2.5 miles in Kempton last day. Now, he only finished third, but he didn't let the form down. And I think he's a very workable mark off 137. So we're going to have 25 quid in the win at 15, please, Keith. And then we're going to look at 6 places. And in the 6th place market, we'll have 25 quid as well. So just a straightforward win in each way, which is a whole host of markets you can bet. Obviously, you can bet the standard 4 places, 5, 6, 7, or 8 places on the Betfair Exchange in a race such as this. So we're just going to take 6 places and back it in the win market as well.
Barry going British then in the County Hurdle. Yeah, he was eye-catching. They're putting on the pieces, aren't they? You'd like to have seen that advertised a little bit more by now, I think. I'm actually sticking with that meeting as well for my tip, Barry, so I may as well follow suit. I think 50 Ball is way overpriced here, simply on the fact that all the Irish, I just think sooner or later, well, maybe it won't swing, I don't know. Maybe you're all out again. Come on, Dave, get with the programme, jump on the bias. But 50 Ball for me, Gary Moore in some famous colours, of course. We saw the oh my gosh moment on Tuesday. Never has a saying been so right for a horse. But 50 Ball with an absolute blinder behind Soaring Glory. Oh, yes, OK. Soaring Glory a little bit disappointing in the Supreme, wasn't he? Don't think Cheltenham's his track, though. And that looked to come a little bit too soon. And I'm not worried about that for 50 Ball. Because if you read in your papers this morning on your members section, the comments from the owner, he said we had a little hiccup going into it. We wanted another 7 days. He should be cherry ripe for this. And as we know, Betfair Hurdle form, I think it will still work out to be a strong race, and I'm backing 50 Ball. He was one of 3 on my shortlist. I have to say, Barry, Garrow Road was on it as well. So we're kind of agreeing there. Tony Ennis, take it away.
I've jumped onto the Ganapathy bandwagon here.
Another bandwagon?
Yeah, I think it's going to win for Willie Mullins and Paul Townend. Their horse ran really well in these colours in the first race, all at the massive price. Champagne Gold's interesting as well. Obviously, can Rachel Blackmore do it again?
This is a bandwagon. I told you about this man, didn't I?
No, I'm on Ganapathy to win it. Yeah, this you raised me up gamble was strange, wasn't it, this morning? A lot of money for this one. I looked at his 2 wins. I watched that Listowel win, the Nace win.
It wasn't massively impressive, was it? I think it just looks like an Irish horse that's got 1-1-1. It's Martin Brassel from the City Island, wasn't it, that took out Champ. Unbelievable. Done nothing since, has he? It was just one of those freak results, right?
Oh, well, Champ was a little bit keen, wasn't he, in that race as well?
It looked like he didn't get home, didn't it, in the Ballymore? And he went into Aintree, won over 3 miles.
It was an instance of Champ almost letting himself down a little bit. That's the thing with the horse. He's got so much ability, Champ, but he does, he has got his own ideas a lot of the time.
Keith, remind me of your selection, please, in the County Hurdle.
I had to remind myself because I've had a couple, but the one I've put up was Time White. It's a Betfair Hurdle form again.
Yes.
Tanked through that race.
Love the ground.
You look at his pedigree, he's bred to be about a 100 mile 2 flat horse on decent ground, so much quicker ground now. Taking that chance. He is 33-1. I've backed him each way 6 places, so anything in the first 6 will do me nicely.
What were your other couple? Just there will be people.
I've had the literal £2 win only on Durasso in case they've been laid out for it, because he's possibly the best handicapped horse in the race if he's back to what he was.
Durasso, Barry, I know that's a horse that you've been chatting a bit to me about. You don't really like him, do you? Could this be a plot? Have we seen any JP type money for him?
No, he wants a bottomless. It can't be soft enough for the horse, to be perfectly honest with you, Dave. I'm surprised they're even running him.
Down to that, please.
Joseph O'Brien said he any rain will be good for him and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
he's 120 on the exchange.
He is indeed.
Is this when we mention the difference in the courses? 6.4, we've seen that. You've seen the little graphic there on your screen on the hurdles course. It is quickening up. 6.9, the quickest I've seen all week on the chase course.
Yeah, I'm basically treating it as good ground. I think that's the way I'm. There's a bit of ease in it because it is just for national hunt types, but that is quick ground. It's spring ground. It's if you're a real ground-based punter, you want to be looking at good ground horses.
There's some remarkable horses in this race, aren't there? We'll get to them. We'll go down the list for you. But let's start off. It only took a race, but some socials are coming in on Gold Cup Day. Who kicks us off? And it's Leas Chalk coming back onto the show. 50 ball each way for me. Let's roll the dice. Gary Moore, come on, there wouldn't be a better feel-good horse, would there? Running all week, perhaps one for Nichols maybe as well. And, OK, Lee Rees-Murphy comes on. Kangaroo for the next. Now, I'm going to bat this over to Keith. Yes, OK. Tony Ennis, is this another bandwagon for you?
No, just think, Willie Mullins has got a very good record this race. It wouldn't be the sort of race you think he has a lot of winners in, would you, the Count?
This is price-wise, we should say.
Yeah, he was on my shortlist, Captain Kangaroo, definitely.
Good ground, I think, is the sort of reasoning for him.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Tom's all over this horse, and the good ground, better improving for a switch to good ground is the angle, I believe.
And who did he beat on his debut in a bumper?
It was Kilcroot?
Kilroot, yeah, absolutely. Kilroot. One thing I would say about that, it hasn't really. Some people could say, well, that was a long time ago, and actually Kangaroo hasn't really gone on with it. I remember Tony Mullins, who trained him originally, said the reason why he got beat that day, I think this was after the monstrous performance we saw when he got a race post rating 142 at Leopardstown, is because he gave him a bit of quick work, Kilcroot, before that. He doesn't take his work that well, apparently.
Okay.
They then got to know him, so maybe that's a bit of a flight. We're not sure. But yeah, the Kangaroo, bouncing will be if that comes in for you. There are some remarkable horses in this race, aren't there? Mengley Khan, now, of course, with Nikki Henderson, who used to have a really good record in this race. It's been a long time since Nikki won this. Just having a little look down. I can't.
Willie Mullins won it 5 times. I was surprised at that.
Paul Nichols has won it 4 times.
I'll give you Nicky's record in this.
Borazine was the one I backed last. The last one I had, Paul Nichols.
Nicky's record is a little bit whiffy in this.
Yeah.
17 runners in the past 10 years, 3 places only.
That's so.
It just shows you how things shift, doesn't it?
It kind of, but yeah, and Henderson, you associate him more with 2 mile hurdlers and certainly more than Paul Nichols. And Nichols has had 4 winners of this race. You wouldn't think it, would you?
On reflection of Chantry House, well, we haven't spoken to you about MINELLA yesterday ends.
Strange, wasn't it? I was watching the betting and the drift just before the off was
Barry flagged that up.
Bizarre because it was tight 144, wasn't it? About an hour before the race.
He went about 4 to 6, I remember.
161, 162, just before the off. I didn't see him at the start.
Was he a bit buzzy down at the start? He was a bit keen, wasn't he?
Was a little bit keen.
Respected Judge Ino says he'll be running in next year's Champion Hurdle.
Oh, all right.
There's a little bit of a curveball for us.
Yeah, I mean, you need to calm down to be a Gold Cup horse. There's no question of that. And the other thing to note as well yesterday, if you were going to be down on it, is that it was his first real race over fences.
That was what it looked like to me. And he was novice over the first 2, wasn't he?
I don't think he jumped a fence well.
Some people are a bit disappointed. I mean, these are people that just have had nothing but blind faith in horse. And why not? He was unbeaten. He was going for 3 for 3 at the festival. He was 4 to 9 on to do so.
Stable switch, could that be the factor? I don't know.
Well, someone mentioned that, but also the change of tactics. But that's how I expected him to be ridden, just off the leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you'd make any excuses beyond, the horse is actually not that experienced over fences.
Yeah.
He jumped so well in those little races in Ireland, in those little fields in Ireland, but
we learned nothing. Did we, that day that Asterion Forlonge fell? We learned nothing, didn't we,
absolutely.
in
that was just
nonsense of a race.
Race course gallop, yeah.
What are you expecting out there for MINELLA to do next? Let us know. Talking points abound. Barry, could we possibly nudge the sportsbook traders for a price in the 2022 Champion Hurdle about MINELLA?
He'll be busy today, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I'll ask him then.
He's fairly busy today. You can see him looking, beavering away, the absolute pro he is. You don't get to round 4 and be as fresh as Barry Orr without being an absolute pro.
What do you want, MINELLA for what?
Champion Hurdle next year.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so we put it out there.
I think we'll see.
People will be screaming at the telly going, we might see couples.
We might see him at Punchestown, mightn't we? Let's hope they can get him back for that.
Yeah, what good horses,
Fairy House. Team of Fairy House before that.
Powers Gold Cup.
We've got
Powers Gold Cup, yeah.
Remarkably, we've got the Lincoln next Saturday. Which look, so many people will be thinking, come on, I just want to get back on the flat. And
flat starts Sunday, isn't it?
One thing that the flat campaign has about it, I can't believe we're talking about this on Gold Cup Day, but we shall, is so many people are excited about it because it means we might be coming out of certain things as well.
That's true.
It could be a flat season like no other if the roadmap goes.
It's a real. I usually let myself ease into the flat season, but I can't this year because I'm price-wise on the Lincoln next week. So I'm all week. I'm going to be ginning up on my Lincoln.
We shall expect a couple of nudges, shall we? What do you think about this?
Starts here on Sunday in the Curragh.
Yeah, of course.
The flat and the Curragh
2-year-old
on
race,
Sunday.
isn't it?
Yeah, the Irish Lincolnshire on Sunday.
First
and the
2-year-old
Madrid
race.
handicap.
I haven't looked at the decks, Barry, but I suppose that Jim Bolger must have something in that. He usually runs a very good horse in that.
Actually, Actually, Aidan O'Brien has one in the first race of the season, which he hasn't done for a long time. He's usually taking his time, but his horses must be well forward, yeah.
It's not like the Brocklesby, is it, over there? It's without wanting to down the Brocklesby too much, but because you can get some
Brocklesby
winners.
Always works out well in the first few weeks of the
He's
season.
got Cadamosto, isn't it? The No Name Never's running.
Yeah.
Check you out.
Ryan Moore's riding as well.
If you told me that Aidan had won,
yeah.
if Aidan had won in that first race, I would have had quite a lot of money on it being by No Name Never.
I know that Joseph trains all these horses now, but it would be lovely to see Aidan with another jumper, wouldn't it? Back at Cheltenham, memories of Istabrack. Of course, we had that with Paul Dean, didn't we? Istabrack King, probably my favourite hurdler of all time.
Probably a related contingency with Paul Dean's favourite race being the Ballymore, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely, quite right.
Jim Bolger as well has one, freedom of speech.
So that is
Is it in a Jackie Bolger?
Come on, boys. This is
sorry. We're going.
We are digressing as we do.
As well.
And they love it when we digress out there and talk about all sorts of different things. But this is Gold Cup.
You Raise Me Up has gone favourite.
Who has?
On the machine, You Raise Me Up.
You Raise Me Up. But Barry, this is a weight of money on this, and that's surprising. Champagne Gold, you thought would have been certain after Rachel Blackmore going for a quick double to be fab. Doesn't look like it would be the case.
No, You Raise Me Up, like we said beforehand, match at a high of around 15 on the exchange. Yeah, into 7.4 now. Looks like it'll go off favourite. Icardi Beau Face is still there at 14.5. Champagne Gold 9.4. And Ganapat, that's relatively weak in the market, given connections. He's currently 8.0.
Okie dokie. I'm just trying to see what we're doing at the track as well. Okay. So, yeah, listen, we are, 10 minutes away. Oh, okay. I'm hearing that Lee is coming on, actually, which is... I've been trying to get Lee Mottershead on this show all week, and he's been doing what we call colour down at the festival. Keith, can you tell us what colour is? All about
so it's a bit of journalese, really, but colour is the sort of feature piece. It's trying to give people a sense of the day. It is the sort of... There's not so much a newsy angle. It's just trying to set the scene of what has happened at Cheltenham. Obviously, none of us are there this year. Crowds aren't there, but it's given a sense of what is a Cheltenham behind closed doors. I'll want to read the one where he talks about a Gold Cup behind closed doors, because usually it's the only after race I tend to watch the Gold Cup. That may be my Gold Cup ritual, actually. The only one where I watch them walking in is that race, so it'll be very strange without a crowd there.
Well, I guess the one race of the week so far that we've really missed a crowd would have been Tiger Roll, wouldn't it?
That would have been extraordinary, wouldn't it? Just that point when you realised that nothing was going to get near him. He was just back to almost like his best.
It was that fit. Yeah.
Best Cheltenham horse of all time? Tricky one, isn't it?
You have to say Quavega, wouldn't you? Just on numbers.
Yeah, we'd have to probably. I mean, but again, Quavega's got a little bit like Tiger Roll. Tiger Roll won a Triumph, a 4-miler, and 3 cross countries.
Yeah, he's done more. He's more versatile, isn't he?
Quavega's not so much even versatile.
Quavega was the same race, wasn't it, every year? And
right, let's go to Cheltenham. We do have Lee Mottershead on the line. We've been trying to get him all week, and he's saved the best for last. It's Gold Cup Day, Lee.
Yeah, and guess what? Rachel Blackmore's just ridden the winner.
You're kidding.
That might be a story, Lee.
Yeah, some more opinions.
Lee, not being funny, but what sort of... you've been... Every day you've been searching for something to talk about the occasion. I guess doing colour, as we call it, we've just been explaining that to the viewers. That usually would be a great thing on to be most weeks. It's been tough this week, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been difficult, but there are always stories. There are always things to write about. You're just looking for different themes, different hooks. And realistically, one of the only theme this week has been Ireland and Rachel Blackmore. I mean, I came here with slightly sweaty palms. I was thinking that this could be a very difficult festival for the sport, bearing in mind what's been going on in the last few weeks. But Rachel Blackmore, to an extent, has saved us. She's given us hugely positive things to write about. Tremendous stories, tremendous rides. I was speaking with someone earlier on today who isn't a particularly huge racing fan, but she was aware of what was going on with Rachel Blackmore, and she was enchanted by the story. Yeah. So I think from having come here nervous, I'm going away so far at least with a spring in my step.
Yeah, the Queen of Cheltenham, she's quickly becoming Lee. And Henry de Bromhead, of course, bidding to join, I think, a club of his own, isn't he? Has any trainer done this quartet?
No, I don't think any trainer has ever trained the winner of the Champion Hurdle, Champion Chase and Gold Cup. Never. I think you have to go back to Vincent O'Brien and, before Tim Bailey, before that, Vincent O'Brien, to find anyone who's trained the winner of the Champion Hurdle and the Gold Cup at the same piece. I mean, remarkable achievement. And we shouldn't forget as well that, for all that he has gained horses from Gordon Elliott, as has Willie Mullins. Honeysuckle was always a Henry de Bromhead horse, but the Cheltenham was always a Henry de Bromhead horse. A Plus Tard, MINELLA, INDO, they've been Henry de Bromhead horses. So he's not just picking up other people's pieces. He is a brilliant trainer. And, one thing that I think we can take from this week as well is that regardless of the Colentra House situation and the fact that horses have moved, I think we already were at a point where we had 3 superpower stables in Ireland: Willie Mullins, Gordon Elliott / Denise Foster, and Henry de Bromhead.
Is there going to be a British winner, Lee? How's the punting been going before we wrap up?
So 2 points there. In terms of will there be a British winner, 1:38. An announcement came over the tannoys. We have news of a further non-runner this afternoon. I thought they were going to say Britain because things have been that bad. They didn't say that. In terms of my punting, it's been going all right in the sense that I had Monkfish Antipose at 5-2, I had Shishkin at 2-1, but I'm still down on the meeting. I've backed 3 horses in the Gold Cup, but as they're all British, I feel I might as well cash out now at a loss.
I'm fearing you're going to say Santini amongst one of them. Lee, thanks for joining us. That was a great line, Britain being the non-runner. There's still time for us to change it. Thanks, Lee. We'll speak to you again.
Cheers, mate. Speak soon.
Brilliant stuff. 1:38. Britain has been withdrawn. Barry Orr will be delighted to hear that, money. Absolutely. So, look, very interesting. We already know what the headlines will be going next week as well. Next week in the paper, Keith, what can people expect? We have all these juries, don't we, and the likes. We'll have all the fallout. Will we examine the RPRs? Will we be saying, what can we expect?
Well, a lot of it will centre on what happens in the Gold Cup, but it's going to be about Rachel Blackmore, and it's going to be about these novices that are absolutely electric. Bob Ollinger and Appreciate It. What do you do with them next? They've put up massive, massive figures for winning those races.
I think we'll talk a little bit later on about what Lee said there. We were worried about a slight cloud over the sport because of what had happened the last couple of weeks. The horses, we said this with Bruce Millington earlier in the week, they do the talking, and Rachel Blackmore has come to the rescue. Okay, let's get some socials on before we go back and concentrate on the county. Who comes on and joins the show? George Cox says, Ganapathy. George. This is your bandwagon,
drifting out to 10.0. What's
not good for a Willie horse, that is.
When we had Leon, he was kicking in the paddock, wasn't he? He kicked his back.
Was he? I wasn't watching,
yeah. He had
always a bit buzzy, was he?
Yeah, he had
okay, we've got another one coming in, George, so let's hope he settled down for you, my man. Mark B comes on. Wolf Prince each way for me. The third one on my shortlist. Wolf Prince for Team Gavin Cromwell. Great story if Jonathan Moore could get back on.
Absolutely, yeah, if he can, because he missed out yesterday on the riding flooring portal.
G-Rob was saying to me yesterday he's got some very good juvenile form. Do you remember? He's just touched
on. Yeah, no, I have ended up doing the token sort of 2 quid at 100 odds.
Just in case bet, as you call it.
Absolutely, yeah, the FOMO bet.
I love it.
But it's all he's worth, but he is better than an 80-1 shot, I think.
Better than an 81 shot, okay, for Mark B. Who else we've got on? A hat-trick of them. Oliver Bruning comes on as a third time lucky each way. And I'm really glad that we're talking about this. He sort of found himself here by default. After he chased home For Pleasure, it was a shock defeat. Everyone thought For Pleasure had gone like the hare and he wasn't for catching. But sometimes, Keith, you've got to believe what you see on the track. And now they're coming to the county because he left his legs in the last behind Bareback Jack at Musselbrook. A little bit disappointing. Charlie Post, who broke in this horse, we have him on the show, be back tomorrow for the Midlands National. He's been down at Cheltenham this week. He said, I think the mark's a bit high, but Dan Skelton, this is his race.
It is indeed. I sort of agree with Posty a little bit. To win off 143, given what we've seen about the British novices and how much they're in the Irish team's pocket, they're obviously not the best crop we'll ever see. You need to be the best of them to win this off 143, I think.
Fantastic. Okay, there you go. Great to have the social interaction. Keep it coming in. Party atmosphere here in the Racing Post studios, that's for sure. And on track as well. Rachel Blackmore. I want to keep calling her Rachel de Bromhead.
You have had 100 goes at this week, but you've still not got it right.
It's always fun. Listen, I've not been in this game before with Barry.
Like Ricky Johnson, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it's Ricky. You could do with a winner, couldn't he, old Ricky Johnson? So they are lining up.
Money for third time lucky's been come in, isn't it?
I wanted to go to Barry. So we've got a clear fav now then, Barry, have we?
Yeah, well, not a clear fav. Well, we do actually. Third time lucky now, 9.098. You raised me up. Ganapat 8. 14 or 15.5 Champagne Gold now. Massive drifter.
Drifter.
That was a
Champagne Gold.
silly price, though. I think if you're on Champagne Gold, don't worry about the drift because these industry the firms had to put him in short, right?
They have, and is he still favourite on the track?
Just about.
Yeah, this is because there's a lot of Rachel Blackmore accumulators on today, so that's why he's short.
We've not talked about Claire de Beaufort, who Paul Keeley has spotted as one. Horrible form
Money
figures,
for,
but has festival form.
Petit Mouchoir been back.
Petit
as well.
Mouchoir,
18
yeah,
now.
Ross Briley gave me a mention.
He
I
did,
wasn't
yeah.
bidding to get back on track.
Interesting, isn't he?
The experienced Petit Mouchoir. They're coming in then. 50 ball looks like he's going to be up there. Petit Mouchoir, we know that he likes to get on with it as well. You can see when these horses, when they're lining up towards the tape. Graham Robb had a right bee in his bonnet about the starts, didn't he? But it did get a bit silly yesterday. Let's hope they come off, Keith, on this one. And they are off and running. Happy days. A word was had with the starter indeed for G-Rod yesterday. Tony Ennis called them home in the county.
The McCoy Contractors County Handicap Hurdle is underway. Short run to the first. 50 balls up there. Global Citizens right there too. And also bang, there is Petit Mouchoir, who's back near the off. Another one that's handy as well. The red cap of Team McManus is there too as well. Yeah.
I'm not happy, Barry. I'm not happy, Barry. Our two selections are up there. You don't make all of the
Gal Rhodes bang there on the inside. What else
He's
is
a
that?
bit free with those first time.
He's keen, isn't he, Gal Road? Look at him. Mengley Khan's bang there as well, isn't he? But the leader is Global Citizen. David Bass is out in front in the county hurdle.
Quelle surprise, says Keith Melrose.
Oh, yeah, this horse leads anyway, but David Bass is, he loves to lead, doesn't he?
It's been one of the fun things we've had of this week. Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like the big guns. Ganapathy is in that little rear group. Time White has been switched off towards the back as well by Harry Cobden. They take the second. Mengley Khan has pulled his way to the front. This huge horse has now gone on. 50 ball just drops in behind with Gal Road and Global Citizen.
Good.
Then comes Petit Mouchoir. Ciel de Liège is next in the field. One of the many McManus colours of this. Milkwood is next in the field, racing ahead of the well-back You Raise Me Up, who's about 8th at the moment on the inside. Got a good position, You Raise Me Up.
Thank goodness Tony Ennis has joined the party because this has got to be one of the more difficult calls of the week, hasn't it? Keith, who's catching your eye?
I'm disappointed that 2 of my 3 are last two.
But this is one of your theories, though. This is surely the race where they come from behind, isn't it?
Well, they're not going as hard as you might hope for a pace collapse. It's
How
not
hard do you want them to go, man?
Too far,
There's
too
about
hard.
30 lengths between first and last, isn't there?
Too hard. I want them to go too hard.
Build Me Up Buttercup hit that, I think.
I reckon they're going too hard. Let's go to Barry, then we're on the far side.
Yeah, 7.62 Ganapath, and You Raise Me Up. 9 third time lucky. Outside of that, there's no massive movers bar Petit Mouchoir, who's into 11.5 now in running.
Okay, you're looking for the McManus colours, Ennis, aren't you? And who's the red cap? It's Ciel de Liège.
Yeah, the red cap. The white cap dropped the anchor, is in about a bit worse than midfield. One couple ridden ridden at the back already. One of them, I think, is Durasso.
Durasso is one of them. He's
one of them. And the other one's Build Me Up Buttercup, who's not really travelling either. And another one that's dropped towards the back, that could be Strong Glance. He's
Time White's out the back, isn't he? But you can tell the pressure's off the Cobden now, can't you? Because he's just like, right, I'm going to ride him gold, see what happens.
Well, they steadied it up here because this is the rise towards the top of the hill before they swing down.
And guess who's been alive to that? Only Harry Skelton.
Yeah, third time lucky, suddenly got into 4th from about 10th in one foul swoop. A little mistake at the back again by Durasso, who's not really travelling.
Where's Captain Kangaroo out there for the Social and Price-Wise fans?
Midfield, just to the back of midfield.
Oh, a bit of bump in there.
Yes, he is.
Saint Duro.
I'd be happy with 50 ball now, you know. I'm happy that he's got a lead. I thought at one point they were going out to try and make all.
Petit Mouchoir's made ground now. He's gone onto the heels of Mengley Khan. Third time lucky, he's pulled his way to third. 50 ball is 4th. Then Ciel de Liège. You Raise Me Up is still creeping a little bit closer on the inside. The Morning Gamble from Milkwood, who sits next. And then the Jigginstown colours. Eclair du Beaufort is next for Jack Kennedy. Further back to find Gal Road. Where's Ganapathy? Well back, but no, making ground actually.
Yes, he is on the wide outside.
Yeah, here comes Ganapathy in those Donnelly colours on the outside.
Time White starting to get jiggy for Keith Melrose as well. He's creeping
There's a few going well. You Raise Me Up is travelling well too. Bit of draw inside. Darryl Jacobs got trouble again on the inside. Not the first time this
catching
week.
my eye on the inside.
Wolf Prince was also short of room. Third time lucky's gone on. Has he gone too soon, Skelton? I don't know. Milkwood's after him. Ganapathy's after him. You Raise Me Up's under pressure.
Go on, 50 ball.
50 ball's gone far side.
Brave effort,
Milkwood's
this.
coming. Petit Mouchoir's still there, but third time lucky leads the county hurdle field. Eclair de Beaufort's making ground. Milkwood
near
has
side.
now hit the front.
Elmer Holland.
Milkwood's gone on. A little bit of money for this beforehand. Third time lucky's in second place.
Uneventful. Eclair de Beaufort, Petit Mouchoir. This is Milkwood's, isn't it?
It's still Milkwood in front.
Belfast boy.
Eclair de Beaufort's coming.
Banter's coming towards the
Third
far
time
side.
lucky.
Third time lucky's back in front. Eclair de Beaufort, Milkwood, Belfast, Banter's
Edwardstone's finishing. Edwardstone's finishing.
No, it's
Belfast, Banter. Look at this.
Reversing form, I think, with third time lucky. Wow, Peter Fahey. No good yesterday with Walker Harlow in the mare's race. Kevin Sexton take a bow. He rode a blinder there, didn't he?
1-2-4 for Ireland, I think, as well. Milkwood stops it being an Irish 1-2-3-4. He finished third.
And not quite a clean sweep then. Take us out on our
19-4. 19-4, Dave Orton.
I don't know. Listen, I don't want to react totally after the race, but some of the British riders there, I mean, you don't make all in these races, and they were either right out the back or they were right out the front.
Did Harry Skelton press the buttons a bit too early? I don't know.
I think he had to go. He found himself there and thought, well, I either sit here and let them go past me, or I just go for it.
If this was in another jurisdiction, I know I bang on about Australia quite a lot, but when we go down there, I say we, apart from Tom Marquand, no one could do any right. You know, Frankie Dettori gets beaten a short head in a Melbourne Cup. They all slag him absolutely something rotten. If this was in Australia now, they'd be going, these British riders, wow, what are they doing? You know, the Irish guys just getting it right. They're playing their hands at the right time. It's decisions, isn't it? Kevin Sexton, that would surely be barrier first a Cheltenham winner for Kevin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it surely is, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah.
1 out of 14 over hurdles, that horse. He had a terrible record in terms of winning races, this fella. But
raced in the UK recently, didn't he? One of the Saturdays
he went to Ascot in your handicap, didn't he? Behind Not So Sleepy.
Yes.
And he was 6 of 7 behind Bareback Jack with third time lucky behind him. Yeah, and you just look. I'm watching it back to finish now. And he's a sweet ride, this, I tell you. It reminds me of Sean Flanagan in the Boodles. He really has.
He only traded at a low of 3 on.
Milkwood?
Traded at a low of 5 on.
5 on Milkwood.
Oh. Yeah. Who's in the white cap and managed to drop the anchor, caught my eye running on.
Yeah, it runs on at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's still one to be had in the end.
Claire de Beaufort was
White is flying up the hill as well. He's been given a bit too much to do, hasn't he, I think?
Petit Mouchoir second, wasn't he?
Petit Mouchoir second.
Third. Fourth was a Claire de Beaufort. Fifth, I thought Edwardstone. Sixth, third time lucky. Seventh, dropped the anchor, I think.
Edwardstone would be your benchmark, I think.
Third time lucky, only 6th at the finish.
Yeah, it's absolutely a horse that finished 4th in a...
Well, it was only beaten about a neck for 4th, wasn't he?
Yeah. But again, some people were not over the moon with the ride on Chamblew yesterday, Keith, were they? Have we seen something similar without wanting to bash it?
No, I think I'm going to say the Chamblew ride wasn't very good. In fact, it was bad. But I think it was one of those rides where he was forced to go a bit soon.
And Milkwood has been softened up a bit by the fact they can stand side as well, didn't they?
It's the right inclination to have, to be aggressive.
Claire de Beaufort's run a blinder, hasn't he? Paul Keeley would have been getting excited there.
Edwardstone, 6th, third time lucky. 7th, dropped the anchor.
What's that? That's right.
8th, Anna Bonina.
Chris Gordon's there that's right. Oh, is that Anna Bonina?
9th, Sealed in Liège. 10th, You Raise Me Up.
John McConnell's got a well-fancied horse in the Albert Bartlett coming up. That will give him a bit of loving, I think, for that. Wow, that was a dramatic county hurdle. It was, I don't know, it was at one point like it, I don't know, did they forget there was a hill in front of them, some of these riders? I'm not sure, because they kicked a long way out.
They dead steady at the top of the hill, and that's where third time lucky got prominent. And at the bottom of the hill, he's found himself in front and gone, well, I've got 2 options here.
They must have steadied it, because I was having a pop at you for saying there's nothing wrong with a horse out the back with this sort of pace, and yet you're right, they didn't really figure, did they?
No, absolutely, and it did steady on that line of the hill. That's where third time lucky got really prominent. Look, Milkwood here's.
Poor old Harry Compton, he can't do anything right, can he? He goes from the front, he goes from the back, the pace is snarling.
They had a good buffer. There were about 4 or 5 lengths ahead, weren't they, just before the last, the 2 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Nasty ball. I mean, he stopped to an absolute walk there, and he was way ahead of Edwardstone, wasn't he, in the Newbury race. Are these races coming a bit too quick for the British? I don't know. The fallout will be here in the post next week. Don't worry about that. The debates will rage on. You raised me up a little bit. Disappointing guys didn't quite get up the hill.
What's further, maybe. Looks where you got outpaced, I thought, when they quickened.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
From
the commentator's eye, they always say to look out for that. Gowl Road was disappointing, Barry, wasn't he? He was lit up, wasn't he? And surely, I don't know, it's a hindsight, isn't it? But you might have been a bit more patient on him, I think. But I guess the way that he was running at Newbury, he was an attacker.
Yeah, I'd say he was a bit buzzy with the first-time cheek pieces. I don't think you see them on him next time. He ran away with him early doors, and he didn't get home. He was first horse beat, turning from the top of the hill. He was dropping through them and caused a bit of interference, actually, when he was dropping back.
Thank you, Barry. Okay, I want to have a word for the ground now, Keith. I mean, they haven't raced here since December, have they, at Presbury Park?
No, actually.
And despite the fact that the sun has been baking, one of my highlights of the week was Simon Clace coming out at the end of Tuesday, which is something he's not really done in previous years, and said, watering not on my mind. There's still a bit of mud kicking up there. They've done a magnificent job.
It's worked out very well for them. I mean, the coming out and saying not watering, I think, was an easy call to make, really, because the only time they could really water was before Gold Cup Day, which I don't think he'd have wanted to do. But it was good of him to come out and say that it was, keep the certainty about it.
And they've had water retention. It should be there, shouldn't it, for the winter we've had? This is what people want to see, isn't it?
Well, Cheltenham, yeah, that's the thing. Cheltenham does not drain like it used to.
No, it doesn't. No.
Why is that?
Well, we're not really sure, Barry, to be honest.
Well, there's certain. It's been said that years of watering have made it so.
Yes.
But I don't know whether to believe that or not. But that's the proposal that I hear.
It's something that that certainly I've been thinking about. Again, I mentioned Bruce Millington. If you've been watching the show all week, he said, and I concurred with him. I know greenkeepers. I know people that work at these courses at Ascot and the likes, and the studying that they have to do to get that job. It's like rocket science. Honestly, it really is. Every blade of grass they have to know about. You're looking. You're questioning that.
I didn't know about how your extension of your greenkeeping and sort of turf and soil knowledge. I'm quite impressed.
Oh, do you just have commentator friends, do you? Or Man United fans, probably. Yeah, absolutely. Any friends, I suppose, would be good for it.
Negative, I don't have any.
Your friends are out there, Enzo, watching you, of course. Keep the loving coming in. Honestly, you could watch that ride back. For me, on the hurdles course, that was the ride of the week. It was an absolute peach. He's waited. Don't you get there too soon, Peter Fahey would have said. Now, Peter Fahey's had some good horses over the years. Barry, Peregrine Run was the one we mentioned that viewers will know all about. But a small yard in Ireland takes out the county hurdle.
Yeah, he's well able to get one ready too. They when the dough's down on his horses, they're never far away. That's for sure. He what was the other horse we spoke about yesterday? The mare that he had that was favourite for the
Walkahala, wasn't it?
Year.
Oh,
well, that was the one yesterday. But he had another nice mare for JP McMahon.
Gypsy Island.
And we haven't seen Gypsy Island. That's the one. Yeah. But yeah, he's well able to train. Very capable. I think he's down around Monaster Evan and County Kildare.
Okay, so Peter Fahey, hats off. Your time. I think they'll be going crazy back in Ireland at the yard, won't they? Another son of Jeremy, sire of.
Appreciate it.
Well done, Keith Melrose. Spatted that straight back. I thought I was going to have some fun there, but no, the Quizmaster gets it right again. Let's have your socials. Keep it coming in. Did anyone find the banter out there, which we've been having all week from Belfast? A Northern Irish winner out there. Happy days. Kevin Sexton's Day in the Sun. We always get it every year. A young rider, who's been plying his trade for a little while. That was a superlative ride for me. Absolutely going to make one of my top 5 rides of the week. Great stuff. Okay, we must move on because we go to another novice race. Exciting times because it's the Albert Bartlett coming up for you. We can see the market on the screen. Ooh, looks like it's going to be Ireland again. Funny that, Barry.
Yeah, the top 2, 3 in the betting. Yefakira, Sattler, and Streets of Doyen, but at the top of the market, 5.457, 5.7 Sattler, 12 Streets of Doyen, top of the graph is 10, along with Barbados Books, who I was really impressed with last day. 3 under through 5 is another one of Paul Nichols. He's at 12.0. Admiral at 14. That's the one I like in it for Richie Johnson. I think he showed a really, really good attitude in Warwick last day. He carried his penalty. Now, the race probably wasn't the best of form, but I just like the way he went around his business. He's a bumper win, or he got beaten a bumper. They did his win, and he's won 3 times this season over hurdles, and they've stepping him up in trip every time, and he just seems to really want to win this horse. I think I can't see him out of the first 3, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to have 25 quid on in the win market, and we're going to have 25 quid on in the 4th place market as well, Keith. So just first in the win. Again, happy to be a price taker here. They're liquid markets, and they're really strong markets as well.
You say 4 places, Barry?
4 places, please, Keith. Yeah, winning 4 places. Admiral in the Albert Bartlett for me.
Yeah, the Warwick form has worked out particularly well. We called him home. That's an Albert Bartlett trial, of course. The cheap pieces went on, didn't they? In fact, if you keep looking back through his form, it's all working out. They were disappointed with him at Haydock one day. The horse that he beat, though, in the end by many, many lengths, turned out to be Grumpy Charlie, who won his next 3 and went to run in the Supreme. This is a very talented horse. We've been having chats about him in the office, all through the week, and I know Ross Briley's keen on him. I mentioned this to Paul Keeley as well, and I said, he's a horse that keeps finding.
Yeah.
A bit like Tory Graph in this, and Keel's quite rightly back to me. He said, do you want that sort of horse at Cheltenham? And the horse that springs to mind is Barters Hill, isn't it? A horse that keeps finding off the bridle. There's going to be something racier even at Cheltenham, isn't there?
Yeah. I like Barbados Bucks. I saw him win earlier in the season.
Is this the tip? The end.
No, I'm just thinking. I was looking back. Do you know Paul Nicholls? Is he running out of chances? I know he's got the horse in the Hunter Chases, and he's got a few later on. But
Bob and Co.
Do you know you've got to go back? When's the last time Paul Nicholls didn't have a Cheltenham Festival win? I've got the answer.
I know this. I should know this. Was it 2002?
Correct. Well done.
Well, I do my homework.
2002.
You know what I mean? I had to go down there and do the preview, man. Do you think I just went down there on a whim?
I mean, obviously, he had his golden years, isn't he, after that? But, I mean, even years when
1999, he had 3 winners, then he had a couple of Baron years and
Civil Business, Call Equine.
1 year he only had a Hunter Chase winner.
Yeah.
That was Pasha de Boulder, of course.
So, I mean, he could be heading for his first blank for 20 years, which would be extraordinary, but let's hope not.
You wouldn't want to... You
don't want to be in Ditchy on tonight. If no one's in the cat.
He'll still be champion trainer, though, Enzo. And that's
there you are, and we've got Aintree coming up, where he's going to have loads of horses, and we've got Air and the likes as well. Maybe we'll go over to Punchestown and wipe the floor with the Irish. Is that at all possible? Okay, what about that price for the champion hurdle market, MYLN? Any luck on that yet, Barry?
Yeah, let me check. I don't know. They're a busy bunch in there, and they see these things as new 20s.
20s? 20s MYLN.
I'm not sure they knew I was calling that out on Racing Post Live, though.
yeah, right. All of a sudden, the buzzers are going.
Throw away. I'll get rid of him. 20.
Wow. Get buzzer away from us. Wow. Unbelievable scenes. Could that be a fly? 20-1 MYLN. I know hopefully some of my friends who've put that to me this morning are listening to that. That's for sure.
Quick enough to win at Cheltenham Hurdle?
Look, he's MYLN, isn't he? Lots of people thought maybe this time last year, of course, when they were talking about where he went. Well, yeah, but Ballymore winners do drop back, don't they? He's back, of course, the great case in point.
Orheen did he?
I'm surprised as big as 20s. I'm surprised MYLN's as big as 20s for anything. That's got Gold Cup. I'm surprised it'd be 20-1.
Yeah, the other one that gets forgotten about in the Ballymore champion is Rock on Ruby, who was beaten ahead
twice, wasn't he?
Beaten ahead in the Ballymore, wasn't he?
And then came out and
won the champion.
Won the champion, then was second in it, of course. Oh yeah, great scenes. All right, great Cheltenham memories as well. What's your favourite Cheltenham memory? Let's have it. We'll keep the socials coming in. It's the Albert Bartlett though. We're going down. We've got one selection of Barry Minus of yours again. You sort of ummed and ahed.
Statler. I went Statler at the start of the week. I'm sticking with Statler. He wins. Remember he won at Leopardstown when we were working Dublin Racing Festival. No, was it Christmas? It was Christmas. He won Statler Christmas.
Oh yeah, he won the
before we came on air. He won the races.
Yeah.
Now I liked him then.
Senior producer Rob Lee. It's his birthday today. Rob Lee, would you believe that?
Oh, very happy returns.
Unbelievable scenes. Yeah, what a way to spend it, eh?
With us.
With us. Yeah. Well, but to counter that, I've just shot myself in the foot. It's mine on the Derby, believe it or not. So there you go. So we're both screwed there.
I get the Haldon Gold Cup if I'm lucky.
You get the Haldon Gold Cup if you're lucky. What about you, Enz? Southwell Cellar?
Yeah, Southwell, definitely.
Well, don't talk to me about Southwell, actually. I'm still sore about the fact they're ripping the fibre stand up this
year. End of April, the last fixture.
Oh, really?
27th
of that's a shame. Real shame.
2 weeks off and then Tapita, May.
I even loved the jumpers bumper around there. It was all good. So Statler for you.
Statler for me.
What's the argument with Statler?
He's not certain, is he, about the trip?
Is he Galvin Mark II?
I'm hoping so. I think he's got a little bit of speed as well for a stayer. I think he's good enough to win this. It's tough. I didn't like. There's money for Fakir, isn't there? Is Fakir still being backed? It wasn't when I looked earlier on this market, but I wasn't sure about the Nichols runners. Maybe 3 under through 5. I thought was the best of our home contingent.
We're talking.
We saw him win with Musselbrook, wasn't it, that day when we were together?
Yeah, that's right. The same card as Belfast Banter. Here we go. Finally, it's swinging. It's not just the Dublin Racing Festival. It's the Musselbrook County Hurdle weekend that's coming into show as well. And I'm glad that you've said that. And is Paul Nicholls running out of chances? There's 4 horses that I like for this Albert Bartlett. I have to say that Adramel was 1. Slightly worried about his run style. Is he a horse that needs to be up there? Do you may call in this race? I'm not sure. However, someone I remember, I can't remember who it was, might be Ross Briley, counted that with lots of winners have made all, he said, in the Albert Bartlett or been up there. And 3 under through 5 has now sprung to the head with the quickening ground. He's the only one I could find that had definite form.
Why is he drifting though, Dave? Why is he 40?
Loads of money for him. It's Paul Nicholls. You know what it's like. They've got to moved their chess pieces now, the firms, haven't they? And Paul Nicholls, you could probably, I don't want to say add another 0, but that usually works out when I do, that they come home and win. But 300 through 5, he was very green that day at Musselbrook. Adrian Heskin told us this was one of his best chances of a winner a couple of weeks ago, even though he had Tritonic. We all know what happened to Tritonic. We'll be getting you some quotes for the beaten horses as well, I believe, and not too long in the future as well. We want to know what happened to Zanahir, of course, and Tritonic. We will be breaking that to you. He will do for me, simply because a lot of these horses won't have run on the ground yet, and we're not sure. Alaphilippe is the other one.
That's right. But you're going to segue to me. Was that the intention?
That was the segue.
Alaphilippe is my tip in the race, and there is a doubt about there's the unknown about the good ground. Now, he won his point on yielding. The other ones were in the mud, and he didn't win those. But also, if all you had to go on was his pedigree, you'd say this horse was a good ground horse.
Yes.
Because you had
Morozov, isn't it?
Morozov's the sire. Generally, the good horses, he's not had many, but they have been better ground horses. The Dam is a half-sister to the Dam of the Bosses Oscar, who obviously can't handle these conditions. He was second in the pair temps final yesterday. And the winning brother, whose name I forget, his 2 best runs are both on good ground at Musselbrook.
And and Paul Keeley told us this morning, who also likes Alaphilippe, Big Phil, they called him in the stable yard at Fergal O'Brien's. Of course, the quickest ground he's run on, he won his Irish point on that.
I said that.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, you did, all right, fair enough. So, look, I'm taking 4 darts at this race, basically. 300 through 5 is on top for me. Alaphilippe, though, with Keith, as you can see there on the screen.
It's more of an each-way bit because...
It's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's battle-hardened, though, and a lot of horses with a lot of runs behind them go well in this race.
I've got a question for you in just a sec, but let's get some socials coming up on the screen. More coming in, we love it. Prior to the potato race, the Albert Bartlett sponsors, of course, well established. Let's get these socials up in the screen. Where are they, Will Carey? Here they are. Andy Sim, great to have you back, Andy. 300 through 5, looks good each way. Yep, just sit 5th or 6th, go on the ground, bounce off it. We know he'll stay. He's one of the only distance winners in the races as well. Andy Sim, that is, who we've got coming up next. We've got Stephen Smith. Good to have you back on, Stephen. We'll be dancing in the streets of Doyen. Now, there's been money for this chap, hasn't there? And John McConnell had a horse go well, running on late Anna Bonino in the previous
Flooring
race.
Porter, isn't he, as well, Streets of Doyen? He's got Flooring Porter form, which obviously looks better now.
This was really well backed earlier in the week.
Yeah, he's a finder as well, this horse, Streets of Doyen. A couple of times I watched him in Ireland. He looked beaten, Dave.
Back up in trip.
Found more.
So he's an Adramel, is he?
He's a finder. Yeah.
A grinder finder.
Yeah.
We like them. Okay, that's good. Stephen Smith, yeah. So you're on a bit of a buzzer according to the market. Chris Timms comes back on and says, Tory Graph, another finder, and Streets of Doyen in the each way for me as well. Well, let's deal with Tory Graph. I've been with this guy, Keith, in Ireland, and I've been beat after 3 hurdles. In fact, this was the horse that Keel said, I'm not sure that's the sort of horse you want at Cheltenham in the Albert Bartlett. But on RPRs, he's bang there, isn't he?
Yes, he is. That performance at Fairy House in December in particular is up there on RPRs, and he is a real grinder and a finder. You sometimes think that's the horse you want on an Albert Bartlett, but you need to, they sometimes find themselves getting outpaced, actually. Some
great social interaction then. Keep it coming. I beg you for that, because you make the show out there. We've been absolutely loving life. We're around about, 15 minutes, half an hour, not quite. 15 minutes away from the Albert Bartlett, and then myself, Dave Orton, Tony Ennis, Keith Melrose and Barry Orr. Gold Cup day. Happy days. We're ramping up to the Gold Cup, which is just under an hour away. We will a new Gold Cup winner out there for you. Who's it going to be? Keep your tips coming in. We'll give you a shout out. Any multiples going? Let's find out. We've got one that was sunk, wasn't it? Poor Ross Briley, I feel for him. We're going to sink one with him afterwards, whatever, aren't we, today?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's get to the end of the week.
You going to stick around for a beer? Unlikely for you to do that.
I'm driving. Also, the other thing was, I hope we're not heading for an Irish clean sweep today, because that would make it the horrible 24-4, wouldn't it?
We've had, one winner a day the last 2 days?
Yeah,
24-4. That would be obscene, wouldn't it? I mean,
24-4 would be...
studiedly don't take an interest in the Presbyterian Cup, but 24-4 would make you...
landslide. We'd declare, wouldn't we?
If it was 24-4, would you feel like Jeremy Corbyn at the last election, waking up that day and seeing the majority and just going, oh, man.
Would it be like when Real Madrid are losing at home, they're throwing the white handkerchiefs?
Exactly. Yeah, quite right. Well, there we go. So I've got 3 horses in the Gold Cup. Guess where they're all trained. Okay, so we've got the tips, haven't we, Barry? After we've spoken, Streets of Doyen, we can see him going round. He's pretty hard in the market. Is it still going to be Fakira, though, going off Fav?
Yeah, well, there's not much between Fakira and Statler, 5.2, 5.6 respectively. Then Toria Graph and Barbados Books is 10.0 each of 2, 12.5 Streets of Doyen and Admiral into is 13.0 now, but it's a wide open contest, Dave, and reflected in the market, obviously.
Barbados Bucks you mentioned, didn't you, for Paul Nicholls, the second of Paul's?
I like him.
I was looking. I had it in my mind because he'd been running at Kempton, so he would have been on some good ground, but a lot of it's soft ground, isn't it?
Soft ground form, and he's another horse as well that I wouldn't say he's like Big Bucks, who I think obviously carry the same colours, but he looks like he hits a flat spot.
Become rather obsessed, Andy Stewart, hasn't he, with the name Bucks? Yeah. There's quite a few of them out there, aren't there?
It's the dam's Bucks Blue. So he's got the dam, hasn't he? Does he own the dam? Maybe he doesn't.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But
it's like Sheikh Mohammed buying all the Dubai Millenniums. Every last one.
Yeah, right, exactly. From memory, when I got eaten up by that sofa down at Ditchy, which was very comfortable, by the way. There's lots of people commented on I look comfy there. I think that he thought. I think Barbados Bucks was just his preference, actually, but we wouldn't have known what the ground would have been.
The under 3.5 does give the impression to me of a horse that you're going to go, oh God, that ran in the Albert Bartlett, did it? And it'll end up 2 stone better over fences.
This is a definite. Well, are most horses that run in the Albert Bartlett definitely future chasers? Do we get stayers out of winners out of them?
Not really do. I mean, well, Paisley Park ran in it, but he finished down the field.
Oh, great shout.
Yeah, he finished. Yeah.
That, of course, when he came to Cheltenham, we weren't sure, were we, because of that run, when he was a totally different horse. I was going to ask you.
Wasn't it Oscar might have run in this as well?
Oscar did run in this. Alaho ran in this.
Did he?
Yes, the same year. That was Kilbrick and Storm's year, was it? Santini?
Okay. Well, he was
ran in this. Santini, yeah.
There was a couple of talented McManus horses in that race because I think Henderson had the second and third.
It's hard to remember. Isn't it? I was going to ask you, is there... well, let's have a look at the SPs of Albert Bartlett winners out there.
Yeah, some big ones.
MINELLA INDO.
MINELLA INDO, of course.
Yeah, Betfair SP of 80 or something. MINELLA INDO a couple of years back.
Rachel Blackmore mugging him off from the front again, wasn't it?
When he really arrived on the scene.
Yeah.
Of course, Monkfish, of course. Actually, the Albert Bartlett last year was one of the form races, wasn't it?
It was.
Fury Road.
Great race.
Time Hill, of course. I can't wait to see Time Hill back at Aintree. You know what I mean, Harry. At Fisher's Cross, do you remember? Brindisi Breeze, Bobworth, the Gold Cup winner. So, of course, at Fisher's Cross, 11 to 8 fav. He won out. Woo! I was going to ask you, that was the question I was going to ask you. Have you ever steamed one in this with real confidence? Probably was at Fisher's Cross.
I might have backed that one, but I do remember, I was very confident that Paul Nicholls had a horse in this about 12 years ago. And I can't remember its name, but it was my bet of the week. And I backed it.
I remember about the T'other one in this many years ago. That was Nicholls.
That was a long time ago, but it was...
the
T'other one didn't win,
win the Nicholls horse, did it?
No, it didn't. It finished about 4th. But yeah, it was about 72. I'll tell you what, it'll be the 2009 Albert Bartlett or something. But
wasn't there a few good things have been something. Remember Boston Bob one year was a bit.
Boston Bob was a big sinker.
Beaten by Brindisi Breeze.
I thought Walsh made a pig's ear of that.
Up until a lot was said about up until Monkfish, this wasn't a great race for Woody, was it? It wasn't one of the you expect it to be, of course.
Pride of Dulcote finished second to Weapons Amnesty.
Pride of Dulcote.
Owned by the Yeomans, was it? The white and
it was. I remember. I could picture the colours. It's a blue crossbelts.
Yeah.
Let's get some social selections out there, some viewer interaction coming in as we expect on Gold Cup Day. And Soulful Music 100 says Vanillier. Okay, this is Gav Cromwell.
We've not mentioned Vanillier, have we? Didn't Vanillier beat Statler as well? Beat Statler early in the season.
He's got Gabinenko to come as well, isn't he, in the boys' race when we're off air. That will be, of course, 6 races we'll be giving you. We've got the new Mares Chase. That will be the final race, of course, 4:15-ish. This was a complete flop when Fancy behind...
it wasn't that far.
Galliard Dumenil. Well, he beat 58 lengths, wasn't it? Yeah. Before that, he bumped into Farouk Delane, and then I don't know.
Before that, he beat Statler.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see where this one's from, but Jonathan Moore... That was one of the stories of the week, wasn't it, Barry? And did you see his quotes last night? He said, the hardest decision of my life, Jonathan Moore, getting off Flooring Porter, but I wouldn't have done him justice, he said.
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very selfless decision by Jonathan, like most jockeys. You talk about AP McCoy there riding with his arm in a sling once, riding a winner almost. And, for a jockey like Jonathan who wouldn't be getting on all those grade 1 horses the way some of the top jockeys would, and these opportunities don't come around every year, for him to stand himself down, because Gavin Cromwell left it in his hands, the decision. For him to stand himself down and nominate Danny Mullins, I thought was a really, really selfless act. And, mark of the man, I suppose. I don't know him personally, but I think he's gone up in everyone's estimations off the back of what he did, and it was good to see. It was chivalry and all those great things are still alive and well with Jonathan Moore, for sure.
Oh, we've had you on the show all week, Barry. We know they're alive and well. Of course, he got his grade 1 at Christmas, didn't he? I guess that. So it would be a great story. He's got some fancied horses later on as well, hasn't he? So this is a big one, I suppose, for him. Let's get another social selection up on the screen. That's Vanillio. We've done that for you, I think. Frizzy Red comes back onto the show and said Barbados Bucks to get the Nichols his first winner. Yeah, look, he's 1-1-1-1-1. He's been beating, some form horses that have coming out. I guess the track would be something of an unknown for him, wouldn't it, Keith? He's been winning on flat tracks, hasn't he?
Yeah, mostly, and yeah, he ran in a bumper here, didn't he? But he did finish down. Well, he ran all right. But
yes, at that October meeting.
Yeah, so he has run here. It wasn't his best day of his life, but I don't know. He's probably got a bit to find on the form, really. Another horse that's going to be a better chaser in this field, I would have said. But again, it's just treated as a Paul Nicholls horse. Yeah,
yet again, another one. We don't know what to do with this. Jonathan Moore used to, of course, ride for Rebecca Curtis over it.
Yeah. I think, did he get a bit homesick?
Yeah, he went home.
Is that what it was?
He lasted almost half a season he stayed for.
He didn't stay for long. I think he struggled being based in Britain.
Yeah, missed his family, wanted to go.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. And he is a smashing jockey, but he had to go back to Ireland. He just didn't adapt.
And settle now. She's got a couple in this, isn't she, Rebecca? She's at Fisher's Cross. She's got form in this race, isn't she?
Pat's Fancy.
That's one I thought was interesting. Rachel Blackmore riding.
On a 50-1 shot. Who knew? 40-1 shot, yeah.
No, it's come in a little bit because it's Rachel Blackmore probably, but. Yeah, Pat's Fancy, I sort of fancied it when it finished second to Make Good. I thought its form was better. It got underestimated because...
That's at the track, of course, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was here. I thought it was being underestimated because it was trained by Rebecca Curtis, and he ran very well, but I would imagine this is a bit too hot.
He was pulled up behind the Cobb, who won as he liked.
So impressive.
He supplemented for this, the Cobb, as well.
Yeah. We were supplemented all week.
Supplemented on Saturday.
Yeah.
So is he the only horse that's been supplemented?
33. I think he's the only horse supplemented all week. Yeah.
And here we are looking at a horse that's won as he liked for Ben Pauling, who's run Bartlett Hill in this race.
On 9 lengths he won, didn't he?
Yeah. Ben Pauling, who can win novice hurdles, a reminder out there for you at the Cheltenham Festival. The ill-fated Willoughby Court, of course.
He
beat Neon Wolf, didn't he?
He beat Neon Wolf. I had a big bet on Neon Wolf.
You were not alone that day, my friend.
I was on my knees in the living room when that got beat. Honestly,
it was a hard one. That a horse that if it wins, that I'll just go tear it up and go right. That's it. Someone else needs to present this show. Will be Ask a Honey Bee.
Rejected by Paddy today.
And rejected by me as well. Last chance saloon. It was in that Cobb race. It ran behind Pat's Fancy here in the race that Keith alluded to at the meeting in December.
He's an absolute monkey, isn't he?
He does look it, Barry. Yes.
His last 4 runs, 16-1 on. I think he's traded at 13-2 on. He's traded 2s on, and his last run he traded around a 3-1 against mark, but chinned every time at odds on that he's been matched in running.
We've got favourite games that we like to play. As Millington quite rightly jumped on me, I'm the programme book man. You're the RPR man. That's what I call you. You're the bandwagon man, Enzo. What? And you're definitely the bandwagon man. And Barry likes to tell us about horses that go short in running. And I'll tell you what, you're often right, Barry, aren't you? They don't come up with ones next to their name.
All horses that go short are monkeys, according to Barry. That's the thing.
It's his favourite game. He loves to do it. He gets one in every day. Ask a Honeybee.
Very much takes the no smoke without fire approach, does Barry, with these things.
When the cold hard facts are staring at you on the screen, they don't lie. The fact is, if it becomes a buckle with him and he hits odds on, I'll be laying him.
Look, a lot of horses that trade short are, soft, but not all horses that trade short are soft, is what I'm saying.
He has one Ask a Honeybee, but first time cheap pieces on, we should say that. There'll be someone out there who's probably attached to us. My beloved Ask a Honeybee, but of course, look, he's up until the P. He's brought home money every time he's gone to the track. So
you wouldn't mind owning him.
Well, there's the classic cliche. You're the cliche man now. Of course you are, the top course commentator. A reminder of the tips out there for you. None of us going for Fakira. There is one for Statler. Guess who?
Wins.
you know what Keith said to me this morning?
Ronnie Bartlett wins his own cash.
Ronnie Bartlett wins
yeah,
the
of
Albert
course.
Bartlett. I've got that line written down, ready.
He's already had a winner, of course, with Galvin.
Oh, is he that family, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's him.
What did Keith say this morning when I was coming in? I need to
He
know
said
this.
you love a fav.
Wait a minute, I said nothing of the sort.
You said he likes a fancied runner. You did. It was Nothikoff coming to me.
I think I was just agreeing with you, actually.
Oh, batting it straight back. The betting editor of the Racing Post. There's been a couple of moments this week where I've been done right up, that's for sure. Don't want to be bumping into Ricky Johnson anytime soon, that's for sure. But
New favourite Statler or not?
Oh,
Statler, go favourite.
This would be for the birthday boy, Rob Lee, in the gallery. The guys in the gallery have done a great job all week, actually.
Not been as noisy in the gallery today. They mustn't have backed anything that's been in the running. You can tell when they've got one that's featuring in the
You're
finish.
sitting nearest to it, and sometimes the decibels are very good behaviour today, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you've not heard much. They must have been back in losers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the monkeys running the zoo, we were saying a couple of days here. Yeah, sometimes they forget there's a show on. But no, seamless so far. Seamless so far. Let's keep it that way. They are about to jump off in this year's Albert Bartlett. Will we see a future Gold Cup winner? Bobsworth, of course. Weapons Amnesty. He was an absolute machine, wasn't he? Will we see something for the Stayers Hurdle next year? Good luck wherever you've gone. It's a proper 4-1 the field race, this. Remind you that Adramel, Alaphilippe and 300 through 5 are on my... I've thrown a couple of darts. Alaphilippe, Big Phil all the way.
Yeah, I do like Alaphilippe in this race. He's just
Everyone knows someone called Big Phil, don't they? I've got...
No, I know one Phil, and he's not particularly big.
There's a guy that runs a garage near me, Big Phil, everyone. A Big Phil, do you have... I know you struggle for friends, but do you have a Big Phil? Is there one at Sky?
Big Dave's a big... You get Big Dave.
Everyone knows a Big Dave, right?
Big Dave. Well, everyone does know a Big Dave. Everyone in this room knows a Big Dave.
That's it, absolutely. Okay, great stuff. We're having a great laugh here. We've got the Gold Cup coming in, in about 35 minutes' time. Come on, happy days. What prize?
A horse in Alaphilippe, who's named after one of the most electrifying sports people currently active.
Cyclist, of course.
Yeah, Julian Alaphilippe, the world champion road cyclist. And they call him Big Phil.
Well, it's in the, it's one of these stable names, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, there's someone called Reg, aren't they, when you're like, hang on a minute, where did you get that from? And all that
What was Calto called in its stable again?
I can't remember.
Denman had a funny name.
Probably. Let us know if you know that out there. We can't remember. But off we're about to run, aren't we then, Enns? Who's going to make the running here, Enns?
Adramel's lining up very prominently, Dave.
They are off and running then.
Golo leads.
Ngolo's going to go on though, I think. Yeah, they're racing. The Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle Grade 1 and Ngolo is in front from Vanillier. The two greys are together up front. Torygraph is handy in third place. Towards the inside is Fakira, very handy too with Adramel as they head towards flight number 1. Pat's Fancy up there too.
Oh, Statler was slow.
Oscar Honeybee hit it and...
Barbados Bucks, he's big buck style, isn't he? The way he runs, he sort of comes off the bridle. But up front, Vanillier has a narrow lead now to Pat's Fancy, who jumped beautifully there. Pat's Fancy can jump and landed in front. Ngolo is wide out, the other grey. Then comes Fakira in 4th place. And then comes just in behind the Oscar Elite, that is, isn't it? With the white face I can see. I can see one of the McNeil family horses up there. That's 3 through 5, I think. Yes, noseband.
You can tell him by the head carriage. He's got a very high head carriage.
He has. The other one's right at the back, isn't it? Champagne Super Over in the same ownership. Rejected by Adrian Heskin today. Aidan Coleman rides. Towards the back, also Oscar Honeybee early on. The Cobb is towards the inside. Statler's in about 7th of the race, but hasn't jumped great over the first couple, I thought, Statler.
I think he ballooned the first one, did or second, didn't he?
Yeah. I think you'll be happy with this, though, Barry. My worry about Adramel having had a little bit on him as well was that he might get pested up front. He's now getting quite an easy time, Barry.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of pulled himself to the front there. He's travelling well. They're all travelling well in themselves, really. A few sticky jumps out the back, most notably Sattler, who's now kind of...
gone right up Statler, isn't he now, Barry, on the inside? He's suddenly pushed him up town end.
Very much so, yeah. But 300 through 5's pulling very hard in mid-div. And
well, he's got one of those head carriages.
Marcus lads, 5 each 2, Sattler and Fakira.
He's got a funny head carriage.
He's a horse he's a long-term prospect, but he's showing quirks, and you don't know at this stage whether they're greenness, inexperience, or temperament. So we just need to keep a watching brief on this horse. He does have that high head carriage.
Stop him at Musselbrook last time.
Oh no, he's got a lot of ability.
Okay, we're warming up then. Who's this in front now?
Vanillier just in front to Adramel in 2nd and Ngolo in 3rd. They're racing downhill towards flight number 5 of the 12 they're going to take in this Grade 1 event. Vanillier in front to Adramel. Ngolo is 3rd. Pat's Fancy 4th. Fakira, Handy Statler jumping better now on the inside. Just in behind is Torygraph, who's just got shaken up. That happens in his races.
This is what he does.
300 through 5 is next, then Streets of Doyen, and then the other one who's just in behind them towards the outside is Beat the Bullet, isn't it? The other Rebecca Curtis horse. The Cobb is next. Alaphilippe's towards the back. Also out the back is Champagne Super Over at this stage with Oscar Honeybee, who's been switched off at the rear of the world. And the other one at the back is Streets of Doyen.
Sorry.
Go on.
I thought you were going to say Alaphilippe hit the uphill flight that people are watching, the one before they turn and head downhill, is a bad one to hit, and Alaphilippe did hit it.
You're keeping your eyes firmly on him, and this looks to me like another race, Keith, where they've slightly steadied it, passing the stands for the last time.
You know, Dickie Johnson's led enough races to know what he wants to do in front on Adramel. He knows that if he comes down to a battle, his horse will really put his head down, so he's trying to dictate as much as he can.
Yeah.
He won't do this on Native River if he gets the lead.
A reminder that he's Tom Lacey, and Tom Lacey has had some absolute worldies through his hands when he's, sold for the point-to-points, for example.
Good trainer, Tom Lacey.
Paid a lot of money for this chap. This would be the icing on the cake for the Bamford family, who usually have a couple of boxes, as Matty Batch told us hilariously on Tuesday. All right, then, we're going out onto the far side. They're going to ramp it up at some point, Tony Ennis.
They are. They're heading towards the next flight, number 7. Adramel has a narrow lead. Vanillier is close, has never been far away. Then N'Golo. Statler's crept a bit closer, now goes 4th for PT. Just behind those.
A little, aren't they?
They are, they are. This is what you want to see, though, isn't it? Come on. Fakira, where's he? He's going well, isn't he?
Fakira's about 7th or 8th, blue and green.
Oh, dived to that.
Under 3.5 mistake.
It's going to be hard to come back after that, I think.
Oscar Honeybee's just been niggled along as well at the back. Adramel leading, Vanillier 2nd.
Oscar Honeybee's doing a Mount Ida.
The Cobb's been set quite a lot to do here.
At the back,
yeah, he has. I think that's probably ground, isn't it? He's winged a few, though.
He has indeed. Alaphilippe's still near the back as well.
Fakira's got into about 5th. I think Statler's going all right though. I'm happy with Statler on this
very
stage.
well.
The Cobb just made another mistake there. Then comes Champagne Super over towards the back, Alaphilippe. And the other one is Barbados Bucks, who came off the bridle early. He's got to run in snatches a little bit.
What does your map say where we are? Come on, you've got this real detailed map here. I mean, it's Cheltenham, and you still need a map.
Uphill flight coming here as well, so it's a big one, this.
3 outs, this is going to be, isn't it? This is going to be the 10th of the 12.
Let's watch them jumping, and we'll go to Barry for a final update.
Adramel narrowly. Vanillier's never been far away. Statler creeping closer. Fakira. They're 3rd and 4th, the big guns at the moment.
OK, Barry, tell us about it. We've got 2 more to jump. Long run before we get to it.
Fakira, your favourite now at 3, a little over 2 to 1, 4 to 1 Sattler. It's 10.5 Streets of Doyen, 9-2 Admiral, but clear favourite for Fakira at under 2 to 1 now.
Thank you, Barry Orr. Here come the closers then as we approach the penultimate fight. Tony Ennis.
Yeah, up in trip Fakira, just gets a little shake there. Adrimel's in front, Vanillier 2nd, Statler moving all right with Fakira. They're 3rd and 4th. Streets of Doyen has got a bit closer, beat the bullets wide from N'Golo. Oscar Elite is still there with a chance.
Philippe's not out of this.
He's travelling okay. He's just getting niggled now, just getting ridden.
Likewise, 3 under 3.5. Tory Graph has dropped away a bit on the inside.
There's that flat spot, yeah.
The Cobb looks beat.
Cobb's beat, Oscar Honeybee looks beat, and Pat's Fancy looks beat as well.
Statler's needing a run, isn't he?
Yeah. 2 outs.
Go on, Adramel. What do you find?
Vanillier, Fakira coming there strongly now, the Fancy. Then comes N'Golo.
Adramel, otherwise it's a clean sweep.
Statler's moving into 4th. Vanillier in front, though, still for Gavin Cromwell.
Oscar Elite's in there.
Come on, Paul Townend. Statler's running on now. Come on,
Statler's
PT.
finding. What can he find? But it's Vanillier. We saw someone going, come on, Jonathan Moore. This would be the story that we want. Statler filling his lungs. Oscar Elite. Wow, from nowhere.
Oscar Elite for the Tizzards is coming into it. And also Champagne Super Over staying on as well. Still a few chances, but the leader is clear.
This will be a big double.
Is well clear. Come on, Jonathan Moore. You can do it. Statler's in 3rd place under pressure now. Champagne Super Over's running on really well. Jumps the last, though. The grey's clear. Vanillier. Gavin Cromwell, who's trained champion hurdle winners. I think he's going to train the winner of an Albert Bartlett now.
It really is.
Big run. Oscar Elite in 2nd. Another Irish trained winner. Vanillier is going to win by a street.
We got second. We got a second.
Streets of Doyen, I think, 3rd. Statler 4th. Alaphilippe 5th. 6th.
Oh, hey. 3 under 3.5.
Yep.
Is he 6th, was he?
Yeah. So I got 6 places. What did you get?
I didn't get 6 places.
I think Alaphilippe was 5th, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. Did I get 5th? I can't remember if I got 4 or 5.
Unbelievable stakes. A long way out. You would have known your fate there. It said, obviously, of course, in the Racing Post card that it was Mark Walsh, but we think it was Jonathan. I just all of a sudden I had a horrible moment there. I was like, I'm looking down, and one of us hasn't updated quickly enough. I've got a feeling that, please let that be. It says Mark Walsh on the. Did Jonathan not take his rise today?
It looks like he didn't. It's Mark Walsh.
Man.
It's, would you not be surprised?
Sorry.
Go on, Barry.
Go on, Barry.
If he wasn't able to ride in a Grade 1 yesterday, he was able to ride today.
He was due to come back today. He was due to come back today. So looks like Mark Walsh was in the plate there. Oh man, I was getting ready to. Well, the headlines would have been written.
Yeah, it's Mark, isn't it?
It is Mark.
Jonathan Moore must be absolutely gutted.
2 rides, he would have been. Oh man.
Cheltenham winners to miss.
Unbelievable scenes. Okay.
14 to 1.
Mark Walsh, what an armchair ride it was at the home straight for him. Where did that come from, Keith Melrose?
Yeah, it was a race where I think the front 2, him and Adramel, they weren't really hassled. There was a bit of a pact up front, wasn't there? They got to do what they liked, more or less. That's not accounted for the margin of victory because he smashed them, really. but it did mean he got the run of the race. And he's won it very easily.
He has, hasn't he? It was a little bit non-eventful up there. I was looking for some of the big horses. I think what we've seen there is some big staying novices that had not encountered good ground all year, and they've just been caught for tactical speed. Oscar Elite for
the tactical race. Alaphilippe's ended up on the near side.
How's
ended
he
up
got
on the
fifth?
far side. It's because he stayed on really well.
He's a million at last, wasn't he, to get fifth?
Oh yeah, there's still. Is he 10th there?
Tory Graph ploughing on. Adramel didn't quite get home. He's now looking like a horse for intermediate chases, I think, next year. Statler hasn't quite got home.
No, 2.6 Statler. I think he wants 2.5, 2.6, isn't he?
2.5, 2.6. So we might be looking at handicap.
Thank you, been running action anyway.
Oh, look at Statler. He is.
Go on, Barry. Tell us about the story of the race.
Kira went short, didn't she?
Oscar Elite hit a low of evens in running. Fakira hit a low at 2.06, just over even money.
When was
Sattler
Fakira ever evens?
2.38. Admiral hit a low of 7, and Golo hit a low of 5. The winner had a BSP of 22.
Wow, okay, and out there, a reminder for you, we love the viewer interaction out there. Soulful Music is dancing to the tune of Vanillier, as is Alan Waltham out there. Happy days for you guys. You've got the winner of the Albert.
That's for Gavin
Bartlett.
Cromwell, wasn't it? Because he had the Champion Hurdle win a couple of years ago.
Is this Flooring Porter next year?
Well,
has he got 2 staying hurdlers now?
Yeah, well, that might make the decision for this horse going chasing, mightn't it?
He's looking at the side of him coming up there. He's not tiny, is he? He's a bit of a unit, I think.
With Gavin Cromwell, I think Espoir Delaine would probably have won another Champion Hurdle, I think.
I reckon there's a future national winner in there. I'll tell you what, Tory Graph's caught my eye there a little bit. I don't think he liked the track whatsoever, and he's a horse that comes off the bridle.
3 under 3.5 ran a strange race, and he made a mistake.
Tory Graph is just that's your IDO winner. There you go, Keith Melrose.
Wow,
I've put it out there.
We'll see about the Eider. You can't peg Eider. You can't peg Eider horses at this stage, can you?
It's a game I love to play. Get the program book out.
Book
Streets of Doyens ran well out. A lot of you went for that one as well.
Champagne Super Over ran well, I thought.
Yes, he travelled for a long way.
He was ridden totally cold, wasn't he, out the back?
I like him.
He's picked up a few as well. What do you reckon the form of that race will work out to be? Fakira didn't get home. Okay, Rachel Blackmore hasn't ridden a winner. Shock horror in 2 races.
The Irish winner, though, isn't it? What's the score now then?
What is it now?
That makes it 20 to 4.
23.
20 to 4. Wow. 20 to 4. 20 to 4. Some punters will be thinking, please, can I get to 20 to 4, please?
20 winners, yeah. 20 winners Ireland, 4 winners UK.
Yeah, okay. Wow, unbelievable scenes then. We've had 3 races down. Myself, Dave Orton, Tony Ennis, Keith Melrose, and Barry Orr from Betfair, the big hitter himself. We are ramping up. Why? Because is it the race of the week? I think we can probably say it is. The Gold Cup comes up in an hour's time. We will be debriefing on who the new champion is. Will it be a new champion, though? Because I think this was always going to happen, Barry Orr. Let's get the market up. Al Boom, he's going for immortality for the 3, a really exclusive club. The market expects him to do it.
Yeah, he's very strong at the head of the market, it has to be said, Dave. He's currently 11 to 4, 3.65, 4.7 Absolute Hard, 7.6 Champ, 11 MINELLA Indo, 14 Native River, and Santini 15. It's 18 Royal Pagai, 20 Kemboy. It's just chalk and block of quality this year, isn't it? Froden is 22 as well. It's 50 bar. The 3 rags seem to be lost in translation. Black Ops and ASO. What I'm going to do though here, I'm going to lay the top 3 in the market for a result here. I'm on MINELLA Indo myself. I think Native River will go well from the front. That's probably the best piece of chasing form this year. Santini, I think, with the application of the advisor will give him improve him. I think Royal Pagai's not without a chance just because he hasn't gone on the ground yet. They seem to be dismissing him. Kemboy's in there with a chance, and Froden has a chance. So I'm going to lay the top 3 in the market, and it's working out about 6 to 4 on again. What I'm going to do, though, Keith, please, I'm going to take 100 quid out of Album Photo at 3.75, 11 to 4. Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to look to take 75 quid out of Aplatard at 75 quid out of him. Yeah, and I'm going to look to take 40 quid or 50 quid out of Champ at 7.6.
There you go. The liabilities in each are all about the same.
The liabilities on each will be roughly around the same, a little over about 120 quid around that mark for them. So
all matched.
Yeah, and so basically what we're doing, we're Dutch laying those 3 at the head of the market at about the 6 to 4. 165 Champ is a loser 4. They're all in and around the same. a loser, the album photo, Applutard and Champ, and the rest of the field are winning us 2-2-5.
Do you know what? It has been difficult. What Barry did there, I've been doing in feature shows, I've been doing in interviews. You got album photo and you got Applutard, and it is difficult to remember which is which. We must, of course, start ramping it up now then for the Gold Cup. Barry Orr, he got Chacun pour soi right, didn't he? Vomit up the hill, he said he would. He's taking on the first three in the market in the Gold Cup. Is he mad, or will there be a result? I'll tell you what, if you're a Paul Nicholls, 6.9 on the going chase for Frodon, you couldn't have wished for anything better, Keith, could you?
No, that he couldn't have picked, in terms of the Gold Cup, he couldn't have picked the conditions better, I don't think. I noticed in the Albert Bartlett watching the replay, they're kicking up a bit more than I was expecting, actually.
That's what I was meant to you, but I saw it in the county. That's what I'm saying. It's a remarkable job they've done.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it the wet winter? We're sort of guessing a bit, aren't we? But
we are guessing, let's be honest.
We need Simon Clace to come out and tell us, don't we? Let's get someone down. Maybe that would be a job for James Stevens, who we're hoping to speak to after the Gold Cup. James has been brilliant coming on from the show this week. We had Lee Motterson telling us about the occasion, and all, of course, about Rachel Blackmore coming to the rescue for the sport this year. But we will be getting James Stevens on to give us all the quotes for these Gold Cup runners afterwards. Here's something else as well I'd like to see in the very big races. Again, I'm got my Aussie hat on here. But when you're a jockey in Aussie, it's part of your contract that when you come in, you have to have a line about all the horses. Yeah. It's one of the most interesting things.
Great,
if the horse is falling out the back, you don't have to wait, for a quote at 6 p.m. or whatever.
Even Ryan Moore was doing it, wasn't he?
Even Ryan Moore has to do it. But he used to. So when he's down under, he's not going to stop him.
He was talking loads.
Absolutely, he's paid by the word down there, I think. But I'd love to see it on the Gold Cup. Mickey Fitz tried it, didn't he, a couple of times? He stood there with a mic and. I don't know, you've been with Fitz.
Gold Cup and Grand National would be good, wouldn't it?
I think so. I think so. A word on your horse. Didn't go on the ground, or I was unlucky, or he's a machine for 2 miles, or something like that. The Aussies are pros at it, but it just lights up and gives a bit more interest.
I like it. It's a good idea.
But we want to talk about it. So Frodon, I don't know, come on, get your selections in. Get your selections. Can Native River lie up with Frodon?
King George fell apart, didn't it, this year? It was a terrible King George, wasn't it, this year?
I watched waiting patiently, staying on for a second, having been given lots to do, and think, is that really a race on which I'm going to back off?
You're saying that Frodon is a terrible King George.
It's almost in that garbage kind of area, isn't it? The form.
I don't like it when you say garbage because you've been proved right.
I was proved right with Metier. It's heading towards that kind of the form of the King George this year. I thought was abysmal. And
I mean, even
Frodon.
Form aside, it was just
saying that.
Form aside, it was just a race that Bryony Frost nicked off the front. She got to do what she wanted. The horse jumped extremely well. She controlled it.
Surname didn't run his race, did he?
No.
Flanders Oboe didn't seem to be on his A game either.
Did he?
No, waiting patiently, and who was it? St Calvados that went. Who didn't get home. But listen, what Frodon does, and I know loads of you out there love him. We all love him. He's a brilliant, brilliant horse. Of course, let's get some socials up. Is it with Frodon? Nigel says, Champ, the dark horse. Barry's laying him. Let's get to Champ in just a second for Nigel. What else we got coming on? On the screen, Mark Smith, good to have you back, Mark, along with Nigel, says, I can see Frodon running well. Not sure he'll win, but 4 places looks a good each-way shot to me.
That's the way to play Frodon if you're doing it. Let's
go back to Barry then. How many places have we got on the place market here, Barry?
On the place market, there's a host of them, Dave. There's the 2 places. There's the standard 3 places. You have 4, 5, 4 and 5 also. You have a couple of A versus B markets as well here.
And for Mark Smith, Barry, if you were playing Frodon, which way would you be going?
If I was backing Frodon, I'd be looking to back him maybe before the race and look to lay him back in running. I think he'll trade shorter, currently 22. Now, a lot of people say that's factored into his price, but if he gets an uncontested lead, if Native River's not able to lie up with him, well, then he automatically come in price, and as the race progresses, if he's still there.
Yeah, I can see him shortening up. Definitely, that's a good shout.
Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. So Frodon, we've done it there. For me personally, Ken Boy would be the worry. This is a horse that has, of course, just been nutted by Applutard, is my selection for the race. We get that up on the screen now. Let's go through the tips. Barry taking on the first 3. I've pretty much napped Applutard when I was doing the Cheltenham preview, that lovely booklet that went out a couple of weeks ago. I did all the chases, and this was my idea of the winner.
Stay, Applutard?
Yeah, I think it's all about staying. If you've not been listening to me, man, over the last couple of weeks.
I just don't see why he gets 3, 2.5. 3, 2.5 is a lot different from 3. Very. How many horses have not got... Flanders Oboe never got the 3, 2.5. Jacadam didn't quite get it, did he? A lot of horses didn't quite
You've
get
got
the
him
3,
wrong.
2.5.
You've got him
You
wrong.
think he's a strong stayer?
Look at him in the Savills. He's only getting going at the line. Look at him in the Ryanair
ball games,
last
3,
year.
2.5.
He's only getting going.
Well, they did cut their throats a little bit in the Savills, didn't they? They went a bit hard.
Yeah, 2.5 Ryan. He won't stay at Plutard.
I want to bring you back in here, Barry. You did lay him that day, Barry, didn't you? Because you weren't sure he'd get home. And for most of the race, you must have thought you were in the bag.
Yeah, I did. And I was always looking back to his run. Obviously, he won that race in Cheltenham doing handsprings over 2.5 miles. And then they ran him in the Irish Champion Novice over 3 mile in Punchestown, and he finished third. I didn't think he got home that day. But then, a lot of people reckon that it was just maybe he had a hard race at Cheltenham. And it just showed on him that day in Punchestown. But I was willing to take him on over the 3 miles in Leopardstown at Christmas. And again, I'm taking him on here. I'm not sure he's a certain
Won't get up the hill, Barry. You're right. Won't get up the hill.
Yeah.
Will not get up the hill.
At the price,
no chance.
The price be different now. He was an 8 or 10 to 1 chance. But at the current price, at 7 to 2, I'm getting shorter all the time.
Oh, he's a lay, isn't he? 4.8 is a lay, definitely.
Right, let me make myself feel better about this race because your tip's about to come on the screen. let's all get the feel-good factor here because you will remember after he won. Was it after he won at Kempton or was it the Peter Marsh?
It was the Peter Marsh.
You were getting excited about him for the Gold Cup before the Peter Marsh. It is Royal Pagaille, of course.
As the Kempton,
Enzo's tip.
People crabbed the Kempton form, says, he beat Captain Nord, and they were saying it was rubbish form.
Shall we have a reminder of exactly what you said? We're not going to get the clip up. Don't worry. We're not going to get the clip up. But what did you say? And I will tell everyone about the message you sent me this morning. This is why I love you, man. But come on, let's have it.
I did say I didn't think anything would get Royal Pagaille off the bridle in the Gold Cup.
No. It won't come off the bridle. Utter confidence the man had.
18 to 1 chance.
And this morning you said should be 11 to 8. Now, of course, you're winding me up a little bit, but
He says it was a wind up. I was serious. No, I would be so confident on soft ground.
Yeah,
I would be so confident.
Why didn't they go on the Tuesday then for the National Hunt Chase?
Because
it's just great. That
Nobody remembers a National Hunt Chase winner, do they? Really? If Rich Ritchie, what's the one race that Rich Ritchie hasn't won at Cheltenham?
Gold Cup, isn't it?
He's gone close with Jacadam numerous times, but he wants to win it, and he's got Monkfish maybe for next year. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. This is the now time, isn't it? If Royal Pagaille's going to win, it's now.
That's why I thought they would go for it this year because next year Monkfish is a Gold Cup horse.
He's not a novice though, really, is he? There was a nice piece that we did about this.
Bit of a plastic novice, isn't he?
Well, he's third season novice. We remember
his form was terrible.
We mentioned at Fisher's Cross, who became a slightly fashionable for a little while for second season novices. A few of them have since won. But this chap is actually a third season novice, Keith.
Yeah, he's had more runs over fences than Plutard. 2 years ago, he was a novice at this.
That's remarkable, isn't it?
So, yeah, he's had. Yeah.
Was it Lewis Porteous that did a piece saying, don't think it should be this? We have to look at this. There should be a cut-off or something. Lewis said, didn't he? One of the Graham's great thinkers,
Yeah, and I can see it because the novice. What is novice status for is a question we ought to ask. And this horse has had 11 runs over fences and still qualifies as a novice.
I think it's harsh personally because if you've not won over them, I do think it's a little bit harsh. But I can see it. I can certainly.
There's other things I would do with the novice program before I would curtail its status to be a novice horse. Things about novice handicaps and going straight in with your hurdles mark for one. I wouldn't allow that. But yeah, I think there are bigger fish to fry, but I wouldn't necessarily disagree with the proposal.
Okay, so he is an extremely experienced horse. Never been round Cheltenham. We don't know about him at the ground. Paul Keeley is close to Richie Camp. Joe Chambers, of course, the assistant, and Paul are good mates. And we said to Paul pre-Peter Marsh, will this go on the ground? Paul got hold of Joe and they got to the breeder and he said, don't worry about that. He's related to some tractors. So how will he act on the better ground? That's Royal Pagaille. Enzo says, oui, ce n'est pas problème. Plutard, my man, Keith as well, still confident?
Yeah, it's my selection in the Gold Cup. I have that Native River each way anti-post. I was expecting a little bit softer ground, but he's still going to try his heart out, and he's a runner for that regard. But Plutard is the selection. The stamina is something that's unproven, but we've seen this week. It's not a soft ground Gold Cup. It's going to be a fairly lively ground Gold Cup. I can very much see 5 or 6 turning in still with a strong chance 2 out, and if Plutard's one of them, he'll win because he's the fastest horse.
There we are.
And it's quite bold this week of all weeks, I think, as well, to suggest that a Henry de Bromhead horse won't get up the hill because they've gone like the hill isn't there.
It's madness.
They've been finding like that hill is not there.
And this horse has not proven at the trip. I'm not having it.
You're the wagon man, and it's surprising. I mean, if anyone is going to, go for it. It's at this moment I'd like to give a shout out to someone who's not with us, actually. We've got a producer in the studio called Dan Walsh. It's been a tough year for him, and he's having a tough time. He's not with us this year, but we know he's watching this week. He's not part of the team. He's not lost his sense of humour whatsoever because he's going for Frodon in the Gold Cup, Dan. So if you're out there and watching, our thoughts are with you. You'll be back soon, hopefully, with us. It's been a tough old time for Dan out there, and a real sort of reminder that there are bigger things that play here. And thank goodness this festival is still on.
Absolutely.
He also said to me that of course A Plus Tard can win, Dave, because Rachel de Bromhead, I've done it again. Rachel Blackmore.
They're not married.
They're not married. I've started something here. Rachel Blackmore could get Houblon de Zobo over the line, he said to me as well.
Yeah,
so
that was quite a nice line,
which is a lovely line.
No, and Dan's one of the good guys, so wishing him all the best.
Yes, absolutely. You'll be back with us for Aintree, please. Lord, Dan, absolutely good stuff. And Frodon was his outsider of the race. And I don't know, is there any more love for Frodon since we've been talking, Barry?
Frodon steady away at 21, not massive amount of money for him. No, the favourite, and it's such a mature market, Dave, that you wouldn't expect to see any massive swings now at this stage. 3.7 album photo, A Plus Tard 4.8, 7.4 Champ, 11 MINELLA Indo, 14 Native River, Santini 16.5. He's probably a bit loveless in the market, Santini.
Okay, before we get to Santini, because I want to talk about him, of course, let's get some more social selections on the screen. Bobby Kimber comes back on. Great to have you back on, Bob. And he says, A Plus Tard will be ridden like Sizing John and Sprint Away. Yes.
If it's a Sizing John Gold Cup, he's won it.
Well, exactly. This is it, isn't it? But like I say, watch back. Again, I'll say this every show. You've got time. Do it in your members section. Get on your replays. Trust your eyes. It's just all at the end. We've done it again. He looks like he will stay further. I don't have any problems about the trip with him whatsoever. So he's a big play for me in this. I'm with you, Bob. Okay, who else we got? Dean Gritton comes onto the show and says, lost in translation for a place. Well, you'd have been happy to see Oscar Elite fill second for the Brits and Team Colin Tizard as well.
We'll talk about the sensible way to play Frodon, for instance. Place is not how I would play Lost in Translation. This horse wins on it.
He looked like he was going to win it last year when he came in with a pin next to his name.
That's what's remarkable about it, and it's why I don't fancy him, because he shaped like the best horse in last year's Gold Cup. And people said, there was a bit more promise in the Newbury run. Was there?
I don't think there was. He looked like a horse that still had a problem to me.
I agree. Yeah. And, maybe the second time wind up is your thing.
It was in the Denman Chase, wasn't it?
It was in the Denman Chase. So, the horse that looked the best horse in the Gold Cup last year should have stayed in the bridle longer than he did. I love this horse. I thought I backed him quite heavily last year's Gold Cup.
Were you with him as a novice, etc.? Against Deffy and all that.
When he won his maiden hurdle at the Hennessy meeting, I said that is a 3-mile chaser, and always waited for him to go over 3 miles. And yeah, I backed him when he won that Betfair chase. I backed him for the Gold Cup. I went in again when he drifted out to 10s. I'm a big fan of the horse. I don't think he's a horse he was. Maybe next season he'll come back, but if I was playing him, and it would be win only. It's 55, I think, on the machine, and you'd do it that way.
And it's a nice segue now to Santini, of course, because then you've kind of got to believe, if you're backing Santini like Paul Keeley is, you'll be happy to see the change of headgear. But again, some people say he's unlucky not to win the Gold Cup last year. So we get horses in the Gold Cup every year that turn up, like the Giant Bolster. Do you remember the great Giant Bolster?
We mentioned.
Jacadam as well, but the Giant Bolster, who you probably wouldn't have as to being the most talented horse in the race, but because of the way the race is run and because of the searching test, they come alive in it every year. And Santini has to be one of those if you fancy him. But my problem with Santini is, what's going on between the ears there, man? And he arguably should have won an RSA as well, shouldn't he? So how many excuses can you give him? I said to Keeley this morning, do you remember when we were chatting about it, this is the most depressing top-level horse to follow. It must be so sad.
Yeah, he must be infuriating to follow. He is a little bit one-paced. Keeley made his case very clearly. He said that this thing to finish in the first 4 is the same price as Album Photo to win, and he knows what he'd rather be backing. Santini's got a great record at Cheltenham.
Championship races, there
is something to like there.
He didn't win an Albert Bartlett though when he was supposed to,
And that's right. And I took Paul's point. I said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'm not backing him, but yeah, fine. That's a legit point of view. Bash on. I've got a question for you though, right?
Go on. Okay.
We can't bet, right? We can't bet. There's no money. You've not placed any bets. You've not had any. What do you want to win?
Album Photo.
You want Album Photo to win?
Yes. For the immortality.
Native River. Great story.
He's got it right.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
He's correct.
Why you don't want to get any quiz with him.
The year the Tizzards have had.
Even if I was on his team, he'd be marking me down.
And would Richard Johnson, here's another thing, if he won, would Richard Johnson hang up his boots there and then today?
I don't think that's Dickie's style. I don't know him, but he's not... it's
Ricky might, but Dickie probably
Ricky might.
I think I've got a feeling he's going to do that, Richard Johnson. He's suddenly going to win a big race. And
Do you think that's how he'll do it? I think he's...
I don't think he won't want the McCoy song and dance. I'm doing it in a few months' time. Like
if the jocks were here, they probably would be disagreeing with that. I think they've been laying. There's been a couple of times, haven't there?
Would he want the road show of like I'm retiring in 3 months? It's my last time at Hereford.
I don't think. He'll just
want that. I think he'd probably just go. To be honest,
he won't announce. He won't do it. I
He'll
think
do a Noel Fahey, you think?
Yeah, I think
he'll have his last ride.
This is it.
And that'll be
Native
it.
River. It's going to happen.
You love these, don't you? I can see you're getting perked up by this. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Love this. If Native River win, I love this horse because he's such an.
Everyone would.
That year when he beat Mike Bite, what a Gold Cup! What a battle that was.
So he's got to be Corto, and he's got to be a combination of Corto and Mandarin. The last 11-year-old to win.
He
is Mandarin.
He is Mandarin.
He's that old school chaser. He's a slab of a horse, and you see. A lot of horses that are as slow as him, let's be honest, he's slow. And a lot of them, it's because they're lazy. But the way he jumps fences, he attacks fences, he loves jumping fences. You can't think it's laziness with him because...
It's always been the way, though, has it? Because when he got beaten in the National Hunt Chase, he literally took them all with him, didn't he? And still finished.
Since they started riding him prominently, since they've put him out in front a lot of the time, he's really attacked.
Many Clouds was a great example of why, when their fences are not there, he's not going to shine.
I've not mentioned this yet because I feel like I mention it every time I'm asked about the Gold Cup, but I think that's a key bit of form.
You do.
In terms of how this race is going to be ridden. He basically got the lead off Frodon that day, and he would have won if there were fences to jump in the straight Native River, I'm sure of it. Yeah. And the way he attacked those fences are potentially even bigger and scarier than Cheltenham's fences, the Mildmay fences at Aintree. So to jump like he did there, Frodon didn't particularly like being taken on, and if Native River can get past him, Bryony Frost might get the lead and has got a faster horse in Frodon. But if she lets up at any point, Dickie Johnson's going to go, you're doing what now? Bang. And going and kicking on and making and pinging them out in front. So it's going to be a really good tactical battle. Bryony Frost is probably thinking she cannot let up for a second.
There were some really interesting market moves or lack of them going on, actually, as album photo we can come and see, and his defence of a third Gold Cup comes out onto the track looking an absolute picture. There you go, there's a line for you. Champ seems to be holding his prize to me, Barry. Is this the name? Is this the Hendo thing? Is this the McManus thing? He's got a big following, Champ, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's 7.2 now, so he's come in from 7.8, but the favourite very strong at the head of the market now into 5-2 from 11-4, 3.55. Absolute Third is 5.0, steady at that. We laid him at 4.8, 12.5 MINELLA INDO. That's on a bit of a slide, was 10. That's gone out 2.5 ticks. Native River 15, 14.5 Santini, some money for that. Frodon on the slide as well at 24.
If there's any sort of horse moving at this late stage, because it's sort of all been said and done with the Gold Cup, but Champ is a horse that maybe can live in his nerves a little bit sometimes.
What are we expecting from Champ? Because of course we've got.
What are we expecting from Champ?
What are you expecting? Oh right, okay. Well, because in
the wheel
in the game spirit, the Betfair game spirit, which was given a good
Thank
advert.
You, Dave.
No worries, Barry. That's the right.
Did you rescind the bad name on it in the end?
Oh, don't. We've done this earlier in the week.
Not a bad name. It's a long name.
The best advertising the free bot Pilder could have got. There you go. Got it just about right there. But I can't even say Rachel Blackmore, but I can say that quickly. But we got the 1-2, haven't we, from last year's RSA? Obviously, Champ when he came from absolutely nowhere and picked up MINELLA INDO.
Yeah. Well,
is that a case of MINELLA INDO not getting home? I know he's won an Albert Bartlett, but I'm worried more about him than Aplutard. I am.
He went too hard, him and Allaho. Yeah, and what we were saying this morning, I said to you, is people are sort of maybe latching on to Champ because of what Allaho did yesterday. Later.
Sure.
But I don't think the impressive thing is that Champ reeled in Allaho. The impressive thing is that MINELLA INDO could lay up with him because Allaho can burn him off over 2 mile 5, evidently, because he did it yesterday. So to be able to go toe-to-toe with Allaho was actually quite impressive from MINELLA INDO.
I like the booking as well of Jack Kennedy on MINELLA INDO.
One other jockey story to this as well. We've talked about stories. About Charlie Deutsch 3 years ago.
Here we go.
He was inside. He was in prison.
Who's he riding in?
Cheltenham, and now he's riding Royal Pagaille. That's another story, though, isn't it? 3 years from being inside.
Have you ever seen him in the flesh, Charlie Dodge?
Yeah,
He's the most unassuming chap. You look. You know, he looks a bit like your old science teacher already, or something. You know what I mean? He already looks like a future trainer.
He's still 19 to me because I still remember him as a fight. He was stables jockey at Venetia's when he was.
I still don't really know how that happened, but of course he wasn't on Royal Pagaille. Of course,
Tom Scudamore,
the man, the go-to man.
He's on Black Op this time.
Who's on?
Tom George.
Is Black Op even in this race? That's amazing.
Rag of the field.
Yeah, Black Op and Aso are the two rags. They're the two.
Poor old Aso.
They're probably the two that can't win, really.
Oh, the curse.
Because I got it in the office sweep. I got Black Ops in the office sweep.
Oh, right. That's great to hear that still office sweeps are happening, isn't it?
Or the Gold Cup as well.
Well, hey, Rob Lee and you boys in the gallery. Where was the office sweep? I know it's your birthday, man, but it's probably scoffing on cake, isn't
I
he?
do work for a betting firm, lad, so
well, fair
not
enough.
unusual.
Fair enough. Who seemingly knows how to use Zoom. Yeah, okay. Ken Boy, a much bigger price than I was expecting. Lack of Cheltenham record, I guess, but he's got his ground. Frodon, definitely bigger than I was expecting. This is what I was expecting to happen with Album Photo, though, without a doubt.
Money from you. I thought you got about 9 to 4.
When was the last time that the favourite didn't harden late in the Gold Cup? It tends to be the thing, doesn't it?
Who is going to favour most from a pace burn-up? Probably the top three in the market to me.
Pace burn-up.
It's got to be Album.
Well,
you know he sits in midfield.
Maybe say Santini, possibly. You know, there's a case for
Champ,
that.
potentially, settle and then pick up the pieces. Surely
He's at 8-6 now, Champ.
Okay, surely they're going to hold him up a bit more, aren't they? And Applutard, although a horse that has liked to get on with it in the past, I think he'd be brave to be.
I don't know how. Is she going to ride him cold, or is she just going to sit in
Track
midfield?
MINELLA INDO, that's where Stablemate.
Just sit in midfield, get a look at the fences.
It is the 2021 Gold Cup coming up any minute now. This is your moment.
Royal Pagaille.
Let's face it, they're never going to have you on track doing it. So
I've accepted that a long time ago.
That was a little bit harsh for me. But this is your place to shine.
I know, it's just a little dig there from Dave Orton, but Barry disagrees.
That was low, Dave.
Really low.
Oh, well, listen, honestly, he's been getting me back all the time.
That'll be on ITV next year, definitely.
Here we go then. It's the war for the 2021 Gold Cup, Enzo.
Frodon's up there. Kenboy's up there. Native River just chivied along into the
He
bridle.
can't go to pace at all, Native River.
Black Ops up there.
This has happened before with Native River.
First fence of 22 in the Gold Cup. Frodon lands ahead from MINELLA INDO, jumped. Champ, a mistake.
Oh, Album didn't jump it great either, no.
That was a good sit on Champ. I thought he was going to come off for a minute. Native River's in fourth, ahead of Black Op, fifth, Santini in the headgear. Got to get used to seeing that. Then comes Album Photo.
Look who's leading, guys.
That was the plan. You were literally told, weren't you, by the trainer that was the plan.
This will lead, no matter what.
Royal Pagaille's out the back. You got a shake of the reins there.
Yeah, he's not enjoying life, is he? Royal Pagaille. Very early days. Kenboy and Frodon getting on with it, though, from Black Op in third. MINELLA INDO in fourth. Native River, the former winner, is back in fifth place. Then comes Santini, who's wide. They're followed by Lost in Translation. He ran well in this last year. Album Photo, the dual winner, is next. Can he do a best mate? They're followed by Aso, one of the rags. Applutard settled towards the back by Rachel. And then comes Champ.
Oh, Kenboy took a chance.
Royal Pagaille didn't jump that at all. He's just not
Album Photo wasn't brilliant either.
He's off the bridle.
Two of them are struggling.
Champ got a slap down the shoulder there.
Champ not travelling. Royal Pagaille not travelling.
Royal Pagaille needs to be Mount Ida.
25 of the run. Right, jump in that one. Oh, sticky there.
Another one from Album Photo.
Is Champ going well?
I tell you what, Barry's Lay's looking. He's only got Applutard running for him the way those two are jumping up. Album Photo and Champ.
All right, he's not too bad.
Frodon stood off that one again.
Oh, Jamie.
Oh, Champ's almost gone through the side of the fence there.
Champ's forgotten that he's been at Hen Nights, hasn't he?
Shocker so far.
What to expect from Champ is a question. It's a real hospital
Frodon
pass.
taking off outside the wing again. He loves it. Oh, Champ's absolutely gone at the game. Went through that as well. Royal Pagaille didn't jump it very well either. Santini's wide. Native River chased on. MINELLA INDO's going well, isn't he, in fourth? He's travelled nicely so far. Yeah. Album Photo, is he
pulling up, Champ? Champ's pulling up.
Yep. PU, Champ.
Oh, let's hope he's okay. Let's hope he's okay.
Yeah, that was...
Oh,
Santini!
That was nearly gone.
Nikki Henderson's had a bad 30 seconds there, isn't it?
Aidan Coleman, of course.
Nikki Henderson's having a nightmare. Santini blundered, Champ pulled up.
Drama already. We've jumped 6 fences. Drama already.
Frodon leading at the next fence at the top of the hill.
I don't think Album Photo's jumping very well.
I said in the Gold Cup analysis, it's one of his weaknesses. He's not the best jumper.
Wow.
He's hardened in the market, Barry, isn't he? Album Photo.
Because Champ's out.
294.
Barry.
2.86 now, 4.3 Applutard, Champ's gone, 5.5 MINELLA INDO.
Royal Pagaille's not enjoying it.
Frodon now 12.
Keith Melrose, at what point does Paul Nicholls start getting excited?
Probably about circuit's time, I'd have thought. But no, you're probably excited now. They're coming down the hill. This will be the
typically dour Keith comment.
This is going to be fence number 9. This is, isn't it?
Is that your map telling you
down
that?
the run. Frodon from Black Hop, Kemboy, Minella Indo, Native River.
Plutard's warming up, I think.
Plutard's
giving them a lot. They're giving them a big start. Everything from behind Album Photo was giving this lot a big
we
start.
knew that Plutard was going to be settled in roughly this position.
Yeah, it looks like Rachel Blackmore's tracking.
Can we say that Native River's going to struggle to get anywhere near the top 4 at the minute?
He's
basically been ridden all the way around. This is the hardest ride of Dickie Johnson's career.
Yeah. Okay.
Frodon by 2, then into the straight, then they go towards fence number 11.
Last fence, first time round.
Here we go. Over it. Oh, Black Ops sticky in that one. Album Photo. Then lost in translation, a slight mistake.
He's made a couple of those.
I'm loving the shape of Plutard. I'm loving it.
He's travelling. He's got a nice little rhythm here.
Yeah, Plutard's going really well, I must confess.
Yep.
Santini, are they going to persist with him for much longer? He's not enjoying life.
The curse, nearly the curse on Plutard. He put in the short.
It was a real fiddly jump, but they're at a steady pace in the race. You know, if you want to make a mistake, do it when they're going slowly, which they are just now.
They're climbing now, Keith, towards the 13th, which is the first over on the far side of the line coming up.
Black Ops running the race of his life, isn't he?
Well, it's halfway. Santini's being pulled up.
They've had enough of Santini.
Another P. Both Nikki Henderson's runners.
Nikki Henderson, unbelievable. Frodon leading, Kemboy. Black Op, Minella Indo, Native River. Album Photo still going all right despite the jumping blemishes.
Royal Pagaille getting into it.
Royal Pagaille.
Come on, the Pagaille. Here he comes. He's switching out wide for a bit.
Keeley put this up, of course, as well. A massive prize.
ASO's next. Lost in translation. Left his hind leg.
This is where Dickie's saying, right, come on, Native. We've got to have a sniff of the front here.
Few going well in behind. Plutard, one of those. It's still Frodon leading from Black Op. Kemboy, Minella Indo still there. Native River, Album Photo. Plutard lost in translation. ASO and Royal Pagaille is very much back in the hunt. He's going wide, but he seems to be jumping better since he switched him out wide, Charlie Deutsch.
I think you might be right there. Absolutely. He's getting a right sight, isn't he?
Just as he said
fiddle. Once remember Ruby Walsh and Tony McCoy saying this is the biggest, most fluent rhythm race we have out there. You've got to jump fluently. Plutard nearly went through the top of it, but he's still on the bridle. They're all having a go. The only one who's jumping perfectly is Frodon.
Yeah, because he's got out in front. Native River's not been able to lay up. He really has had the perfect ride through.
Album Photo's moving into it, isn't he? Menacingly, like a shadow.
He made another mistake there.
They're upside the two market leaders. Where are we, Tony Ennis? In the Gold Cup.
This is a big fence coming here.
Yeah, this is the big fence at the top of the hill. This is a big jumping test. Frodon leading to Minella Indo, who's still bang there in second. Then Plutard. Black Op is still there somehow.
Royal not gone very hard.
Lost in translation, made a slight mistake too.
Brave Native River, isn't he? Brave.
Minella Indo's going well, isn't he, all of a sudden?
Really, really well. Here's when the camera pans out here. Big ditch at the top of the hill.
Album Photo into about 4th place. They're still side by side. Plutard, Album Photo over that fence. ASO hit that.
Album Photo jumps
right to go, Enzo.
She's desperate, Rachel, not to play his hand too soon.
Album Photo jumps right.
Oh, tight there. Black Op took a ground of Rachel Blackmore.
3 to jump, Barry, I believe, in the goal.
Here we go. She's pulling him wide. This is where it's a play for. Frodon,
1 of 4.
Jack wouldn't want to get there too early on Manila. They did it last year and got mugged.
Plutard's going to have to find a bit.
Album Photo travels best of all.
Classy horses coming to the fore.
Minella Indo's coming with
Come on, Plutard. Come on, Rachel. On the bridle.
6-4 on.
Frodon's gone. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 for Ireland.
Plutard is going.
Minella Indo's not going away.
Not out of it
Come on, Plutard. You're the stayer. Come on, my old son.
It's a 1-2 for Henry de Bromhead.
Looks like it's going to be Jack Kennedy at this point.
De Bromhead's going to do it regardless, lads.
Come on, then. Let's
come on, Rachel.
Looks like it's come on, Plutard. Can he possibly do it?
Come on, Rachel.
Minella Indo's in front.
Henry de Bromhead 1-2. What can he
Come on,
find?
Rachel.
Come on, Rachel. Got it in straight line. Put it short. Up the hill they go.
The hill. Minella Indo's clear.
Minella Indo's one.
To Henry de Bromhead.
Come on, Plutard.
Plutard second.
Photo
third. Can he come again?
Come on, Plutard.
Minella Indo.
Oh, he's got it. Barry. Oh, well done. Take a bow.
Jack Kennedy's won the Gold Cup. Henry
Well
de Bromhead
done.
makes history.
Fantastic scenes. Unbelievable. Jack Kennedy gets his Gold Cup. Not on the course you might have thought. Wow. That was the 2021 Gold Cup. Pandemonium here in the studio. Barry Orr, let's go straight to you. You knew.
Stop. I've been backing him all year. What a horse. I absolutely love him. When he fell that day up in Leopardstown, to follow him run, they just wanted to get him around. He wasn't beaten that far either, only a little over 6 lengths. He's a class horse. It must have been a very hard choice for Rachel Blackmore which horse to go with. That Plutard matched the low of 1.39 on the Betfair Exchange, but great win. Great win.
I tell you what, Barry Bromhead has made history. No one's ever done that.
No one's done it.
This is it.
Ever. The Champion Chase Gold Cup Champion Hurdle the same year.
Look at your face.
Unbelievable. No one's ever done it before, ever.
That is an incredible thing. That is.
Remarkable.
I mean, Paul Nicholls got within a head once, didn't he? Celestial Halo.
He got beat by Punjabi.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
You were gotten the 4 that year.
Frodon has run just
An Irish 1, 2, 3.
Well, it was the trifecta that a lot of people
It was
had.
Best of Brits, old native river back in fourth.
Was he?
Yeah.
What a
He
brave
finished
animal.
He plugged on and got fourth, the old lad.
Lots of people would have backed him each way,
British
and it would have been
horse.
top 4.
My
Well,
God.
look, that's the 177 coming into it. He didn't have his ground. He's on an absolute belter. Let's hope we see him later on in the season, maybe somewhere like the bowl. But look, we've got to talk about his winner.
I'm saying, Barry, that MINELLA INDO must have gone. He must have halved in price after about 5 fences because he tanked all the way through that race.
No, he didn't. Would you believe?
Really?
No.
No, I think they were expecting Rachel to do him. Then that must have been what it was.
After 4 or 5 fences, he was still around the 8-1 mark.
He went about 3-1 at the top of the hill, just down the side of the hill.
I didn't see a blemish of an error from him.
And then when the horses in behind began to cry enough, then he began to shorten all the way down. But still, Rachel's favourite jumping the last.
And Jack Kennedy, wow, you want to
Sorry for him.
Wait a minute. Aplutard was favourite jumping the last.
Well,
6-4 on.
I'm not totally
1.60.
surprised by that. That's when I started to get excited. And I was going to mention this at you. We were excited. He's just put in another short one, didn't he? He's not been as fluent as we've seen him in the past.
Maybe not. I don't think
Mashing a low 139.
It's the last. If you watch it, you've got to get a flyer to get if you want to get something on the running.
I think the story, we don't need to. I don't think we need to overanalyze it. The story of this is that the stronger stayer won that race.
4 winners for the week for Jack
You
Kennedy.
can't argue with it.
Winner.
Frodon hasn't seen out the extra 2 furlongs. That was perhaps the thing. But wow, it was a great exhibition, wasn't it? And he put a proper pace to the race as well. Album photo in third. We'll talk about the former dual winner in a second. But it's 1-2 for Henry de Bromhead. And that's the short one that he's just put in there. But the horse wasn't stopping in front. He didn't get home in last year's RSA. No champ this time. Aplutard, what a brave animal to try and have another stab at him up the running.
Is that 4-4 now? Blackmore and Kennedy as well.
Album photos made a couple of mistakes, hasn't he? He's coming back at the
6 or
finish.
something,
It's
5 or 6.
Is it the ground with Album a little bit? If it's slightly softer for him, would you say?
Possibly. I think he is a bit. Maybe he is a little bit slower than. Well, is he? I don't say he's slower than MINELLA INDO and Aplutard. Certainly slower than Aplutard actually. But he's just. He's 9 now, isn't he? He's had his go a little bit. Aplutard is 7. MINELLA INDO, is he 8? These. Album Photo's just been beaten by 2 younger horses. He's maybe not quite the horse he was. Remember, he's not run a big figure since he won his first Gold Cup, really.
It was such a good jump at the last when he needed it, wasn't it, from
Aplutard
MINELLA INDO?
stayed, right?
He did stay.
Oh, yeah. I knew he'd stay.
The MINELLA INDO stayed stronger than him, but Aplutard stayed. That's both of those things can be true, and I think they are both true.
Take a bow, Barry. How's Wellchild looking after that?
Yeah, we won another 225 quid there, didn't we? So
Superb.
we're
Well done.
153.75 we're winning today.
Ultimately, that's what it's all about. And if you've been following Barry, maybe show him a little love yourself. It's all about the appreciation out there as well. Jack Kennedy then.
Some injuries, isn't he,
hit
Jack,
the
as well?
deck.
Yeah.
Of course, yesterday on NYLN, his whole world must have crashed around him.
4 winners for the week. Brilliant ride again. And of course, a ride he picked up a few weeks ago, wasn't it, when Rachel chose Aplutard?
Yeah.
That's
We're seeing
right,
the groom in absolute tears. Henry's.
He's won
Some
2
celebration
Gold
they can
Cups.
have there, eh?
He's won 2 Gold Cups now, and he chose the first one, and he's assumed the second one was part of a choice. He's
marvellous.
He chose Don Cossack 5 years ago, and he was basically given MINELLA INDO, and it's great. The horse. If you backed him as Barry obviously has. At all stages, you thought, I'm going here. I'm on a runner here. I'm on a runner.
Just off Frodon, didn't he? And stamina not a problem. I said to you, Barry, did he quite get home in last year's RSA? But you quite rightly said toe-to-toe with Allaho. We can now say they're 2 worldies, can't we?
Well, yeah, the RSA last year, and Champ. We said at the time, Champ was sort of a bit flattered, and you've got the RSA winner in the Gold Cup, the Ryanair winner and the Gold Cup winner there. Champ's a very, very talented horse.
It's kind of what we would like. The purists like to see that, don't they? It's nice that they come back first and foremost, but it's a natural progression, isn't it?
It is. Well, he's. But for going a little bit too hard in last year's RSC, he would have done the Bob's Worth.
If you watch
perfect Bob's Worth progression, Albert Bartlett, RSC, Gold Cup.
We debuted this show last year, and I remember. I'm pretty much sure I was screaming for MINELLA INDO in the RSA, thinking he was home. And then Champ just came and swallowed it. It looked for all the world like he'd get home. And he took that fall, didn't he, in the Savills behind when he was, of course, Aplutard was the winner of that race. He's since had a run, hasn't he, in the Irish Gold Cup?
He wasn't great in the Irish Gold Cup, was he? He was a bit flat that day, wasn't he?
If you're being very, very picky, would it maybe a slight lack of a run for A Plus Tard? Or am I being really picky?
I think you're being
He's
really
shown his
picky,
class, hasn't he, coming back on the bridle, turning in?
He has, and I just don't think there's any.
They've taken lengths out of Album Photo there as well, by the way.
I was waiting for Album Photo to do something from that home turn. It just didn't.
Yeah, he didn't. There was just nothing really there, was there? But these are.
Wow.
Those are
Native River staying on to get fourth. He goes past Frodon. He was about 20
Tremendous
lengths behind Frodon, turning in.
tremendous.
A word for the beaten horse. I mean, how has Native River got fourth? I mean,
Extraordinary.
He's got the same pace all the way around.
obviously Frodon has run his race by the second last, hasn't he?
Yeah,
a wonderful run by Frodon.
It was bold sight out in
Single
front.
figure odds, I think, in running.
He had to fight for the lead, didn't he? Because it wasn't just Ken Boy, it was Black Op as well. He was looking around to see where old rival Native River was. He couldn't get up. Let's keep this. We were just watching a replay here. He doesn't even get. He's not even yet
they're
there.
not even-
is he?
He's so far behind. He can't
Album
wait.
Photo carried out in his shield, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He gave plenty. I mean, he's as I say, he's just getting a bit old now. And you know what? He was a Joe Gold Cup winner, but he was never even a 180 horse. He was never like he was a best. He's never a Calto star. He won 2 Gold Cups by, just his smarts and a good ride last year. He's run absolutely fine this year. He's given his everything. He's just a horse that was an above-average Gold Cup winner that's now getting on a bit.
Yeah. Let's play your favourite game now then. RPRs for that. 172 A Plus Tard got when seeing off Ken Boy.
That'll be a career best. I reckon they'll probably rate Album Photo what he got for last year's Gold Cup, which I think was 174, was it?
Well, no, it was was that not when he won it?
Yeah, when he won it last year, he got 174. I think, was he beaten 4 or 5 lengths there? And they'll give him that again. They'll give him 174. So on that basis, INDO will get about 177, 178.
So which would be what Album Photo got when he beats when he first won it? Okay, that was when he beat Annabelle Flyer, of course.
So I think that if you ask me to guess, I'm not guessing directly, but Album Photo will get what he got for winning last year's Gold Cup.
Okay, all right. So we
He
kind
jumped
of
great, the winner as well.
He jumped
probably the best round.
Frodon
Frodon
maybe accepted, yeah. I mean, Native never jumped very well, to be honest. First of all, he was off the bridle all the way round. It was a tremendous ride, but he had the dream ride all the way around, Jack Kennedy. He ended up more prominent than he wanted to be, I think, because they didn't go all that hard.
I think he does like the race prominently like that, though. You even said yourself earlier in the Albert Bartlett year he won a couple of years back. He virtually made all that day, didn't he?
He started off the race sort of head of the pack and ended up basically on the leader's quarters. So that's what I meant by it. I mean, I didn't expect it to be held up. I just think that he maybe ended up.
He did right not to get involved with a pace burn up with her up front.
I'll tell you what, Barry, it's been a long 2021 for you so far. It's been a long week. You've been with us every Saturday. You've been with us every day. Those Desperados are going to taste a bit better tonight, aren't they?
I'm looking forward to one of them. I'm watching the clock now. I don't care what wins the next couple of races.
Well, okay, fair enough. We have, of course, got 2 more races coming your way, 3 more races on the day. It'll be the Hunter Chase, as we're calling it now.
21-4 to Ida now, isn't it, of course?
Oh, great, yeah, the top 3, then they got the trifecta, didn't they? Did anyone get the trifecta out there? Did you have MINELLA INDO on the top?
That trifecta wouldn't have paid much, will it? Well, I say relatively speaking for a trifecta. You've got the first favourite, second favourite, and 4th choice in there. Yeah. So it's not going to be a massive tri-cut.
And let's just concentrate on that. He couldn't have asked for a better week, Henry de Brome, could he?
Unbelievable. To win the 3 championship races, I can't believe no one's ever done
remarkable.
He's done something that's never been done.
Yeah, and might not be done again. Extraordinary.
The old 3 championship races when we talked about Gold Cup on Thursday, they were the 3 big races back then, and no one's done it before.
What's the headline, do you think? If Bruce was here, he'd be punting that out. That's his favourite game. But what?
Yeah, let's leave it to Bruce. Maybe he can text you.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
I'd go King Henry I.
Off.
Never been
wasted as a commentator. Can I commentate next time?
You absolutely. They must pay much better, mustn't they? Because he's turned up. I tell you, that's not a bad one.
Not a bad one. Let's go with that. Roll with that. Racing Post, steal that off me. I want some kind of.
I gave you a dig before. That really was a great call as well. You put up with us screaming all over you as well.
It's not easy. I don't know.
I try it and it's a nightmare. A lot of people say that Dave Orton loves his voice and that, but honestly, to be heard sometimes in this studio,
not easy.
You've got to have a great big diaphragm, let me tell you. So we know you're loving it out there. Let us know how you got in the Gold Cup. Let us know how your Gold Cup day is going. Whoo!
There's the Gold Cup ritual. I just got that. That bit of sadness that it's over.
Ah, the FOMO.
I'm sad the Gold Cup's over. I love that Gold Cup.
Well, listen, I don't mind the Hunter Chase. That's coming up next. Let's go to Barry.
I was just going to say, just looking at the betting, I sent out a release to the media on Monday. Top trainers betting was 1-5 Willie Mullins, 7-1 Henry de Bromhead, 8-1 Nicky. So Henry de Bromhead there. And the top jockey, it was 1-3 Paul Townend, 9-2 Jack Kennedy, and 6 Rachel Blackmore. So looks like Willie and Paul Townend, 2 odds-on chances turned over there, and a 7-1 chance Henry de Bromhead. And I know hindsight's a great thing, but looking at some of the horses he had coming to the meeting, that does seem big, the 7-1, really, doesn't it?
Next year, Barry, would you have a separate market for top UK trainer?
It'll probably be handicap betting next year.
Oh, listen, don't worry about it. The pendulum, it swings.
I don't know. I think it stayed that side.
We shall let the Shamrock have their time in the sun. Let's put it that way. But look, we're coming up. We've got to move on to the Hunter Chase. That was an absolute thrill. It comes around once a year.
It was a good Gold Cup because Albin Photo's 2 Gold Cups. I mean, they didn't excite the same way Native Rivers did. That one did.
And thank goodness he finished 3rd, because if he had done a Champ or a Santini, there would be question marks over the form. No question marks there.
It's like Champ's all right, because obviously we want
we'll try and get the postscript from that as well.
Let's just hope it's only his head. Let's hope, because it can be that way with Champ.
He wasn't jumping, though. He almost jumped into the side of the fence, didn't he, twice?
Before we move on, let's talk about Champ then, and this is my favourite game. Do they now drop back in trip? Do they give up? Do they go for...
I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Do they go for a Ryanair?
Barry, can we have a price for Champ for the 2023 Hunter?
You're suggesting he's Stoker Wallace?
The Queen Mom Champion Chase.
No.
There's no reason. Well, So Royale, some people thought was desperate unlucky not to win it this year.
So go off 25 for that or something. And
I bet they drop back in trip. I bet that is.
I think that's what they'll do. But
yeah, you've got it. You absolutely got it. It wasn't a Stayers Hurdle as well.
Don't forget. On the bottom, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, as for Santini, well, let's just hope they're okay, these horses, of course. Okay, right. We've got to move on. It is the Hunter Chase. No amateurs. We're feeling this. We're feeling no crowd. If you're an amateur riding, watching this out there, or indeed got until the 29th of March, haven't you? Let's hope you're back for Aintree. That looks like it's going to be the way, isn't it? Dave Maxwell springs to mind, doesn't he? He's got a fancied horse in here, Bob and Co., but he won't be favourite. I think they're expecting him to come out on top this Billaway, Barry Orr.
Yeah, he's very well fancied indeed. Paul Townend in the plate, 3.4 on the Betfair Exchange, 6.2 Bob and Co. Stand Up and Fight, 10.5, 11. It came to pass. Red Indian, 15, 11.5 Staker Wallace, some money for that as well. I was tossing up between the two to head in the market. I can't see them getting a result here. Billaway or Bob and Co. for me, and I'm just come down with the prices. Just come down on the side of Bob and Co. Obviously, this is the horse that famously, when he pulled up behind Manila Rocco in Warwick, the jockey's legs, David Maxwell, the real Corinthian in the sport, didn't his legs give way?
Got cramped, didn't he? Yeah.
Got a cramp, unfortunately. But he's won 2 races. He's won 3 races since, and I think he should stay the trip. That's my one doubt about him, though. He will trade short and running, I would imagine. But whether he gets up the hill or not's another thing. But I'm willing to pay to find out at the price. We're winning a few quid for the charity. So we'll just have 25 quid on Bob and Co. at 6.4. And again, happy to be a price taker here, Keith.
Yep, that's on.
Thank you very much, Barry Orr. So, okay, a couple of things to say about this. If you're new to this race and you're wondering about historically what sort of horse wins it, well, you've got to be older than, veterans have won it since 2015, went on the fringe. Was he one of the best winners we've seen in recent years? Of course, he won back-to-back races. Passion de Polder won back-to-back races. Great to see Hazel Hill taking his place again. And another, could we have a back-to-back winner with It Came to Pass? Of course, no sort of comeback run whatsoever, but Eugene O'Sullivan quickly booked Richie McClernand. Can you see him coming back? Back-to-back winners are not unheard of at all. Salsify, of course, as well. Remember that for Roger Sweeney? Oh, wow, that was an amazing horse.
He was about one of the very few 7-year-olds that have won this.
And very racy type of hunter chaser, wasn't he? They put him to sleep out the back and threw a knife through a butter. And of course, a range of SPs as well, 66-1. When of course Eugene O'Sullivan, Maxine O'Sullivan cannot ride, so as I said, Richard McClernand's in, but 7-2 Hazel Hill before that.
You get the odd. Used to get the odd horse used to go on from this to be like almost a Gold Cup, like Kingscliff when he won it. He went on, didn't he?
That's not Papa Blur was the horse we were talking about.
Yeah, knocking on Gold Cup class.
Papa Blur, do you remember him?
He was second international. Yeah, I was sure he was going to win that.
But it doesn't happen anymore, does it?
No, it's not. As I say, it's not under 15 years. Well, as soon as they win on a point, they get sold for hundreds of thousands.
It's all changed, isn't it?
That tends to be and. There often is a massive price in the frame in this race as well. Whether that will happen this year because we've got professional riders is another question.
Does that take away from the race a bit this year, do you think, not having the amateurs on there?
Well, it's the same course and distance as the Gold Cup, isn't it? So
the Amateurs Gold Cup.
This is meant for, the Corinthian, is the label that David Maxwell always gets.
Should have had the Amateurs right.
Amateur in the truest sense, definitely.
Well, absolutely, and that was one of the. We've talked about it plenty on this show and on feature shows about when they were banned. Amateur in the riding game is a loose at best, isn't it? There are loads of different ranges. So you speak to point trainers, they say, well, we can understand it. If you can't go and play amateur football, should the solicitors be able to come out and ride their hobby horse of a weekend? Yeah, they understood that. But the likes of Jamie Codd, Patrick Mullins, there's a big one, isn't it? There, Derek O'Connor, obviously.
Codd and O'Connor are the main two. Codd and O'Connor are the two I would talk about mostly because they are guys that by right should have turned pro, but for reasons.
Patrick as well. Come on, man.
I think he's good.
He's the most successful amateur of all time.
I don't think he's as good as Jamie Codd.
Shiv Sharjo's won all sorts of great ones.
He gets on the better horses.
He's not as good as Jamie Codd or Derek. I don't think
he's not. And
what would Jamie Codd have done if he was at Mullins Yard? I think he'd have just cleaned up. So next year, the guy's going to be back next year with.
But the thing is, those guys don't win this race. Codd's won it once. I think he won it on Zemski. But I don't think Codd's won it, and Patrick Mullins doesn't. Billaway was meant to be the horse that won it for Patrick last year.
Derek O'Connor Zemski, you're right.
Yes, and shall we talk about him because he is a short price, isn't he, Billaway? I think it's
I've just seen Santini's mistake again. It was awful.
Banked it almost, didn't he?
Sorry,
that's something that he doesn't often do. Anyway, we've moved on with the Gold Cup. You can still have a say if you'd like us to. Get your social selections in for the Hunter Chase. Of course, we've got the new Mares Chase coming up after this. Perhaps one of the bankers of the entire festival coming up in that. We'll get to it. However, a blemish-free round, a Santini-free round for Billaway will make him hard to beat. When he got beaten on his return, if Patrick had kicked the button over a trip short of his best, he probably would have won. He's since come out and won the right races in Ireland.
He's quite classy, isn't he?
The ground won't be a problem. I think he stays a bit better now. I think they'll have him there or thereabouts. And I think a MINELLA INDO type ride would be lovely, actually, for Paul Turnard.
Yeah, he'll probably be tough to catch. He's definitely going to suit conditions, that's the thing. I don't think he's as good a horse as Bob & Co. I think Bob & Co is the best horse in the race.
Well, he has some very classy French form. Is that your selection?
Yes, Bob & Co is my selection. You're taking a bit of a chance on the ground, and often when I've got a horse that's not acted on the ground, I'll look into their pedigree. And I'm afraid I didn't find what I wanted to find with this horse. His pedigree is mostly a soft ground pedigree. But, you've got to just take your chance with a horse like this. There's no obvious sign in his action or anything that he wants soft. So, he is the best horse in the race. I've got a real history of backing non-stairs in this race, actually. There was a horse I forget. He used to win at Musselbrook every year and come here.
Wonderful Charm.
No.
Oh, okay, who was that?
I can't remember.
Wonderful Charm used to win at Musselbrook. That was a great shout, wasn't it? And I got batted back from the Quizmaster.
Well, it wasn't.
You'll be happy with that.
It literally wasn't the horse I backed. It was a horse. It wasn't the horse I backed. That's why I poo-pooed it.
Who was the horse?
I don't remember. It was a.
You can't even remember.
It was a Qatar coat. It was yellow with the blue stars, and it used to go off about 50s for this every year, and it never stayed.
Do you remember the Qataris used to? They did have some. Oh, come on, Keith, you need to get.
I remember. It was running in sort of the mid 2010, so I'll find it. Don't worry.
Okay, there looks like there's a bit of liquidity building up in this race, Barry. Now let's go to that while Keith finds his horse.
Current event.
There you go. Yeah, he
never stayed, but it was. So I used to. So maybe I'm doing the same again with Bob & Co. But yeah. He is the best horse in the race for me.
Looks like there's a bit of money I can see on the exchange, Barry, queuing up to back these front for a couple in the market.
Yeah, Billaway's very strong, 3.45 from 3.55. I've plenty up to back it, like you say, Dave. Bob & Co, 6.2. 11 each of two, it came to pass and stand up and fight. Staker Wallace, 11.5. That's the top of the market, really.
Interesting. Tony Ennis.
Why is Harry Cobden riding Cameron and not Bob & Co? Could you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? I'm not sure. I'm not okay with the.
Well, Sean Bowen rode.
Sean Bowen rode last day, didn't he?
At Haydock, but this is not trained by Paul Nicholls. This is owned by Paul Nicholls. And this is a horse that Paul took to the sales and they didn't get the price for it or something like that. And along with his mate John Bolton, they brought him back. They sent him to Sam Loxton, which is pretty much on the yard, isn't it, Barry, down there in Ditchy. And Harry Cobden rode this at Leicester, was quite impressed with him, I think, on ground that he didn't like. And they have been making some positive noises.
Okay. That explains that.
It's my tip, actually, by the way. Should we get that up
Shamron
on the screen? I think I went for Shamron, didn't I?
Price.
Yeah,
You
well,
don't.
listen, he's filled me with a lot of confidence. Who agree? Okay, Barry said just before we went on air, you were doing multis and all sorts of things. But wouldn't it be ironic, Barry, if this was Paul's actual winner of the week?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time, would it, that it was the only winner at the festival? We talked about it earlier. Pollard, Pollard did it 1 year, but I should remember that name after Victoria Pendleton riding it.
Yeah, that was the eye catcher of the century that year, wasn't it?
Remember, we all congratulated Victoria Pendleton. What a great ride to get that round in fifth, and then it won the next two.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So back-to-back winners.
Great ride to get around.
Absolutely.
Well, it was unbelievable ride to get
another former winner of this race. Hazel Hill, didn't he win it a couple of years ago?
Yeah, he did.
You weren't listening. I was mentioning him.
Sorry, I was just...
You were studying your colours, no doubt.
Colours.
Apparently, this might be his... Yes, 13. His last goal.
Go on, Barry.
An interesting one about John Bolton, who owns that horse with Paul Nicholls. He was the man who did the Frankie 7 with Labrooks, and he, the famous 7 winners,
Magnificent 7.
And he did the whole 7, and it came to well over £1 million, but they wouldn't pay him out over what the limit was in the shop.
Right.
At the payout limit in the shop, it was a couple of $100,000 he only got out. Well, not that he only got out of it, but yeah, it would have been over £1 million if they had honoured the bet in full.
Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, I didn't know
a really nice man, absolute gentleman.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. And Paul, like I say, was making some bullish noises about this. The form at Leicester has worked out well. The ground he didn't like, he won easily that day. The seconds come out and hosed up at Catterick as well. There are some really interesting horses in this. Porlock Bay is really interesting. He got beaten by a horse of Paul Nicholls on his rules debut. Was that at Ludlow? It was Wincanton, and the horse was Samatigel.
It was, yeah.
Who got turned over at Fontwell last time, but they were trying to rush a run into him. I wouldn't hold that against him. He was at Kimble that he won in November 2020, and he's a very interesting ex-French horse, this.
Well, Will Biddick used to be the Nicholls rider of choice.
Kappa Bleu, of course.
Did he ride Kappa Bleu, did he?
Yeah.
No,
that was Burton, wasn't it?
Yes,
it would have been Richard Burton.
It sounds right as Burton.
Yeah, it was Burton, who was the great British amateur.
Now he trains this one, and Lorcan Williams takes the ride. Lorcan Williams is a good little jockey, actually.
Yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, was it the Getaway Trump, wasn't it, that he was seen to grab?
Yeah. Well, I backed the second in that, so I didn't enjoy it too much.
What was the second in that? Remind me.
We
were on the show together, weren't we, when we did that?
Yeah.
Porlock Bay, basically. Tom Segala's gone for this.
2-1 Billoway.
2-1 Billoway. I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. There's massive confidence about this. Porlock Bay is a horse that is speedy, and it will be all about getting up the hill with him. Could he be the current event? But he will travel for a long way. I'm delighted to say, as the dust settles on the Gold Cup, and you're not a pro unless you can go 4 rounds this week, he can do it at the track for us. It's James Stevens on the line.
Good afternoon, Dave. How are we all doing?
Absolutely fantastic. Buzzing after that. Barry Orr, would you believe, knocked MINELLA INDO out the park. It was the trifecta many were expecting, James. Maybe not in that order, though.
No, it was an absolutely thrilling race to watch. I stood there sort of just down the front and watching them go up. It was absolutely sensational. It just reminds you what it's all about. It was a fantastic race and a really worthy winner, I thought. What was the dust settling then? Have we got any quotes coming from connections? Henry de Bromred is just speaking to the media now. I've been around speaking to beaten trainers. Willie Mullins said he's extremely proud of a run for Alban Photo, just sort of a case of being beaten by 2 better horses on the day. And I've just spoken to Colin Tizard after Native River. Oh, my God, what a run from him there. Staying on to finish 4th. Colin Tizard's been in the steward's room. They said he was never travelling. And put it this way, he's not too happy about that. But he's happy about the run.
I mean, that's amazing, isn't it?
That's a strange one. Native River was a bit slow there, lads. What do you think? Get him in.
Well, that is remarkable. Okay, we will talk about that, James. What about Champ and Santini? Have we got any reasons for those ones yet, James?
We don't, I'm afraid, but I'm on the case, and hopefully we'll know a bit more later this afternoon.
Happy days. How's the week gone for you then, James? Can you give us a tip for the final 2 races? What's going to win the Hunter Chase, my man?
I quite like Shamron, actually, at quite a big price. I did a Newbury Gallops Day many years ago, and Paul Nicholls brought 2 horses there, Shamron and Top of a Game, who apparently work next to each other. So if Shamron was good enough to work with Top of a Game, he might be quite a highly regarded horse. He's not quite been the same since, but he's 20-1. And if he's of that sort of held in that sort of esteem at once upon a time. Maybe he's a big prize to win at Fox Hunters. Who knows?
I've always liked you, James Stephens, but you've just gone right to the top of my estimation. We were in good company. You're agreeing with Dave Orton there. James, thank you ever so much for your efforts this week. You've just made us all extremely jealous. We can hear you at the track there. Enjoy what's left of it, will you?
Thanks, Dave, and well done, lads. It's been a great run this week.
Super duper, fantastic stuff. Oh, I don't know. I felt it then for the first time. The not being there. Could hear the tannoy, native river, and
watching the screen, and the best mate enclosure is empty. That's weird. That's usually
felt it. James has been brilliant. We gave him a good word there yesterday. He's one of our big up and coming reporters, isn't he? And, he likes a bet as well. He's on Shamron as well. Colin Tizard.
It'd be interesting because James, as we said yesterday, James has got a decent relationship with Colin Tizard, so I'd imagine Colin wouldn't have pulled any punches in front of James. He wouldn't have been happy.
Wow.
A few other footnotes. Just know, Adramel did lose his left hind shoe earlier on. That was the horse we watched. Remember, he stopped quickly, he lost his shoe, and also Milkwood lost his hind shoe as well. That's why he stopped so quickly.
Wow. Well, I mean,
Maybe,
that would probably. I mean, sometimes I don't
always work, is it?
I speak to connections sometimes about the losing of a shoe, and the horseman will tell you it cost them a length or two. But I don't. It's something I think happens a lot. So
completely arbitrary whether it actually affects the horse.
Yeah, you don't know, do we? We don't know.
Right. We'll look out for some H14s, which are the stewards' reports then for you coming in for some of the beaten horses there. Great to have James Stephens 4 days with us as well. Bill Away looks a picture, Barry, as we can see him strutting his stuff down to the start. What price is he now on the exchange?
Yeah, he certainly does. He's 3.15 in the same ownership as Heaven Help Us.
Yeah, John Turner's got different colours, Barry, isn't he? He has the blue colours that he had a horse that Donald McCain ran over here, the orange for Heaven Help Us, and the yellow for Billaway with the horse emblem.
And I'm noticing money for Shamron.
He is a greyhound man. Of course, he owned JT Jet, didn't he? The one, the Ground Derby. JT, John Turner.
Yeah. 15.5 Shamron. That's your few quid going on that from 30 down to 15.5. So half the price, but Billaway. It's another one that they're backing like the feet's out of the question at the festival. He's into 3.1 now in a liquid market as well. Over £2 million match. Bob and Co. Some for that as well at 6.0. Stand Up and Fight, friendless. It came to pass, friendless. Staker Wallace a bit friendless now. Stand Up and Fight 16. It came to pass 15.5.
And Shamron coming in. All we had to do was get James Stephens on. We've got a massive gamble all of a sudden. Okay, Shamron, I'll be cheering him home. Harry Cobden, hoping that they have a change of luck. It looks like, who's going to try? I mean, he's up there Billaway, isn't he, Keith, at the start? He's ambling around right up with the leaders.
Yeah, it won't be far away looking at that. And as is Bob and Co.
Okay, we've got the Mayor's Chase for you at 4:15. That'll be the final race of the week at Cheltenham Festival for us. There is, of course, the boys' race, the Martin Pipe Conditional afterwards as well. Keep your comments coming in. Have you enjoyed the show this week? We know you have. We see the feedback. Let's have some shout-outs. Been a great team production so far. All the guys at Betfair absolutely loving this week. James Stephens obviously been enjoying it as well. Down at the track, some love. Absolutely fantastic. We're not going anywhere. Don't you worry about that. If the elements allow, we will be with you every Saturday and for all the big festivals as well. An alternate take on it, isn't it? We're having some fun. You get real-time analysis and reaction. We'll plot your horses out for you. Let's see who's going to win the 2021 Hunter Chase with Tony Ennis.
Yeah, if it's ironic if there was a false start in Hunter when it's a pros riding it, for instance.
Don't say that. He had to do it, didn't he?
Oh, they get a bit close to the tape as well.
Oh,
no, they're away.
Come on, let them go.
James's Place Festival Challenge Cup Open Hunters Chase, 3 mile, 2.5. It is the Gold Cup course and distance, which means they'll jump 22 fences and pass the stands 3 times. They'll take this fence 3 times.
Billaway's right up there.
Stand Up and Fight's up there on the inside. Let's see how they jump the first. All got over it safely enough. One of the first to show up is Son of Presenting. He's going to lead up to it. Law of Gold in second. Mr. Mantilla is out wider in third. Billaway is in about fourth. Jumped that one. Took off a bit early, Billaway, but he's okay. Another one up there is Late Night Pass. Bridget Andrews, I can see that one advancing. Just behind those, I can see Wishing and Hoping for Bryony Frost up on the outside. Red Indian's not too far away for David Noonan. Further back then is Stand Up and Fight, who's towards the inside. Looking for the second favourite, Bob and Co. He's a bit wide, isn't he? Sean Bowen in those Maxwell colours out towards the outside. Early back marker is Shamron.
Last and detached almost.
Yeah, not actually
happy, is he, Shamron?
Game, is he so far? So we saw this with Royal Pagaille, didn't we? But then we saw it with Mount Ida, who's got loads of mentions on this show. It can be done.
Hazel Hill's mid-pack, the former winner. The other former winner of the race, of course, is It Came to Pass.
Shamron.
Came to Pass, hit that. Shamron hit that. Harry Cobden's not having a great week, is he? Making the run towards the next fence, which is over on the side of the track. This is going to be fence number 5. And they take it's the water jump.
Oh, what happened to Bob and Co there?
Yeah, Bob and Co wasn't great there, was he?
Disappeared. He was behind the leader.
The leader is now Mr. Mantilla, who's come through to take it up. 2 in second place, that's Late Night Pass. And over in third, towards the... Oh, Shamaron again, slow over that one.
This is gone. That's going to have a P next to his name, Shamaron. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Sutter presenting his third. Then comes Red Indian in fourth place. Billaway is handy, isn't he, in yellow colours.
Yeah. Where's last year's winner?
He's making mistakes out wide, blue and green colours. He hit the fence before
He's calling it a day, Harry Cobden.
Yeah,
Probably the best.
Hit a thousand.
Not on a going day, Shamaron.
Yeah,
It's not going to be a Mount Ida 1,000 either, is it, in running? This is one that's definitely pulled up. Yes. The leader is Mr. Mantilla to Sutter presenting, and then comes in third place. That is Late Night Pass.
Oh, lovely jump by Bob and Co.
Bob and Co jumping up one on the
Billaway
outside.
wasn't great there.
It's not been great, Billaway.
In between the fences, he's looking like by far the best horse in the race.
Yeah, he's sticky, isn't he?
This has been his problem before.
Heading towards the next fence at the top of the hill. They're heading to this is fence number 8.
Better there, the Fav.
Yeah, he was all right in fourth place. Up front, Mr. Mantilla leading up to, still there on the outside, Late Night Pass. Sutter presenting his third, Red Indian fourth. Billaway is fifth. Wishing and Hoping, Bryony is sixth. Law of Gold is seventh.
He's catching my eye.
Law of Gold?
Yeah, he's a horse that was seventh in this last year.
Salvatore next. Former winner Hazel Hill. Oh, it came to pass. Nearly did. Past the rider to the floor there. Made a bad mistake. Another one towards the back. What's that in green and white? Also, that's Mighty Stowaway, isn't it? Jack Kennedy. Gold Cup winning Jack Kennedy is towards the back of the field this time around. Once lost its place as well. Is that Monbeg Gold, I think, towards the back. Ravished is in about 9th or 10th place. Heading towards the next fence. This is the downhill fence. This is going to be taken as number 10.
He's taking 0 chances on Billaway, Keith, as he's got him out wide.
Wide of the main leading cluster. The way he's jumping, you can sort of see why. They might just be worried about making mistakes. There's a few wider than him still. You've got Wishing and Hoping's wide, and Bob and Co's giving the outside to no one and Sean Bowen. But they've steadied up again. They've got a circuit to go. Apart from Shamaron pulling up, you've not got many complaints. It came to pass, has jumped, made that absolutely horrendous error. But apart from that, you're running. You've got a runner.
Okay, we're in the home straight then for the final time over the course and distance of the Gold Cup. Barry Orr, give us a market update, please.
Yeah, your favourite Harden did the 2.98 now, so just the 2-1 chance. 6.4 Bob and Co. 9.6 it came to pass. 9 Staker Wallace. He's caught my eye in the JP colours in the white hat. Outside of that, Late Night Pass 13.5. That's about it, really.
No cross-country runner for Ender, of course, this year, but he's got 2 in here, haven't they? And as Staker Wallace in those famous colours of JP.
Keeper Pass has moved up, made a big move up while they've steadied it down.
Came to pass.
Yeah, Richie McLaren's decided to move him up while they've been going slow.
A bit more interesting.
A bit sketchy, though, isn't it?
Oh, he's made he's going to stay, don't he? Yeah, Wishing and Hoping going well. Red Indian's going well as well.
Yeah, a few going well. Late Night Pass is leading to Billaway, who's now got closer in second. Jumped that well, Billaway, too.
Jump.
Bob and Co's moved into about 4th place behind Wishing and Hoping. It came to pass, is getting closer, as Keith said. Mr. Mantilla. Ridden along is Salvatore, not travelling. Then comes Hazel Hill, who's just off the pace.
This is where rhythm's key on the Gold Cup course and distance, isn't it? On the far side.
Yeah, there's
Gallop's just leading. But again, Billaway's not totally convincing, but he's doing what he has to.
Doing enough at the moment. Salvatore hit that quite badly, Dave, and he hampered Law of Gold. He came back in his lap. Here's the fence after the water. The open ditch.
Oh, no.
Bowen a little bit.
Bowen got
up
sick
at the back, son of presenting, I think.
Bowen got sick of following Billaway, who's made a few mistakes, so he went out wide.
Staker Wallace creeping, as Barry mentioned, he's got a chance, hasn't he? It came to pass. It came to pass. Has got better, Keith, hasn't he? Since he's pulled him out.
Since he's pulled him out wide, he can see the fences now, and it's probably a sensible ride from.
He's going to go close, I think.
Yeah, he's showing a lot more enthusiasm.
Who's this in the red? Oh, Porlock Bay, the speedy
he's
horse.
He's going to travel, isn't he?
I'll tell you, if he's there 2 out, he'll sprint.
Good jump in second place by Billaway that time, but the leader is still Late Night Pass. Bridget Andrews leading Paul Townend on Billaway. It came to pass his third. Creeping up on the inside is that Monbeg Gold who's trying to get into it.
Yeah,
it's Mr. Mantilla, isn't it?
Mr. Mantilla, yeah, good shout.
He's in
Similar
4th
colours.
or 5th.
Big jump Billaway there.
Bob and Co got met it right as well, and he is following Billaway, but I'm not sure he's travelling as well. It came to pass is now off the bridle.
The other one making ground is Staker Wallace in the McManus colours, creeping a little bit closer towards the outside.
Hazel Hill having a say.
Big ditch here.
This is a big test
this
on
is
the downhill run.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, he met on a wrong stride there, Billaway, but he's over fine.
Billaway, it came to pass. Still there, though, is the Late Night Pass on the inside. The 2 passes either side of Billaway. Then comes Porlock Bay. Then comes Staker Wallace from Bob and Co. Mr. Mantilla.
This is 3 outs.
Porlock Bay and Bob and Co are travelling. You sort of expect that because they're the horses.
He's the Aplutard in the race, Porlock Bay. We don't quite know whether he'll get home.
Oh, it's gone.
No, yes, he has. Go on.
Beats Paul Nicholls. Nightmare of a
Misery
week.
for Paul Nicholls.
This is all about, I think this is Billaway, guys, because I'm not sure that Porlock will get up the hill, but he's cruising. This is what he did with Semetigel when they met at Wincanton.
He's evens, Porlock.
Is he? Billaway, Porlock Bay, and
All about stamina. If you're Paul Townend, you've got to kick now. We're coming up to the second last.
Porlock Bay on the outside. Billaway's just in front.
Still not off the bridle, Porlock Bay.
Porlock Bay has joined him, jumped it well, Porlock, for Lorcan Williams and Will Biddick.
This is where stamina will become an issue for him, I think.
Six is on.
That's too short, I think. Honestly,
Billaway's
stamina.
trying to come back. Here's the last.
Billaway flies it.
Billaway
I think he gets back up, Billaway.
Can he come back?
I think he gets back up. I'm pretty sure he does.
Porlock Bay
This
and
is all
Billaway.
about stamina. Oh my God, they're leaning on each other.
Porlock Bay.
Porlock Bay's out on his shield. Great ride.
Billaway, Paul Townend's coming
Billaway
back.
coming back.
Porlock Bay's all out for
Billaway gets him on the line.
Billaway. What a race! Oh, I don't know. Porlock maybe for Billaway. I don't know.
Closest finish of the week
Race of the
reserved
week.
for the Hunter
What a race.
Chase.
That is,
He was
I can't call that.
Lorcan Williams. I think he might have just held on there, Porlock Bay.
If I had to, I would, but I wouldn't be backing either at evens.
I was trying to call it. Here we go. We've got to say, it's Porlock Bay. It's Porlock Bay. Porlock Bay's just another stride, and Billaway would have got back up. What a ride, Lorcan Williams. Hopefully we called that horse for you in the run. 6 is on jumping the last, but stamina was the issue. If you watched him against Semetigol on his rules debut, he didn't quite get home. What a ride that was. The quicker ground has happened to do it. Price-wise, Tom Segal, he took a flyer. He's got it right. Keep Melrose.
Will Biddick 1, Willie Mullins 0.
A British winner!
British winner.
A British winner!
Yeah, it was great to watch that. It was, it's all about whether Porlock Bay found, and he did. He travelled the best all the way through. The way he jumped the last, after he jumped the last.
This has been called, isn't it?
Not yet. Still a photo officially.
Oh, well, he's got it, isn't he?
Yeah, basically.
What is he on the machine, Barry?
10
I mean, the line does come up quicker for
20's on.
20's on. Yeah.
What, is this Guy Lewis, do you think, that's after his car? I'm not getting this one wrong. Take your time, Guy, if it is you, my man.
The way he jumped the last, I thought he was going to win it further than we think he has won it by a nose, but
I think I called
that.
Honestly, this is a horse that I know. If there were championship hunter chases over 2 mile 4, he would be unbeatable. This chap, he has won it. He punches the air, Lorcan Williams. Okay, at least some sort of a winner for ditching. Because that's where he's stationed. Will Biddick, of course, like you say, a British winner.
Unbelievable. Extraordinary. 21.5 back in the hunt.
Yeah, and Barry, a favourite sunk on the line.
Oh, expensive for the punters, that one.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, he was matched at a low 137, so 11 to 4 on for 965 quid. All sorts of money done on him down to that. That's the lowest price he traded at, though.
Wow, unbelievable scenes has been the saying of the week here in the RP Live studio. And that was a great finish, wasn't it? Porlock Bay, my lord. Whoever would have thought it? And I guess the ground has had a lot to do with that. Did you go with price-wise Tom Segal, who usually knocks one out of the park, Tom, doesn't he, on the day? And he sunk the Billaway. So Billaway, was he second last year, Billaway?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, the bridesmaid that is Billaway. And he just fiddled a couple, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think Paul Tanner could have done anything else.
No, he threw everything at him, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think, mate, some people will be saying, why don't you kick on a little bit? But I knew it was all about staying, as I said.
It was, yeah, and he tanked through it, and you just didn't know whether he was going to find. The way he jumped the last, I thought he was going to win it by a length because
dwarfing him Billaway as well, isn't he?
He's a big horse.
Yeah. How was he? How was he going when he came down? Need to watch this again. Down
Still
the hill.
fine.
He was all right, wasn't
he?
He was going grand, yeah.
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, what price did he go about? Was he shortened up at all?
What happened with the jockey?
He rolled. He did a few somersaults, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Wallace. Look, he nearly knocked him off.
Yeah. He did a few somersaults as well. He's all right, Sean.
When did they know, Barry, that Porlock Bay was going to take this out?
Well, he was 6s on at one stage and then jumping the last when it looked like it was going to be a buckle. Or what, I told you, what price did I tell you when you said lay him?
6s on, I said he was a bit short.
You told me he wouldn't stay and he's galloped up the hill.
Oh,
the bear the hill he did.
Stayed up
look, come on, we're getting to it's like the last day of school now all of a sudden.
He kept saying he wasn't going to stay, that Billaway was going to beat him, and then there he is staying.
Yeah, look, he's absolutely running on fumes here. Did Billaway come back at him? I thought that would be the case. 6s on, you'd been a brave man if you'd have taken that. But like I say, that's what actually. Bring it back to a serious note. That is one of the things that I like about the Hunter Chase Sphere. That's why I like all weather racing during the winter, because the same horses run against each other a lot. You can get a line on from them. You get to know these horses when some others on the big day don't.
Yes, you can. Well, it's an angle for people. They do watch the Hunters and the Pointers. I don't watch that many hunters, so I'm out of the loop a little bit. But yeah, you can get to know these horses. I mean, this is quite an obvious one. You could just look at this horse's form and see that it was the stamina was always going to be the issue. 2.5 mile points, you don't get many of them.
No, you don't.
So there's obviously an element of trying to keep him to those shorter trips. And he's French bred, isn't he?
He is. Yeah.
He raced in France, and the French horses often are a little bit smaller than the GB and I store horses, and that's what you can see in that finish. Billaway is a much bigger horse, but I think that he has just stayed basically, but he looked like he had loads of running left at the last.
I've got a feeling Luke Harvey had something to do with this horse. That might emerge in the story from this, but I've got a feeling he might have done. But anyway, Will Biddick. For so long, we watched Will taking out all these top hunter chases. He's now trained as well. That happens a lot, actually, doesn't it? It's like I don't know. Jamie Snowden, for example, reaching for an example of my head. He used to win that Grand a military race, didn't he? He's always nearly training the winner or something like that. Yeah, it's great to see these jockeys that ply their trade, these amateurs that can't do the weight. They're making a living for themselves in the point-to-point sphere, and now he has trained the big one, a real feather in his cap.
He never rode the winner,
didn't he?
Never rode the winner.
Really? Because he would have been on some top Nichols horses in it.
I've just looked it up. Yeah, he never rode the winner. Unbelievable.
So there you go. Yeah. He's trained it as well. The top British amateur of years gone by. Well, not that long ago, was it? Takes it out. And what a finish that was. Were you on Billaway? How are you feeling now? How's your day going? We've got one race left on the week. It's a new race. It's the Mares race. And we've seen collateral form all over the place in this. I sort of called it a slightly tragic race earlier in the week because, you're going with the Gold Cup to this sort of thing. But at least we got some what we would call favourite mares coming back. That's a good thing, that's for sure. There have been some gambles, Barry.
In this? Yeah. Sorry, Dave.
He's counting his winnings, of course, from
his desperados as well, I think.
He's saying downstairs, isn't he? He's probably got a tan eye. The Archibald button hasn't gone on, I've noticed today, Barry, but those desperados are obviously nearing Barry. He can sense it. But yeah, Ellie May, I'm surprised that it looks like she's shade of odds against.
Shade of odds again. She's 2-3-2 now. Yeah,
wow.
So she's 11-8, having been matched at a low of 1.80 for small money. It has to be said, but she's as short as 187 quid was matched at 1.80. So she's on the slide. Cool Reeve, stablemate. Just the 4 in here for Willie Mullins, looking to dominate another mares race at the festival. 3.65, 7-8, a former festival winner, Shattered Love, and Magic of Life 15.5. I'm just going to chance Magic of Life. She's a mare I've always liked. She won that race in Newbury again for, I think it was the 3rd consecutive year this time around. And she won the race in Ascot, then reverting back to hurdles twice. And she went to do it a 3rd time this year. She bumped into Roxana there. But what I'm going to do is, Keith, please, I'm going to have 25 quid win on her.
Yep.
At 15.5. Again, happy to be a price taker here. She's even 16 now. And in the without the favourite market as well, we're going to back her. So we'll have 25 quid at 16, and then we'll go to the without the favourite market. And she's currently about 8.6 in that.
Without favourite. And there she is. She's 8. Do you want 25, Barry?
We'll have 25 quid on that. Yeah, it's not that liquid a market just yet, but it will be as the race progresses, and we'll comfortably get matched at 7-1.
We've been fully matched now. It took about 5 seconds, but we are fully matched.
The final trade of the week from Barry Orr goes to the last time the Grand National was run. Of course, she chased home Tiger Roll in that. We did say this morning.
Don't be fooled by that, of course, because it was a very steadily run Grand National. She was out in front all the way. And, she's not a plodder. She's a sort of 2.5 mile, 3 mile type.
Well, the handicapper says she's the best horse in this race. And is that the reason why you've gone? Because she was a surprisingly big prize.
Yeah. Have I gone for her?
Have you not gone for her?
I went Shattered Love each way.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Shattered Love each way and Magical Light each way is the way to play this, because I can't see neither being placed. They're both good mares. This race could end up being disappointing, but the first renewal is a good one. You've got 4 mares there that are good. They're 150 plus. It's a race worthy of the Grade 2 status. I'd be very down on this race generally, but I can't complain at this first renewal. It's a good race.
At least Shattered Love favourites there.
Shattered Love, like Magical Light, is a 2.5 mile, 3 mile type.
A JLT winner.
JLT, yeah, the Marsh or Golden Miller. Just call it that.
Golden Miller, yeah.
And she won that. She beat Terfort, which I was all over at the time. So she's not done me any favours that day. She's got a good Cheltenham form. She's running Gold Cups and Ryanair's. Never really runs over 2 miles. So when Ellie May beat her last time over 2 miles. it was very much a home fixture for Ellie, who's a 2 mile, 2.5 mile type.
She now gives her £3, of course.
Yeah.
So evened up on the trip. It was the ground that worried me about Châteauneuf. It was soft when she won the JLT, and I tried to find some good ground with her. And Ellie May's 1 from 1 on good ground. So I have to say, Keith, I expect that Ellie May will beat her. That's what I'm not saying anything too obvious there.
No, you're backing Shattered Love each way, aren't you?
I'm kind of backing Allaho as well in this race.
Yes.
You know, because this was the horse that was nearly upside Allaho, perhaps not the Allaho that we saw in the romp that was the Ryanair. Unbelievable. The chasing performance so far of the week. We'll see what RPR Minella Indo gets.
I reckon he'll get 176. I think he'll get higher.
I think they'll be on a. Do you think he'll get slightly higher than Allaho?
Well, yeah, I think so. They'll probably. I mean, handicappers do this. They look at the history and they look at other races around, and that will come into the thinking when they decide on what they're rating to come down on.
Massive boost, wasn't it? Obviously for Ellie May yesterday, Goshen's half sister. If you look into the breed, I think she'll be fine on the ground. She's got to give £3, of course, to Magic of Light. Cool Reevy being the stablemate who's coming for big support as well, because that got a boost, Keith, yesterday.
It did, yeah.
Mount Ida, wasn't it?
Mount Ida running, yes, that might have been sort of second to Cool Reevy, was it? And
closing all the way at the finish, but whether that was the Mount Ida and waiting for the handicap that we saw that day, I don't know.
What price would Cool Reevy have been if she'd run in the Marsh? She would have been, 5th in or something, 4th or 5th in. She's I don't know.
She has been to Cheltenham, of course, for Cool Reevy.
Yeah, she ran 5th in the Dawn Run last year, didn't she?
Yeah, she looked like a stay out when she ran in the bumper that time behind Relegate.
Yep, and she
fancied that day.
She has been running over 2.5 miles over fences. It is more her trip.
I thought giving £2 to Ellie May would be quite difficult, personally. She'll be up there, I think. I thought Ellie May would just take a lead and pounce. This will be Cool Reevy's last run, we're hearing, as well. So
will it?
Needs to go out on a big high before she goes into the breeding sheds, of course. Let's go to Tony Ennis, top course commentator. Where are you going in the last?
Yeah, just what you said, really. Ellie May, I think she'll have too much pace for Cool Reevy. I think it'll be a stalking ride. Mark Walsh had a win already, isn't he, earlier on?
You were never going to oppose this.
I couldn't oppose this one.
No. This is the sort of thing, if we were on Sky together, we were chatting and we'd be like, this just wins.
It just wins, I think. I mean, I was looking at Shattered Love, third favourite. One here, 2018, but I just don't think the horse is as good anymore, to be honest.
You know, my worry about Magic of Light, that when she ran in the Ultima 2 years ago, she belted her way around. And I know around Newbury she's been pretty flawless, so maybe I'm hitting her with that stick. Maybe she wasn't on a going day, but it was just enough to slightly put me off. Of course, that was at 20-1. Now she's into 10-1. Cabaret Queen completes the Irish dominance of the market. A horse that probably has got a bit to find at the weights. Rachel Blackmore on though, of course, got the name right there, Keith. Scolding me again for that.
You've got a record similar to the British trainers this week in terms that you're probably about.
Very good. And then we've got Zambella that comes in for Nigel Twiston Davis. A horse that Annie Mack was it last time at Warwick?
Yeah, Warwick. She's been running in these small field mares races mostly. It's hard to get a handle on how good she is. The mid-140s level seems to be established, and that will probably leave her about half a stone not good enough.
Yeah, the last time she ran a good ground, she was nearly lapped, albeit over hurdles. She's probably a slightly better horse now, isn't she? So, okay. Well, we've had a British winner on the day. It seems to be this
different Paul Bates and Luke Harvey as well. I was thinking that as well, but there's two
Paul Bates. That's out of order.
They're not that dissimilar in terms of age, but one's an Irish bred.
Knowing Harvey as I do, he'll be claiming it. He'll be thinking, don't tell anyone. He won't. He'll be just Paul Bates. Yeah,
the one that won was an ex François Nicole from France. That one, the one not it's Luke Harvey, Paul Bates.
Speedy stayer. Yeah, he could cut. He's got time on his side as well, Paul Bates, we should say, hasn't he? We've seen back-to-back winners. But...
Yeah, it might be the case. I mean, Will Biddick trains him, so you assume he will stay in points and hunters and whatnot. But if a bid came in, you reckon he could make a decent proper chaser. I'm going to say, I'll annoy all the pointers by saying that, but a rules professional type chaser.
I'm looking for some H14s, as Keith will know. That's a steward's note basically for Champ and Santini in the Gold Cup. Before we get some more socials, the only ones that we've seen so far is Applutard and Minella Indo are both late into braid ring due to difficulties fitting the tongue tie.
Amazing that there was Native Rivers connections were asked to go in the stewards, but Champs weren't.
I just think, the change of tactics and all that sort of thing. It's something that perhaps we could look at a little bit more. Again, different jurisdictions, they do it all the time. Let's get some socials up on the screen then. Let's close the show with some belters. What have we got coming up? Andrzej Benman, is that right? Yeah, okay, I think I've got that right. Colreevy or Cabaret Queen? Colreevy on top of Cabaret Queen. I know someone likes Cabaret Queen, but...
Yeah, she's another one that, I mean, she's a good handicapper. She might travel for you.
Who I know somebody who owns a share of her. Yeah, a few people in the press are involved in it, aren't
Syndicates Racing. I can't remember exactly who it is, but yeah, they'll be giving
It's Jack Cantillon.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, very successfully he's syndicating those horses. They had the filly Grand G and the bumper as well.
That's it. We've seen a lot.
His father's Dermot Cantillon, bred Casamento.
Yes.
Kinnakilly House breeders. Yeah, good, big racing family.
The Racing Post Trophy winner, of course. Whoever thought that would get a mention today? Okay, that's Andrzej. Thank you very much. And trying to wind me up a little bit here, aren't they? Midas, the mastermind. Zambella, let's go, he says, for a Twiston Davis. Optimism abounds.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she's an admirable enough filly. You can see her running a race.
When she beat Annie Mac, she lasted a little bit longer than people expected, didn't she? So she might give a good game account of herself.
She might. Yeah, she might, but I can't see her being good enough, to be honest.
She might. Okay, all right. So
quite isn't he Nigel Twiston Davis this week?
Yeah.
A lot of the British traders have been quiet.
Had that one punted in the Coral Cup, didn't he?
Yeah.
Archery, yeah. Look,
very well.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It is a tricky one. Listen, all next week. And tomorrow, we should remind you, we are back for some Kemptoning and, of course, the Midlands National Day. Utoxeter's big day in the sun. Soft ground we're expecting there, but we will be back. And we will be debriefing everything of Cheltenham, of course, in between the races as we can. Keep your comments coming back in. If you're one of those that's like, oh, the week is over, don't worry. We will find some absolute hot spots. You're having a day off, though, Barry Orr.
I certainly am. Looking forward to it as well. I've been on the go now for the last 3 weeks or so. You know yourself, Dave, when you're working from home like this, all the days blend in one into the next, and you don't even realise. Before you know it, you've worked 3 straight weeks. So I'm going to have a nice day off. I'm going to watch back all the racing, all 28 races, and just make a few notes and just really just drink it all in, quite literally.
He's rubbing it in, because I will be back, of course. Okay, we've got Darren Hughes tomorrow, who's been doing some media in your absence. He's not short of an opinion now, is he, Barry?
No, he's not at all. Yeah, he's a good lad, Darren. He's going to help you showcase the exchange and hopefully, again, try to win a few quid for Welchod.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's been another great month, hasn't it, so far? We've got a little bit more of March to go. Lincoln time next Saturday.
Eastern World for the Lincoln's going to be hard to beat, isn't he? Charlie Appleby won it last year.
Do you know what? I've not really looked. But
do you know what it's like? Remember they used to say that in Bjorn Borg would win the French Open and he'd turn up to practice for the grass at Wimbledon and he couldn't hit the ball for the first hour. That's what I'll be like with the flags. I'm going to do price-wise on a Lincoln. I can't think of this horse yet, but my next week is just going to be Lincoln.
You're getting your excuses in now.
No, it's not. It's just going to be...
It's a different sort of race now,
I hope that people appreciate that. I'm going to see a whole
Lincoln winner in recent memory.
Dave, isn't it?
Who runs...
Does he run today?
He runs overnight in the Ranvet Stakes, which is what he won last year. And guess what? The heavens have opened.
Have they really?
In Sydney, yeah. So he's a shade of odds on, but he ought to see off very elegant. His old rival. It's a really, really good card.
It's a different type of race now, isn't it?
She's quite likeable. That's that likeable mare, isn't it?
She is. Elegant, yeah. She's the best of the. She's the best of the mid-distance Aussie horses down there at the minute. And
I've had to
ding round 3.
Last year when we had the shutdown, we did a bit more Australia.
We did.
So I got to know some of the good Aussie horses a little bit, and she's a likeable mare. Her.
Did you enjoy it?
I preferred Japan, actually.
Oh, of course.
Australian's brilliant.
I find it a bit difficult.
I love the Australian.
Oh, you love it, absolutely love it.
I love it.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, you can see if that, of course, overnight on Sky. William Haggis. I wonder if he's gone down there. I don't think he probably has he? I know there was an exemption that he might have done. Tom Marquand is, of course, down there. Yeah. So, listen, we'll hopefully be talking about that on tomorrow's show as well. But we must concentrate on the last. Barry Orr, then. We're coming up to race time. She looks like she's continuing to slide, Ellie May.
Yeah, 244 now, Dave. 375 Cool Reevy. So all the money for her. 6-8 Shattered Love, 15 Magic of Light, and it's 30 bars. So, yeah, they're back in Cool Reevy against her stablemate, Ellie May.
Okay, great stuff. So listen, we thought she was going to go odds on. Of course, after that, maybe an overreaction overnight towards the Allaho thing, getting towards the right price. Let's get some more socials on the screen. Viewer interaction abounds. And Bass Copper says, cut the mustard. Come on, cut the mustard. There's a horse that we've
not mentioned.
Nichols, yeah.
In the sort of switch of colours, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to see with Eglatine Desoy, aren't we? In the final race has been money for this. Cut the mustard, Keith.
Yeah, Zambella's probably got her number, hasn't she? And if Zambella's got her number, then you're taking a chance. You'll get in mares races. You tend to get more funny results for whatever reason, but this would definitely count as a funny result.
Okay, all right, fine. As would Chili Philly and Really Super, I think we can say that, but there's some jockeys on those. I mean, Harry Cobden, when Shamron belted the first couple, he must have really... I mean, he's a cool customer and he's confident and he does shrug things off, but it's difficult, isn't it, when you have a week like this?
Oh, it must... I don't know how, for us, obviously, as sort of pundits and in the media types, it's such a big week of the year. Is it the same for jockeys? I'm not sure it might be so much, but... You know, you still build up a long way to it. That Shamron especially, the hunter would have been his target for a long way, and to get 2 fences in and think, well, this isn't happening.
And then Bob and Co. not even making it home when you're down.
I thought they had a chance. Next destination, like, might have won turning in, and then Galvin just out seems to quick and past.
Yeah, that was. I tell you what,
agree was the one ride that Harry might want to get back, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, it was, as we were saying today. I mean, it was a sort of right. He travelled so well through the race, and he sort of expected to be able to press the button and go, but Hoogree's maybe more of a, he maybe doesn't have that change of pace, but
maybe
he's
a fat tracker as well. That could be the thing.
Could be.
He was quite keen to.
He's going to be a good chaser.
I just think. Oh yeah. I just think if you have the time again, you've got to go for it at Cheltenham. I mean, you've got to find out at Cheltenham, right?
That's right, and it's a difficult call to make, but the horse did travel into it, but you just felt that the horses that finished in front of him got rolling before he did, and it didn't really help his cause.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Thanks, Keith. So we've pretty much talked about all of this. Salsaretta, the other Mullins horse in Rich Ritchie colours, Monkfish colours, of course. Softer ground, said Willie Mullins. He'd be a bit surprised. She's been quite disappointing, actually, isn't she? Expensive to follow this year.
Well, she's this year certainly. She's only run a couple of times, but it's not been quite as good. She won. She won at this level, or a novice at this level, this time last year, but it's not been quite as plain sailing in 2021.
And they can bounce back. Could it be in this race? Yes, got some more socials up on the screen here. They're coming in at a pace. Frizzy Red, good to have you back on. Shattered Love, Magic Light, Ellie May, combination tricast. You wouldn't go too far wrong with that, would you?
No, I would absolutely go with that. It won't pay much, but if I was doing a tricast, it'd be my 3.
Yeah, there you are. Okay, all right. So we've got the Gold Cup tricast pretty much up. Not in the order we expected, so let's hope that you combine them. Absolutely, Frizzy Red has. What about some more? Let's keep them coming in. Oh, okay, that was it. I'm hearing that was it. Okay, all right. So keep them coming. You have got what? We've got one more race to come, Baron. About 5 minutes to talk about that. While we take breath, I suppose we've got to talk about the highlight of the week, haven't we?
Bob Ollinger.
Bob Ollinger.
Brilliant.
RPRs wouldn't agree with you, but it looks
race as well.
Freak-like, wouldn't it?
That was incredible. So fast.
Yeah. So I said afterwards immediately, there's your Marsh winner. Bruce Millington and Graham Robert were in, said no, Champion Hurdle, that one will rage.
Well, but see that if any of these novice hurdlers next year are going to be Champion Hurdle types, I think it's him.
Yeah. So that'll be an interesting one. 20 to 1 about NYLN for the Champion Hurdle. Was that an interesting shout as well? Let us know on tomorrow's show. We'll get all these debriefs again from the beaten horses. You get them through the following week. There'll be lots of chat, lots of dust settling. I want to come to you, Keith, on this. A lot of people coming into the Cheltenham Festival saying the jump season is broken, mainly over here. I think not so much in Ireland. Maybe, I don't know. But will this rage now a bit?
The problem of the jump season being broken, the problem if it's the pattern's worse in Ireland. The pattern in Britain's not great either, but there's too many graded races and too many opportunities to avoid good horses running against each other all the way through the season. And combined with an obsession with Cheltenham, which is itself expanding, it doesn't, you're not getting horses meeting so much. So yeah, you want to see fewer of these big races. You want to see horses take each other on. But the thing is, I don't think you can make them do it. You can't make these horses race against each other. And the fashion now and the tendency and the prevailing thought now is to not have these horses meeting.
Yeah, because you want them on their A game, don't you? So
do you think we need some sort of winter focus point, like a...
Nothing, but I mean, look, the example I would always give is the handicaps at the Cheltenham Festival are actually not that valuable for what they are. The prize money's not great, but they're miles more competitive than other races because it's Cheltenham.
Yeah.
You cannot create. Cheltenham's become what it has. No amount of money will change that. The Dublin Racing Festival's made a ripple. That's one of the biggest weekends.
Hasn't that been well advertised, man?
Well, a year like this it's going to be, but that hasn't altered the importance of Cheltenham. Everything that wins at the Dublin Racing Festival still comes to Cheltenham afterwards. You're going to do extremely well to change the current trajectory, no matter what you do. And it's not to say you shouldn't try, but go in with your eyes open, lads. Cheltenham is the be-all and end-all, seen by owners and trainers and all sorts.
We ought to embrace that, and hopefully we have been doing that for you this week. So Bob Ollinger, the highlight performance for you. Brilliant. Okay, going forward, we'll hopefully get some by the autumn. We'll hopefully know what he's doing. Keith Melrose, Allaho.
Are you performance or are you moment?
Either.
The performance was Allaho, but the Gold Cup was a greater spectacle. Just that thrilling finish didn't go my way, unfortunately. But the Allaho was the most impressive performance for me.
Where does he go next?
Well, they said the King George, didn't they? And I don't know if they'll go. What will they running in Punchestown?
I don't really know. It's hard
will they
to
go Melling Chase?
Possibly, but I think they'll give up the staying idea now, won't they? Hopefully.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, especially given that Applutard's finished second in the Gold Cup today. You know, he is now the stayer. Allaho is the 2.5 miler.
So many chess pieces to be moved. What does Appreciate It do? That Shishkin, unbelievable.
He must go chasing Appreciate It.
He's huge, isn't he?
Yeah.
Proper tank of a horse.
He does half jump hurdles well, though. Barry Orr, moment of the week for you. MINELLA Indo, I'm guessing.
Yeah, hard to beat it. MINELLA Indo and Quilixios. I'm doubling up with them. Moment of the week, I thought Honeysuckle amazing. Great to see her win. Henry de Bromhead's training performances and Rachel Blackmore, I think they owned the week.
3 different
One
jockeys
particular
as well.
performance.
Yep. Different jockeys, of course, as well.
Yeah.
A price for MINELLA Indo for next year's Gold Cup, Barry?
8.
8-1.
Yeah, so it's better than I saw Bet365's odds flashed up on the screen. That was 6s, so you're getting better with the Betfair.
So, absolutely. Sometimes firms do overreact to that. So I don't know.
I take it Monkfish's favourite, Barry, about 9-2.
Yeah, he's a 5-1 chance. Yeah.
5-1.
I don't know. I think you've got to go. He's got to go there and prove
He wasn't right, was he, though, Monkfish? He wasn't himself, I didn't think.
That wasn't his best performance.
Some people have got a little bit down on him after that.
It wasn't his best performance.
30 lengths.
Clever horse though, Monkfish, isn't he? Had that loose horse all the way.
His best, but if you inserted his RPR into the Gold Cup, he'd have finished just behind Albion Photo.
Remind me who the loose horse was that was giving him all that grief.
What was that horse?
Oh, was it an unseat? Well, obviously it was an unseat, wasn't it? But who was it? The Brown Advisory. Yeah. Oh my Lord, it was the horse.
It wasn't on violin, was it? Sorry, no, the wrong grade. But what's
the cat amongst the pigeons? All right, okay. Lots of chat as we know you love. We've loved having you on board. We'll get the sign off ready for you after this, but we do have one more race to go. Are you on the Fav, Ellie May? If you are, is it simple? Is it just Allaho form? Mark Walsh on a quick double, of course, having taken out the Albert Bartlett.
Ellie is going to tank, isn't she? She's going to be last off the bit, you assume.
And you just get the feeling this has definitely been done.
She's so striking
time
as well.
to put her back over fences.
Do you not think this year with like obviously JP, it's his big festival and he loves entertaining at it and family and all that, but his horses just haven't been firing this year, have they?
Chantry
I don't know
House.
whether they would have run better if they were all in attendance, but
yeah, I think.
Well, I think that is a factor in it. You know,
at the start of the week they were hoping for 2 or 3 winners.
I tell you what, there's a really where Time to Get Up's running. He's running in the Midlands National. He's winning the Midlands National tomorrow, and but he was favourite for the Kim Muir. Yeah. JP McManus, if he'd been, I'm convinced if he'd been able to attend Cheltenham this year, he would have run in the Kim Muir. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
fair enough.
What's he called, Keith?
Time to Get Up, isn't it?
Time to Get Up.
Time to Get Up. Yeah, the JP horse.
Exactly.
Fancy.
What's he off? 138. Tomorrow's 150 horse, right?
Yeah, he's a stone better than that.
3-1 favourite for the Midlands. Wins.
Is he a 1?
Yeah.
This is sync. What is he?
He's been backed again, is he?
3s now.
Yeah, because he was 5-1 last night.
I've been listening to you, Keith, funnily enough. Yeah, we're all keen on that.
Keels thinks
we will be calling the final race tomorrow, but it's the final race of the Cheltenham Festival. Come on, let's ramp it up. The party atmosphere is here. I can hear them in the gallery. They're on one here. Come on, then off we go. Tony Ennis for the last time today.
We go 2 mile 4.5 on the new course for the Liberty Mares Chase. It's a grade 2 to end. A real cavalry charge onto the first. Fed 7 in line. They've all got over safely, which is good news, though. And Ellie Mason about 5th, the hot favourite there. The one that was led out wide was really super for Amy Murphy, who was delighted with Kalashnikov's run the other day in the Ryanair. Cole Reevy's bang there too. Ellie Mays in 4th. Magic of Light's up there on the inside. The horse placed in the Grand National is right there too under Robbie Power. Magic of Light leading Cole Reevy. To the outside, really super. Settling in behind is Cut the Mustard, formerly with Willie Mullins, now with Paul Nichols. The Rich Ritchie horse Salsoretta is next. The Grey Ellie May is about 6th place ahead of Shattered Love, a 2018 festival winner. Then comes Zambella in the double green for Darryl Jacob, looking for a change of fortune. Chili Philly is next. Richard Johnson looking for his first win of the week. Then comes comes Cabaret Queen, who's just got a bit outpaced. And the back marker is Moy Henno, is not travelling that well.
Did not travel very well. But we've
seen it again like this ever.
The 2.5 mile course at Cheltenham, it starts in the spur. The first 3 fences, again, we've seen it. Hard, hard, hard. And now it's settling down. It happens an awful lot on this.
Pecking order.
Pecking order, because Cheltenham curls quite a lot.
Yeah.
But that's a straight run of 3, so that's a set of circumstances where you do see an early charge, but they're settling down now.
Yeah, and Colreevy not able to dominate today. Let's see how she reacts.
She's in 3rd place. Magic of Light leads on the inside. So in 2nd place, Really Super. Colreevy is 3rd. Cut the Mustard is 4th. Ellie May, the favourite, in 5th under Mark Walsh, looking for a double today. Zambella's on the rail, Shattered Love. Jack Kennedy is out a bit wide with the Jigginstown colours. Then comes Salsaretta, who's just in behind, one of 4 in the race, of course, for Willie Mullins, who's determined to try and win the inaugural running of this Liberty Mares Chase. Looking further back to the stragglers, Chili Philly's out the back, Moy Henna's out the back, and Cabaret Queen, not enjoying life at the moment. She is last.
Yeah, she's not. She's again,
she usually leads. She likes to be up with it.
Yeah, and she's also stays a lot further, isn't she? So she's not going on a going day whatsoever. This will be the first time round. Then over they go. Reach for it a little bit.
Colreevy, yeah.
Yeah, the favourites catching my eye now.
Yeah, must be short barrow, I'd imagine. Is she Ellie May in the run?
Yeah,
now?
evens now, Enzo.
Yeah, I thought so.
202, evens 5-2 Colreevy, and it's 7.6 Shattered Love.
The other one really
Magic of Light.
Thanks, Barry. The other one really catching my eye is Salsaretta, who's been ridden cold. No pressure on her. You know, could she finally bounce back? They thought at the start of the season she might want to be one of the favourites of this race.
Really Super will lead them out to the country for the final time. They head towards fence number 7 in the Mares Chase. We're still there. Really Super on the
Cabaret
outside.
Queen pulling up.
Oh, yeah. Cabaret Queen. Not her day today. But Willie Mullins still has other chances, of course, including Ellie May and Colreevy. Colreevy jumped well to the front. Really Super gets a reminder.
Jumped right across Really Super, though.
Yeah. Shattered Love is wide. Now Ellie May wants to go a bit. I think Mark Walsh just wanted to get the Really Super out of his way there, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd fancy going on the right-hand side of Colreevy, to be quite honest with you.
No, you're right. Although he hasn't got much option, has he? Because she's right on the fence.
That's right. He's not really got much option. But
Shattered Love going well, Keith.
Yeah, she does. She travels quite nicely out wide. You know, she is
again Colreevy. Yeah, out to right into Ellie May's path every
massive
time.
Jump, Ellie May there.
Ellie May's tanking. Magic of Light has just lost her place a little bit, hasn't she?
Salsaretta travels quite nicely out wide.
Yeah, so proper eye catcher.
Mark Walsh, take back and go on the rails, man.
Magic of Light's not really having the best time. I don't know. She's getting niggled. She's not as prominent.
There's
as she
flashes
really
of last year's Supreme with Asterion Falange jumping out to his right and Mark Walsh persisting, staying on his outside.
Yeah.
And Elixia
He's got to make it. What's he going to do now?
Oh,
does he kick on, Mark Walsh? What does he do?
I don't think so. I think Colreevy is still full of running, so he's not really got much choice. Where are we? 4 out?
You're heading towards the fence at the top of the hill. Colreevy still leading narrowly to Ellie May. It's the big 2, the Mullins duo, the battalions. Mark Walsh and Paul Townend.
Cut the Mustard sneaking into it.
Cut the Mustard's taking a trail into 3rd. Shattered Love, not really been asked yet. What was she
hoping? I'll tell you what, the guys in 3rd and 4th.
Are they getting racing too quick here?
Potentially, they're cutting each other's throats.
Well, that's right. Jack Kennedy's thinking, please go, please kick on, please have a fight.
Colreevy's a half length clear of Ellie May.
Starting to feel it now, Shattered Love. Cut the Mustard's the only danger, I think.
Imagine if Nichols wins with this.
With the next Willie Mullins horse.
This is 3 out then, the tricky fence.
Down the hill, 3 left to jump in the mares. Ellie May, the hot favourite, and Colreevy, they're side by side at this fence. What happens here?
She goes all the way out.
Zambella's gone. Zambella, Darryl Jacob having no luck.
Just get the feeling it's a press button job here, but have they gone too hard up front? Shattered Love coming back into it.
And Cut the Mustard still in the race as well. Salsaretta's 5th on the home turn then. Ellie May the grey alongside stablemate Colreevy. These two are pouring it on now.
She's a stayer, Colreevy. She's giving £2.
Back in 3rd is
Shattered Love not out of this.
Ellie May's, I think, maybe just nosed on.
Getting Ellie May off the bridle is first part 1 because she's a faster horse than Colreevy.
Ellie May and Colreevy then. Colreevy's going to come back, I think, isn't she, Ellie May?
Colreevy's the stayer. She's giving £2 though. Ellie May,
she's coming back, Ellie May.
Coming back.
It's going to be a fight.
Colreevy's in front though.
Ellie not totally out of this.
3 behind. Ellie May.
Ellie May might just get a measure on the running.
Colreevy and Ellie May, then up the running they go.
Ellie May.
Battalions.
Go on, Mark, kick it up.
Colreevy, what a finish it is. Colreevy maybe just.
Oh, Colreevy on the inside. She's kicking it.
Yeah,
she's getting it up. She's getting up.
Colreevy's got it.
Ellie May in 2nd. Colreevy's going to win.
Man.
1 for Willie Mullins. Shattered Love 3rd. What a race.
She was giving £2 to her stablemate. They didn't get it quite right in the market order, but well done if you kept the love with Paul Townend. Just touched off in the Fox Hunter chase, of course, by the Porlock Bay. This time he's got his revenge. She just kept finding that little bit more. She's appreciated the hill that slight bit better.
That's right. I mean, when they came to 2 out, Ellie May was already coming off the bridle, and given she's the faster horse, I think at that point you would have thought that Colreevy was going to win the race. Ellie Mae, to be fair, has found plenty. Colreevy is the stronger steer.
Yes.
And, it's a bit like the Gold Cup.
God,
the stronger steers won it.
She wasn't even going to be in the race. Remember Limerick? Yeah. She was due to race in Limerick last Sunday, and then Limerick had to call an inspection. As it happened, it went ahead. They had to make a call on her whether she went to the UK to race there or whether she stayed at home in Limerick. So she probably would have won in Limerick, and Ellie Mae would have won the Mayor's, the inaugural Mayor's Chase.
Poor race planning for Mullins is what Barry's saying.
I wonder if Mark Walsh had his time again. Whether he would just
different race
because she was just being carried out a little bit
every fence she's lost a half length, isn't she? I think.
No, she was getting there, didn't she? It's the £2 though. We've got to. Shattered Love's run a blinder, Keith.
She has done really well. She's not as fast as those two.
It's the ground with her probably slightly, isn't it? She's just a softer ground.
You look at that run and say she's not run a race there on that
she's
better ground.
badly outpaced 3 out first and foremost.
She's because she's more of a steer. I mean,
exactly, but on softer ground, that's why she's done so well.
It's a function of stamina, but that's how I mostly.
She's arguably run pound to pound for Ellie Mae, hasn't she, over the trip?
Yes, probably has actually. Ellie Mae's showed more stamina than she previously might have. And it's not been enough. Colreevy is a better steer.
Well, we've had, the Gold Cup, when you thought it was maybe going to get a little bit downbeat after that. No. This is the Cheltenham Festival. And we've had 2 sensational finishes. You haven't needed to be woken up after that. Absolutely brilliant. Well done if you got Colreevy there. Ellie Mae. She was on the drift, Barry. What was the story of the race then?
Ellie Mae hit a low of 1.52 in running. Shattered Love hit a low of 2-1 in running, would you believe? 3.0, only for small stuff. But
it's a bit shorter than I thought. Coming to the last, Shattered Love was back in it. Coming to the last, but she
got too hard or something, I guess.
Potentially, she was staying on, but the last, you could see about 3 or 4 strides off. Kennedy was not on a stride, and she hit it, and that was the end of her race, really.
Okay, well, that is it. That's all we've got time for here on Racing Post Live. What a week it has been. Let's start with Barry. The team at Betfair, of course, have been absolutely fantastic behind the scenes. Harry, Robin, Alex, Anna, we thank you from wherever you are out there. Barry, you've been spearheading it for them. It's been some week, right?
It's been a great 4 days, Dave. A real pleasure. Couldn't have think a better place to be if I couldn't be at the meeting itself than to spend it in the company of yourself for the 4 days, and Keith for 2 of them, and Bruce for the couple of days as well. And Enzo, obviously, with his great calls today, made it. Thankfully, we won 750 quid for Well Child over the 4 days. Well, add that to the 865 we've already won this month. It gives us a total so far of £1,615. So, yeah, it's all in plenty of luck in the name of charity, thankfully, over the last 4 days. And it's been great. Really enjoyed the festival, and fingers crossed we'll all meet up for a drink soon on a race course.
That is absolutely the fingers crossed moment. Barry, you're a star. Thank you so much. Enjoy those Desperados, my man.
I will, don't you worry. Thanks, lads.
Happy days. There goes Barry Orr. Absolutely fantastic. Tony Ennis, I had a little dig, but we've been absolutely thrilled to have you in.
Thank you.
My voice is thrilled that you came in. Brilliant calling, wasn't it, Keith?
Tremendous. Did Royal Guy come off the bridle in the end?
He did after about 2 fences.
There's your dig. You're not going to get out of it without that.
I'll go and watch the back
so much. Yeah. What's the rest of it? You've got a nice quiet weekend now?
No, I've got a few Sky shifts coming up. I'm in there for the next 3 or 4 days.
The greediest man in racing tag prevails.
Day off next Wednesday, though.
Oh, well, happy days. Okay, fair enough.
Do the gardening.
All right. Let's hope it rains. Keith Melrose, happy days. Great to have you in, Quizmaster.
Oh, it's been tremendous. Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Today, the Gold Cup, I'm going to be honest, Albin Photo's 2 Gold Cups didn't really do it for me. Today was delivered. It was a great race.
Was back, wasn't it?
It was a great race.
Peach.
It
wasn't quite as good as Native River and Mike Beck, but it was a tremendous battle. It was a classic Gold Cup. Loved it.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for joining us this weekend. Keep your comments coming in. Thanks to the guys in the gallery, Rob, Alex, Jay. We've had Graham Rodway's brother was even with us. Will, Elliot, we're all out there. Dan Walsh, thinking of you at home. Okay, let's see you tomorrow then. Bye-bye, the 2021 Cheltenham Festival.